Hello everybody, I am Professor Brer Fox. I have a PhD in Kingdom Hearts, and we are going to be doing a in-depth, way over-the-top recap of the Kingdom Hearts series, the entire fucking Kingdom Hearts series. As I said, I'm Professor Brer Fox. I have a PhD in Kingdom Hearts. Well, I'd say I started studying Kingdom Hearts in 2nd grade, I would say, but I didn't get my PhD till like 6th grade, so I've had it for, and that's like, you're like, what, 12 in 6th grade? So... And I'm 20 now, so like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah, 8 years. So I've had a PhD in Kingdom Hearts for 8 years, so I know my shit.
Most of it's been waiting.
Yeah.
But
so,
in waiting, you've been researching.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's not like
it's like you're like
I've been using
Kingdom Hearts archaeologist.
Yeah.
And when you're not digging, you're hitting the books.
Yeah.
You're like Indiana Jones.
Yeah. No, I'm the Indiana Jones of Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, you actually.
That
are.
makes that that fits.
All right, but okay, so
Just put your hat on.
we also have two people that you guys have studied Kingdom Hearts, but you don't have PhDs in it. You want to introduce yourself?
I am Zach. I would say I have a bachelor's degree in Kingdom Hearts.
Okay.
I went to school for about 2 years studying Kingdom Hearts, and I've only had my bachelor's since time. Since the dawn of time.
Yep.
Since like 2015 maybe.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
2016, somewhere around there. Dang, I should hang it on my wall. I don't know. But yeah, I've had my bachelor's for one.
Okay, and you?
I would say I probably have a doctorate in gameplay.
Okay.
So, some of the lore still goes straight over my head.
It is all about the lore, so...
So, I'm the perfect person for this podcast. But just being in proximity to you for so many goddamn years kind of instills some
I
amount.
feel like that just gets you an associate.
Well, like lore-wise, yeah.
Yeah, lore gives you.
Sure, but fuck.
Alright. So now, we also have somebody... This is your first time ever taking a class on Kingdom Hearts.
This is my first semester.
Yeah.
I just took the hardest class your first semester.
This is a requirement for my
general ed.
This is a requirement for friendship.
Yeah. But no, so you're Dante, you have never played Kingdom Hearts before. You don't know jack shit about it. Well, I wouldn't say you know jack shit. You know a little bit just because we talk about it 24/7. So
I have like secondhand knowledge.
Yeah, you have secondhand Kingdom Hearts knowledge. Talk about it so much.
Secondhand smoke.
Accidentally
inhaled the knowledge of Kingdom Hearts.
He's the Repliku version of knowledge.
Okay, so I figure this is how I think this should go down, right? So I'm just gonna I wrote down a huge fucking recap along with some screenshots. And I'm gonna be reading through it. If at any point you guys have a question, interrupt me and ask the question. Yeah, so if
we're going complete canonically, from start to finish.
The whole fucking this is gonna
picking
take
up the whole Da Vinci Code.
Dude, this is gonna
translating it.
I don't know for 100% sure, but I have a feeling this is gonna take like at least 3 hours. Like I said, if you interrupt at any point with genuine questions.
Professor Brer,
yes.
Why are we doing this?
Can I use the bathroom?
You have a hall pass.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, all right. Everybody ready?
No. Yes.
Yeah.
You ready?
He doesn't have a choice.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna start
in the beginning.
Yeah. The Word created the heavens and the earth. But also, so we're gonna start. This is Kingdom Hearts 1. Came out on the PS2 in 2002. Then was released on the PS3 in HD 1.5 remix in 2013. On the PS4 in HD 1.5 plus 2.5 remix in 2017. Everybody ready?
Yeah. So it's been released 3 times.
Yes.
Okay.
We ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
Okay. So, in the beginning, Sora, Riku, and Kairi are 3 best friends that live on an island called Destiny Islands together. Sora and Riku have a friendly rivalry and are both super into Kairi. Riku more so than the others, are tired of living on the tiny island and are building a raft to explore the outside world. Sora and Riku have always lived on the island, but Kairi just showed up one day, so she's from somewhere else, but doesn't remember anything at all about where she's from. At the end of the day of looking for provisions for their journey, the 3 of them sit and watch the sunset together, discussing their trip. Kairi asks Riku what he plans on doing if he gets to another world, and Riku tells her that he hasn't really thought about it, but he's always wondered if there are any other worlds out there, and why did they end up on this one? So if there are other worlds, there's just a little piece of something much greater, so they could have just as easily ended up somewhere else, so they need to go out there and find it. Alright. The next day, as they continue looking for stuff on their journey, Sora goes into the secret place, which is a cave that in the back has a door that can't be opened, that Sora, Riku, and Kairi used to spend time drawing on the walls when they were young. And there's a picture of Sora and Kairi that they drew together. And Sora draws him giving her the Papu fruit, which is a fruit that there's a legend that if it's shared between two people, their destinies become intertwined. And yes.
When do they fuck?
Kingdom Hearts 4.
Okay.
HD edition.
Yeah. Sora is then interrupted.
Full frontal. Very weird.
Sora is then interrupted by a man in a hood who tells Sora that he understands nothing.
Same.
Yeah, no, that's when Vegeta shows up and goes like, yeah, you don't understand shit. And later,
The audience.
yeah, later Sora and Kairi are watching the sunset, and Kairi mentions that Riku's changed. She tells Sora that she was a little afraid at first, but now she's ready, because no matter what happens, she knows she can always come back here. Ha.
Honey, you got a storm coming.
Speaking of a storm, the night before they're planning to leave, a storm hits the island. Sora runs to check on the raft, but dark creatures invade the island. He finds Riku standing under this big fucking scary black hole, and Riku sees it as a way to the outside world. He says that he's not afraid of the darkness and holds out his hand to Sora. Darkness engulfs both of them, and after it completely covers them. The Keyblade then appears in Sora's hand with a burst of light. He goes to the secret place and finds Kairi. The door opens and Wind pushes Kairi into Sora, but when he reaches out to grab her, she goes through him, and it then pushes Sora away. The island is being completely destroyed, and a huge creature is standing on the little bit of that is left on the island. Sora fights it, but is inevitably sucked into the black hole. Meanwhile, at the Disney Castle,
This fuck.
yep, Donald, who's the King's Royal Mage, goes to check up on the king, say good morning, all that good shit. But the throne room is empty, and he finds a note in his chair. He runs up to Goofy, the captain of the Royal Knights, and tells him that something has happened, but it's top secret. But Queen Minnie and Daisy are standing there right behind him. So they all discuss the note, which tells them that recently the stars have been blinking out one by one, and Mickey has gone on a journey to figure out what's going on. He tells Donald and Goofy to find the person with the key and stick with him, and start at Traverse Town and find Leon. Donald, Goofy, and Jiminy Cricket, who is coming along to write their journey down in a journal, they go off to Traverse Town. Yeah?
Like, listening to this back, it's so dumb.
It is, but it's the greatest fucking thing ever.
It's the best fanfic
It
ever.
is!
Best fanfiction ever.
Alright, well now...
It's obviously DreamWorks. This work.
This is like post Golden Age Street. this is like Shark Tale.
Alright, but now when they arrive at Traverse Town, they notice a star going out, and they start to look for Leon and the key. Sora also wakes up in Traverse Town. He runs into Sid, who tells him that this world is a place for people who have lost their home. Yeah, this is Sid from Final Fantasy. Banana. He eventually runs into Leon, who proceeds to beat the shit out of him.
Resident Evil?
No, this is Leon, who is also from Final Fantasy, and he shows up and just beats the shit out of Sora. Without any order, he's just like, so you're the one with the key, and just fucking beats the absolute shit out of this 14-year-old.
Dark and mysterious.
Yeah. And he brings him into a hotel with Yuffie and fills him in a bit on what's happening. He tells him that Heartless, which are the creatures on the island, are monsters that consume people's hearts. And the Keyblade, which the giant key is holding, is the only weapon capable of defeating them. And the Keyblade chose Sora. The ruler of Leon's homeworld, a man named Ansem, was studying the Heartless, and he wrote a report about them, but they're scattered across the worlds.
I mean, wait, so this is actual Anthem, not other Ansem or not Ansem.
We'll get there.
Okay.
Let's just, right now, there's a man who was ruler of their homeworld who was named Ansem. We'll get there.
Diz Ansem or not Diz Ansem?
We'll get there.
Sorry, I got the sword of Gryffindor.
Yep.
Sorry again.
Yep. So meanwhile, Donald and Goofy run into Aerith, and she tells them the same shit. The room Sora's in is attacked by Heartless, so they run out to fight them. During a fight, Donald and Goofy get thrown onto Sora, and they realize that he's the one with the key. They're quickly interrupted by a giant Heartless, and they work together to take it down. After the fight, Sora, Donald, and Goofy fill each other in on what they're looking on that they are looking for, their king and their friends. And Donald and Goofy tells Sora to come with them on their gummy ship to go to other worlds to look for them. Donald assures Sora that they'll be able to find his friends, but tells Goofy that he was just saying that because they need Sora to help them find the king, so fuck him.
Okay. What the fuck is that screenshot?
That's Donald.
They're about to fuck.
Like literally look at this screenshot.
I know, yeah. So Donald, Sora's like, so I'll be able to find my friends, and Donald's like, oh yeah, sure you will. And Goofy goes, are you sure? And Donald goes, who knows? But we need him to help him find the king. That's upsetting.
No, all right. It looks like Goofy has his dick out, right? And Donald's like, hey, why are you doing this in public? Like. There's an alleyway right there. That's what that looks like. I'm sorry.
No, he's just saying. That's what he's saying. Anyway, where was I?
That is fucking guy.
So, help him find the king. Sora, Donald, and Goofy travel to a few Disney worlds in which they help them out with their heartless problems and seal some keyholes. They go back to Traverse Town, and while discussing it with the others, find out that when sealing the keyholes, it stops the heart of the world from being consumed by darkness like Destiny Islands did. Sid asks Sora to deliver a book to Merlin the Wizard, and when they arrive, Sora thinks he sees Kyrie for a moment. Yeah, Merlin.
Shows a picture of Sid.
Yeah. But, and when they arrive, Sora thinks he sees Kyrie for a moment, but she disappears. On the way back from Merlin's house, Sora runs into Riku. Riku tells him that he doesn't know where Kyrie is either, and Sora shows off that he can use the Keyblade very well. Sora asks Riku to come along, but Donald quickly shuts that down and says he can't come. Donald and Sora argue for a moment. When they look up, Riku's gone. The trio meets up with the Final Fantasy gang again, and they tell Sora about Maleficent, who is rumored to be in town. She's a witch who's responsible for destroying the gang's homeworld, Hollow Bastion. It's shown that Maleficent has been with Riku and convinces him that Sora replaced him with Donald and Goofy and he don't need him anymore. They set off to continue their search for the king, Riku, and Kyrie, and seal keyholes to the worlds along the way. Throughout their journey to different Disney worlds, Donald and Sora are at each other's throats most of the time, but the three of them work together very well, and their trust in each other continues to grow throughout their adventure. Meanwhile, Maleficent has assembled a team of Disney villains, which is essentially every villain is Lemons. That's essentially what it is. It's the EVIL.
Master Chief has assembled a team.
No, so Maleficent, she's been assembling this team of Disney villains, and they're attempting to kidnap the 7 Princesses of Heart. 7 Princesses of Heart are 7 people that have no darkness in them. They're not actual princesses. They're just 7 women that have absolutely no darkness in them.
They just happen to be mostly princesses.
Yeah, that's true, but they're not all princesses. Most of them are. There's no Princess of Heart. And they're attempting to kidnap them to unlock the keyhole that leads to Kingdom Hearts. What is Kingdom Hearts? I don't know.
We still don't know.
So Maleficent has also recruited Riku, who promises Riku that she'll be able to help him find Kyrie. Throughout their journey to Disney worlds, Sora, Donald, and Goofy take out Disney villains in their group in their respective world. So most of every villain is Lemon's team gets taken down. While in Monstro the Whale, Sora runs into Riku again, who antagonizes Sora, and Sora realizes that Riku is not...
On.
Yes.
Can we talk about how they got into Monstro?
It's not important. Monstro, he's in space and he swallows them.
No, it's like... So basically, they went from killing Disney villains to being in a ship in space to being swallowed by a whale.
Yeah, the whale is in space.
Like...
It's not important. There's a whale floating in space, so what?
Hey, the world's got thrown each way. Sometimes the whale gets thrown in space.
Yeah, yeah. So while they're in Monster the Whale, Sora runs into Riku again. He antagonizes Sora, and Sora realizes that Riku's not fighting on the right side. He's fighting for the bad boys.
Question.
Yes.
Is Riku at this point just being a dick, or is he, does he not know? Is he being a dick because he wants to be a dick, or is he being a dick because he has to be a dick?
He's being a dick because Maleficent promised him that she'll help him find Kyrie if he, and Maleficent told Riku that, Sora, he got Donald and Goofy now. He don't need you no more. But if you come with me, I can help you find Kyrie. And he's working with Maleficent.
So he's on some switch inside shit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What point does he get hella jacked?
We'll get there.
And that's when he became Buff Riku.
Yeah.
Slide.
That's in the alternate universe.
So, after finishing their travels and seeing the keyholes in Wonderland, the Deep Jungle, Olympus Coliseum, Agrabah, Monstro, Halloween Town, and Atlantica, the trio ends up in Neverland. It's shown that Maleficent and Riku have found Kyrie, but she's lost her heart and is comatose, so she's just a vegetable now. Sora, Donald, and Goofy run into Riku, who shows Sora Kyrie. No, she's comatose. She's a vegetable. She's not conscious.
That makes it better.
No. So they run into Riku. They show Sora Kyrie, but then they throw Sora into the brig. From where they're locked up, Sora can see Kyrie and notices that she doesn't respond. They eventually escape. Yeah, she don't respond. She's a vegetable. They eventually escape, defeat Captain Hook, and go back to Traverse Town to have their gummy ship done up so they can go to Hollow Bastion.
I really want to just take... I really, when you're editing this, can you just go back and take some of these sentences, out and
context?
Because it's they're so dumb.
They defeat Captain Hook and go back and meet up from Sid from Final Fantasy VII. Okay. They escape, defeat Captain Hook, go back to Traverse Town, have their gummy ship done up so they can go back to go to Hollow Bastion, because that's where Maleficent's stronghold is. Sora has another hallucination where I lost my place, where he sees Kyrie as a child being told a story by her grandma, and we later find out this takes place in Hollow Bastion, of the worlds once being, and her grandma tells her the story of the worlds once being together, but after people began fighting over the light, the world becomes separated. After the gummy ship is done, they head for Hollow Bastion. After arriving, Sora feels like this place is familiar, but he doesn't think too much of it. Sora, Donald, and Goofy run into Riku, who beats the Beast in a fight from Beauty and the Beast. And Riku tells Sora that the Keyblade is actually his, and Sora only wields it because Riku was gone. And it disappears from Sora and appears in Riku's hands.
So basically he walked in, kicked a dog, and got a key.
Yeah. So...
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he throws Sora a toy sword and tells him to play hero with this, and Sora falls to the ground defeated. And since Donald and Goofy were told to follow the key by the king, they realize they have to leave Sora. Although it takes them a moment to decide, they inevitably just leave Sora.
Fake friends.
That's where it ends there.
Yep.
That's the whole thing.
Yep.
3 hours later.
The rest is all about Riku and how he
How he got so jacked.
So after a moment, Sora goes to the Beast, who's hurt,
lifting simulator.
and Beast says he's here to find Belle. Sora realizes that he too is here for someone, and despite not having a Keyblade, goes to the castle. Sora eventually runs into Riku, Donald, and Goofy again and confronts him, but as Riku attacks him, Goofy jumps in front of Sora and blocks it. When Riku asks if he's betraying his king, he says he wouldn't honor your life, but he's not going to betray Sora either, because he's become such a good friend. Donald then joins Goofy. They're reminded of all for one and one for all. Sora tells Riku that he doesn't need a weapon because my friends are my power. The Keyblade decides that Riku's a piece of shit and Sora deserves his power and leaves Riku, goes back to Sora. Sora, Donald, and Goofy fight Riku, who is fighting with a sword made of darkness called the Soul Eater. And after Riku loses the fight, he runs away and runs into the man on the hood that Sora met in the secret place on Destiny Islands and tells Riku to give in to the darkness completely.
He goes and cries.
Yep. Sora, Donald, and Goofy continue through the castle.
Fuck that fight.
Yeah, so they
Yeah,
continue
fuck
through
that
the
fight
castle
so hard.
and eventually confront and kill Maleficent. They then find Kairi on the ground, and Riku, who's wielding a Keyblade that can unlock people's hearts, and has another voice on top of his own when he talks. Sora realizes this ain't Riku, and Riku tells him that he's Ansem, the man that was studying the Heartless from Hollow Bastion, and they've been fighting his reports throughout the worlds. And Ansem explains that Kairi's a princess of heart, and her heart is trapped inside of Sora. And it's been there since that moment when she phased through Sora back on Destiny Island. Her heart went into him. And that's why he's been seeing hallucinations of Kairi and why Hollow Bastion felt so familiar, because Kairi's from Hollow Bastion. Sora and Ansem fight, and Sora defeats him. However, the keyhole needs all 7 princesses' heart to be complete, and since Kairi's heart is inside of Sora, the keyhole is incomplete and can't be sealed. Sora remembers that the Keyblade Ansem is using can unlock people's hearts, so he picks it up and stabs himself with it. Kairi's heart goes back to her body, and she wakes up. As she runs to him, he disappears.
So he basically commits the Disney version of seppuku.
Yeah, no, he just straight up takes the Keyblade and stabs himself.
Oh, shit.
And then,
I don't feel so good.
yeah, right as Kairi runs to him, he just disappears. And after this super sad scene where Kairi, Donald, and Goofy are reacting to Sora's death, Ansem then appears in his own body, and he starts to walk toward Kairi, but Riku appears in front of him, telling
Now,
Ansem that he...
Which Ansem is this?
We'll get to that. Hold on.
This is Ansem.
Well, this is Ansem. So he starts to walk toward Kairi, but Riku appears in front of him, telling Ansem that he won't use him for this, and tells Kairi, Donald, and Goofy to run. Meanwhile, Sora turns into a Heartless and wanders through the castle. While Kairi, Donald, and Goofy are running out of the castle, they run into a Heartless, who Kairi realizes is Sora. Just before they're about to be attacked by a group of Heartless, Kairi hugs Sora. The strength of her heart brings Sora back. They regroup in Traverse Town, and Kairi gives Sora her good luck charm, and Sora promises that he'll give it back. Sora, Donald, and Goofy head to the end of the world, which is what's left of the worlds taken by the Heartless. They end up on the remains of Destiny... Wait. Okay, those taken out of place. Wait. Hold on. What happened? Alright, well, some of the screenshots disappeared, but they end up on the remains of Destiny Islands. Ansem explains to them that the heart-seeking freedom, this island is a prison surrounded by water, and that Riku used the darkness to find his freedom. He says that Riku's heart belongs again to darkness, and all worlds begin in darkness, and the heart is no different. And since Kingdom Hearts is the source of all hearts, it is the ultimate source of darkness. Sora disagrees, and Sora, Donald, and Goofy...
Wait, can we back up there for a second? Wait, okay. So they're in the world, the end of the world.
Yes.
That is composed of worlds that Heartlesses has stolen.
Yeah.
And what the fuck did he just say?
He said, Ansem explains that to the heart-seeking freedom, this island is a prison. Riku used the darkness to find his freedom. He says that Riku's heart belongs again to darkness, and all worlds begin in darkness, and the heart is no different. Since Kingdom Hearts is the source of all hearts, it is the ultimate source of darkness. Sora disagrees, and says the Kingdom Hearts... Well, he doesn't say that yet, but he disagrees. And Sora, Donald, and Goofy go through a series of fights against Ansem through the end of the world. Meanwhile, Riku finds himself in the realm of darkness, and a voice tells Riku that he has the other key that is needed to close the door to darkness, and he needs Riku's help. Ansem is defeated by Sora, Donald, and Goofy outside of the door to Kingdom Hearts, and he yells to Kingdom Hearts to fill him with the power of darkness. Sora then says that he's learned now, without a doubt, Kingdom Hearts is light, and the door to Kingdom Hearts opens and light pours out of it, engulfing Ansem and killing him. Sora, Donald, and Goofy then run to shut the door, and there are a shit ton of Heartless behind it. They're struggling to move the door, but then Riku grabs her from the other side, telling Sora that together they can do it. Mickey then reveals himself from the other side of the door too, with a Keyblade, telling Sora to close this door for good. Sora is worried about Mickey and Riku being on the other side of the door, but Mickey assures him that there will always be a door to light. And right before the doors close, Mickey thanks Donald and Goofy, and Riku tells Sora to take care of her. Sora and Mickey use their Keyblades to seal the door, and it disappears. Sora then sees Kairi, who he runs up to, but since the worlds are returning, the ground between them begins to break apart. Sora promises that he'll come back to her. Kairi tells him that she knows she will, and their hands separate. Kairi finds herself back on Destiny Islands, no longer destroyed, and watches the worlds in the sky go back to how they were before. She then goes to this... Yes?
Okay, this was a question I had a couple slides ago.
Okay.
But, so, if the door was to Kingdom Hearts...
Also, because I'm talking so fast, you guys have a question, just start talking. Don't raise your hand. Because
okay.
I'm, like, going at a mile a minute, so just interrupt me.
Okay, so the door opened, and it was... right. Sorry, okay, well, that's a lot of slides ago. I was thinking about it for a while. That door opened, and that was the Kingdom Hearts.
Yes.
Then how come the World of Darkness, the was on the other side?
This isn't like a complete Kingdom Hearts either. This is an artificial Kingdom Hearts that was made by Ansem using the hearts of all the worlds that he destroyed.
Oh, so it wasn't the real Kingdom
No, this is not the real Kingdom
No,
Hearts.
this is Kingdom Hearts 1 of like 3.
Yeah, of like 8.
Yeah.
Okay. So, is it... can you make the assumption that Kingdom Hearts is just necessarily a collection of hearts?
Yeah, in a way. We don't know for sure what we'll get into that, but like...
We still don't know.
Yeah, there's an original Kingdom Hearts that was essentially the source of all light in the world.
Okay.
And this is
a derivative.
Yeah, this is an artificial one that Ansem made when he destroyed all the worlds and like consumed them by darkness. So this is like the darkness from all the worlds.
Okay, so he created this little Kingdom Hearts, tiny Kingdom Hearts,
Yeah.
because he thought it would be full of darkness, but he was just wrong. It was actually full of light, and it killed him.
Yep.
And then on the other side was the World of Darkness,
Yeah.
because that's all that was left.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I get it now.
Here's the door to Kingdom Hearts. Here's the light. It went through, and there was nothing
Well,
left.
could like be the fastest thing in the world if the dark got there first.
Okay, now where were we? So, their hands separate. Kairi finds herself back on Destiny Islands, no longer destroyed, and watches the worlds in the sky go back to how they were before. She then goes to the secret place and looks at the picture of her and Sora, sees the Paopu fruit Sora's drawn, and begins to cry. She then also draws a Paopu fruit for Sora as well. And the credits roll. After the credits, we see Sora, Donald, and Goofy in a field, unsure of what to do now, and they decide to look for Riku and King Mickey. They then see Pluto holding a letter from Mickey in his mouth.
For Smash.
Yep. And he runs away, and Sora, Donald, and Goofy chase after him. And that is the end of Kingdom Hearts 1.
Okay, but what would you do if Sora was in Smash?
I would cry. I'd be very happy.
3 mains now.
So what was that? That was 1 game in a half hour?
Yeah, so
we have 8 games?
Okay, are there any questions, though?
Is that it? That's the end of the...
That's the end, that's the end of Kingdom Hearts 1 out of like 8 fucking games. Right, any questions, though?
No, I think that's all.
So, just to clarify, this is bad Anthem, not good
We'll get there. We're not there yet. We'll get there. We'll learn about all the anthems and everything later. Okay, so...
How did they get in the field? Do we know that?
All the worlds were separated, and everyone kind of like went back to where like they belong.
Yeah.
But Sora, Donald, and Goofy have been traveling fucking everywhere. They just kind of don't belong anywhere. They ended up in this field. So that's why Kairi went back to Destiny Islands, because that's her home.
Yeah.
At this point, they've been fucking everywhere, so they're just like field.
It's like
It's literally the universe's version of like a memory overflow.
Yeah.
It's just like, we don't know.
Yeah.
There you go. They wrong warped.
Okay. Everybody ready?
Yeah.
So, next up, Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. Ooh. This came out on the Game Boy Advance in 2004 first.
Chain of Memories.
Yeah. And then afterward, it had a full-scale 3D remake on the PS2 called Rechain Memories, came out in 2007. That was put on the PS3 on HD 115 Remix 2013, on the PS4 in HD 115 Remix in 2017. All right, and also...
At least 3 times.
Yeah, so this is 4, yeah.
4 times.
And this one takes place like right after Kingdom Hearts 1. Like the first scene is them like chasing after Pluto. But so Sora, Donald, and Goofy continue running through the field until nightfall, where they stop for the night, taking a nice little nap. Sora wakes up to a man in a black coat telling him, along the road ahead lies something you need, but in order to claim it, you must lose something that is dear to you, and he disappears. Sora, Donald, and Goofy go forward and find this huge castle. Wonder if that's important. They enter it, and the man in the black coat, they see the man in the black coat again and tells them that in this castle, to find is to lose, and to lose is to find. He tells them that after entering this castle, they forgot every spell and every ability that they ever known. He phases through Sora, tells him that he sampled his memories and made a card. He hands it to Sora and tells...
Holographic.
Yeah. No, he he hands Sora the card, and he tells him to use the card at the door, and it disappears. Sora, Donald, and Goofy go through the door and appear in Traverse Town. They meet up with the Final Fantasy gang, and despite they know their names, but they don't remember Sora, Donald, and Goofy at all. They defeat a big Heartless, and afterward, when they're preparing to leave, Aerith tells Sora that she thinks that everything here is an illusion, and they're just back inside the castle. They then proceed into the castle, and a different man in a black coat appears and introduces himself as Axel. So everything in that town was an illusion. They were just inside the castle the whole time. So they fight Axel, and after the battle, Sora realizes that he was testing him. Axel tells Sora he's ready to go through Castle Oblivion and hands him a bunch more cards. Sora, Donald, and Goofy continue to go through the castle and go to the illusion versions of Disney worlds that they went to in their last adventure. As they continue through their journey, Goofy brings up that this castle reminds him of the other castle they explored together, but nobody can remember the name of it. Donald asks Jiminy, who has been there the entire time but hasn't done anything important.
Jiminy's sitting there. Yeah, he like showed up at the beginning, and now he's just like, "Hey, remember me?"
Yeah. So, essentially, what his whole thing is he's writing down everything in their journey, and he's like a gameplay thing. Like you can go through his like in the game, like look through his journal and like look at like all your stats and everything. So he's not like entirely story relevant up to this point. He's just kind of been like a gameplay kind of mechanic.
He's literally the log of everything.
Yeah, but now at this point he's story relevant because fuck you. And so
Kingdom Hearts, right?
Yeah. So Donald asks Jiminy to check on the journal to see what the name of the castle was because they can't remember it. But everything he's written down has disappeared. They then remember that the hooded man said that in this castle, to find is to lose, and to lose is to find. And they realize that it's their memory he was talking about losing. And the higher they go in the castle, the more they'll forget.
Okay, so if to lose is to find and to find is to lose, right? Because they knew the knowledge, they found it, so they lost it. But does that not mean they lost it, so they'd find it again?
Well, maybe they'll find something else now they've lost their memory.
Like the friends along the way?
Maybe.
Well, what they lose though is when they find it.
Maybe. Hey, we'll see, man. So,
Fucker.
Meanwhile, in this castle,
In both senses of the word.
Oh, goddamn, it's Miss Rush.
so Axel's talking to another person in a black coat named Larxene. Axel says that he's intrigued by Sora's heart, as he was able to retain his sense of self as a Heartless. There's only one other person that's been able to do that, and their organization's purpose is to discover the mysteries of the heart. So, Sora, Donald, and Goofy continue through the castle, and Sora remembers that along with Riku and Kairi, there was another girl who played with them on the islands when they were young. She was quiet and drew a lot, but one day she disappeared and he never knew what happened to her. He'd completely forgotten about her up until now, and he still can't remember her name.
Only one other person with him, and he forgot about him.
So, well, there's a lot of people. They just aren't important, so I didn't. There was other Final Fantasy characters from the island with them. Titus, Waka, and Selphie were there. So
That fucking ball.
yeah, fucking playing Blitzball. So, meanwhile, Axel and Larxene, there's a lot of meanwhiles in Chain of Memories. I realized as I was writing this, I say meanwhile a lot in this game.
There's like 18 different things going on at once.
So, meanwhile, Axel and Larxene are discussing that they need Sora for their plan to take over the organization, but Larxene tells him to keep quiet about it. Larxene appears to Sora, antagonizes him, and she says that she'll be heartbroken when she learns that he's forgotten her name. Sora questions where she is. Larxene tells him that they're hiding her somewhere deep in the castle, but he has to go through them. During their fight, Sora drops a star-shaped pendant and remembers that her name is Naminé, and she is the one that gave him that good luck charm, and he's been carrying it all this time.
But is it?
Hey, maybe. Larxene leaves, and Sora's pissed that not only that they've got Naminé, but that Larxene is the one that made Sora remember her. Meanwhile, another man in the organization, Vexen, talks to Larxene and Axel, telling them that he came to help them out with dealing with Sora. The trio continues through the castle and run into Sora. The trio continues through the castle and runs into Riku.
That's not Riku.
And Sora's excited to see him, but Riku pulls out the Soul Eater, says that Sora's never cared about Riku, only cares about saving Naminé, despite Sora saying that he originally came all this way looking for him. They fight. After losing, Riku runs away.
Again.
So
basically, at this point, all we know is Riku's a bitch.
Yeah. What a surprise. So Sora's upset that Riku and him are fighting again, but they assure him that it has something to do with the castle messing with their memories. Sora starts to feel better and says the three of them will never be apart. He says the three of them will never be apart. Him, Riku, and Naminé. Never be apart. The three of them. Just the three of them.
Jesus, man.
So, meanwhile, Axel talks to Naminé, who seems both depressed and scared, and tells her that she has his sympathies from the heart, and that we nobodies can never hope to be somebodies. The Man in the Hood... Yeah. that means more than you think. The Man in the Hood from the beginning appears before Vexen and Larxene and shows himself to be named Marluxia.
The gay one.
Yeah. No, he every time he appears, rose petals fucking appear everywhere.
Yeah.
He tells Vexen...
That's not a joke.
That's not a joke. He just appears and he takes off his hood and rose petals fucking fly everywhere.
Yeah.
He tells Vexen that his project was a failure. And that
Wait! It's literally Ruby Rose.
Yep.
Jesus Christ. Why not? Oh my god.
So... He tells Vexen that his project was a failure, and he was entrusted with the castle, or Marluxia was entrusted to the castle and nominated by their leader, and defying him would be seen as treason against the organization. Vexen appears to Sora, and he tells Sora that he's the one that brought Riku to him, and Sora believes that he's the one who's controlling him. They fight, and afterward, Vexen tells Sora that he crafted a card from deep in his memories from the other side of his heart. Wonder what that means.
Ooh.
Meanwhile, Marluxia and Axel notice what Vexen did, and Marluxia tells Axel to eliminate the traitor. Remember that. Eliminate the traitor. And Axel says there's no taking that order back later. Sora, Donald, and Goofy use the card and end up in a world called Twilight Town, which although Sora's never been there before, it feels extremely familiar to him. Vexen confronts Sora again, and after losing the fight, he tells Sora... he's like dying. So he loses the fight, and he tells Sora that if he continues to go after Naminé, he'll lose his heart and become Marluxia's pawn.
Wait, is this when he gets snapped?
However, he's interrupted by Axel, who kills him.
Yeah.
Sora's confused as shit, and asks Axel,
Axel.
and he asks Axel what the fuck is wrong with them, and Axel disappears. They continue through the castle, and they run into Riku again, who shows Sora that he also has the good luck charm from Naminé, and has the same memory of getting it that Sora does. They fight again, and he runs away again. As Riku runs away, Riku dropped his good luck charm, and when Sora picks it up, it turns into a card. Donald and Goofy are both confused as shit, as both...
I am
like
too.
the audience.
So, because Sora and Riku can't both be right if they have the same memory. Sora tells them it doesn't matter because they have to find Naminé, but Donald and Goofy tell him to slow down, since he didn't even remember Naminé a little while ago, but now she's all he talks about. Sora flips out on them and runs ahead, leaving them behind. Meanwhile, Axel's alone with Naminé, and he tells her that Marluxia's not around, and there's no one over here who would get in her way. So Naminé runs out of the room.
Why is she like anamorph into like a child and then back to taller than Sora, even though the same age?
What?
Wait, are they the same people?
What?
The person with the lady with the hair slicked back.
No, that's not Larxene. That's Naminé. That's the
No.
girl that Sora remembers from the island.
That's the good blonde one.
Yeah.
That one.
Okay.
So,
I thought they were the same person.
So
No.
Larxene, who the bitch with like the two little
The
points
ant
at
fucking
the
hair.
is horrible. We hate her.
Oh,
And
I
She's
I
in
thought-
Organization 13.
Okay.
She's
Naminé is. We'll find something out later.
Yeah, so
Okay.
Sora
Is-
remembers her from the island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
'cause
and
the way it looked was like, oh, the
Yeah.
Foxen was the one that was on the island before.
No, that's her, and the organization is holding her
You know,
captive.
Sora,
Okay.
Riku, and Larxene.
Should she like take the chair with her wherever she goes, or is that chair always?
That's the only place she's been sitting.
Oh, okay.
But
She's been there for like 50 years.
But Axel tells her that Marluxia's not around. There's no one here getting her way. So Naminé runs out of the room, not in the chair anymore.
running away.
Yeah. Sora uses the card on the door.
Took the chair. He's gonna sit on Sora.
So Sora uses the card on the door and ends up in the illusion version of Destiny Islands. He runs into Naminé, who tells Sora that she doesn't belong in Sora's heart, nor does she belong in anyone's heart. She tells him to look deep inside of his heart and remember who's really the most important to him. The good luck charm turns back into the one that Kairi gave him. Ooh.
Uh-oh.
He goes back through the castle and finds Naminé again and realizes that he can only faintly remember Kairi, and he doesn't remember her name either. And if she's so special to him, why can't he remember her? She's about to start explaining, but Riku's...
This fuck.
Yeah, so
Three
she's about-
times the charm.
Yep. Then Riku enters the room and tells Sora that his memory's a train wreck. Riku's the one who's most special to Naminé, not Sora. Sora and Riku fight, and Sora believes he's won the fight, but then Riku throws a huge blow that knocks him down, and
Typical protagonist. Or
Yeah.
antagonist.
so he's about to tell the finishing strike. Naminé yells for Riku to stop, and he falls to the ground comatose. Sora asks what the fuck she just did, and then Larxene appears and explains that the Riku lying there is just a puppet replica of Riku that Vexen made as an experiment. So that's not the real Riku. That's just a replica of him. Yeah. So she continues to explain. She continues to explain that Naminé has the power to change people's memories, both taking away memories and putting memories that never happened into people's heads. Sora realizes that his memories of Naminé are all fake and that it was all part of the organization's trap. Larxene says, Yeah. So Larxene says that they were so close to having him as their puppet, but Axel used Naminé to betray them. So now Naminé has to kill Sora.
That picture. Don't talk to me or my daughter.
No, she hates Naminé. We'll see in a moment. So Naminé runs in front of Larxene to stop her, but Larxene is pissed at her for ruining their plans and pimp slaps her across the room.
Okay.
Wait, can you go back to the slide before? What are his ears?
What?
No, they're hands.
She's like,
they totally look like ears from
They do.
no, she's like, oh god.
Fucking
And then
monkey ears
she
over
pimp slaps
here.
him. So, all right. Yeah. So, Sora yells for Naminé, who is now lying on the ground, and when Larxene tells him that he shouldn't worry for her because he doesn't even know her, Sora explains that even though his memories are fake, the promise that he kept, the promise that he made to her feels real, so he'll keep it. Larxene's about to kill Sora, but she's stopped by a shield, and Sora's healed. Donald and Goofy run in and tell Sora.
Donald ever heals you.
Yeah. Donald and Goofy run in and tell Sora they were worried about him, and it's always been the three of them, and that they'll always stick together, and they fight and kill Larxene.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, Naminé explains to them that she was never on the islands, and she's the one that messed with their memories, but she was forced to do it by Marluxia. Sora tells her not to be sad, because while he knows his memories are fake, his feelings for her aren't, and he still cares about her. Naminé tells him that if they go to the 13th floor, she can fix everything. Sora tells Naminé to stay with Riku.
He's still dead.
Yeah, he's just
He's been lying there.
Yeah, so Sora tells Naminé to stay with Riku since Marluxia will be up there. Sora, Donald, and Goofy discuss that they're getting a bit scared because they've lost so much of their memories, and they decide to make another promise that no matter what happens, the three of them will always be best friends. Meanwhile, Marluxia confronts Axel, saying that they would have succeeded if he hadn't let Naminé go. Axel reveals that he was secretly against Larxene and Marluxia's plan to overthrow the organization and reminds Marluxia of his order to eliminate the traitor. He's about to attack Marluxia, but he puts Naminé in front of him. Axel says that using her as a shield won't do him any good, and Marluxia asks if Sora heard that. Axel turns around and realizes Sora's standing there, and Sora fights Axel. Axel loses, says that he was worth saving after all, and appears to die. They confront Marluxia, and when he references the pathetic imitation of Riku, the replica appears and attacks Marluxia. He says that he knows he's a fake and he's never had anything to begin with, and the only thing he has left to hold onto is his fake promise with Naminé. Sora, Donald, and Goofy and the replica fight Marluxia, and after winning realizes that Marluxia was just an illusion and he's really behind that door. Sora tells Riku,
Hey, fuck you. Now come fight me 5 feet away.
Yeah. Sora tells Riku to protect Naminé while they defeat Marluxia. And Sora, Donald, and Goofy fight and kill Marluxia. They meet up with Riku and Naminé again, and Riku tells Sora that he can't remember when or why he was created, and all the memories he has are his fake ones of Sora and Naminé. He starts to walk away, and Sora tells him that even if they are fake, the memories are his and his alone. Riku tells him that even if he's not real, he can tell how real Sora's feelings are, and continues to walk away. Sora, Donald, Goofy, and Naminé then discuss getting their memories back to normal. Naminé tells Sora that in order to put their memories back to normal, he will have to completely forget everything that's happened in this castle, including Naminé. She tells Sora that he has to make a choice between his real memories and the memories of that he's made here. It takes a moment to decide, but he chooses to go back to how he was before. Naminé, who couldn't bring herself to look at Sora, as she told him this, was clearly on the verge of tears and putting on a strong front for Sora, and she agrees that you obviously want to remember the people that really matter to you, and that anyone would choose that. She leads the trio to this room that has these pods in it, and tells them that they have to sleep in them while she fixes their memories. They realize that when they wake up, they won't remember who she is, so they won't be able to thank her. So Jiminy, who is also still there, he writes down his empty journal, "Thank Naminé," so that they know to thank her when they wake up. Donald and Goofy go to sleep, and Naminé tells Sora that despite this starting with a lie, she's glad she was able to meet Sora. She says goodbye to Sora, but Sora assures her that it's not goodbye, and he promises that when he wakes up, he'll find her, and they'll be friends for real. As the capsule closes, oh yeah, dude, when I was writing this, I was like,
Just wants real friends.
dude, it's fucking not all she wants is just to like hang out. She just wants to.
Where's Naminé? Is she alright?
Yeah, it seems, and you're well, she's not dead yet.
Wait, yet?
So,
Honey, you got a big story.
so she says goodbye to Sora, and Sora assures her that it's not goodbye, and he promises that when he wakes up, oh, I already said that. So he promises her that when he wakes up, he'll find her, and they'll be friends for real. As the capsule closes, Naminé reminds Sora that there's someone else he made a promise to, and Sora starts to remember Kairi. Naminé tells Sora that one day the light will bring them together, and until then, she'll be in his heart. Naminé cries as Sora falls asleep, and the credits roll. During the credits, we see Kairi on the beach looking out into the ocean. We then see the Riku replica walking through the castle, and Axel appears in front of him, still alive. Axel's not dead. We then see a boy walking in Twilight Town.
Oh, that boy is Pence.
Yeah. Any questions yet?
Is this when we get into the real story, which is Pence?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope,
When is it? When is it? Pence Kingdom Pence 3.
You don't have any shirtless Pence photos. I'm gonna riot. That fucking monitor is going out the window.
Okay. So any questions yet?
It looks like he's wearing assless chaps.
He is. He's not. It's just
Okay.
pants, but-
No, that was actually pretty straightforward.
All right. Cool.
Okay. It might be confusing because in the first game we're like, Kyrie, and in this game we're like, nominate.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it all makes sense why, because it's like, well, his nominee fucked with his memories.
Yeah.
And then basically like she just went and like she copy pasted herself over Kyrie.
Yeah.
And then like, so.
No, that is what happened. There's no way. That is what happened.
And it's sad as shit because they're like, in the end there, she's like, you know, clearly she knows Sora is not gonna be like, no, it's cool, I'll forget Kyrie, but like deep down you can tell she wants Sora to be like, and because like, and that's,
Dude, hold on, let me get.
Wait, in the future, Kyrie, something happens with Kyrie, right? That we find out.
I don't know what you're referring to,
Okay,
probably.
I mean, a lot
but
of things happen.
like you were
with
saying,
Kyrie.
that scene is so fun because she like can't even look at Sora right
Yeah,
here. She's
sure.
like, you have to choose between your memories here and your memories, you know, of Kyrie. And it takes Sora a moment. He goes, "Make me how I was," and she's still turning around. And she just goes like, and then she like turns around like, "Oh, of course anyone would choose that. You know, why would you want to keep?" It's like, oh, nominate. Like,
No, like she would have been so fucking happy if Sora was just like, nah, it's cool, nominate. I choose you, but like he's not.
Yeah.
It's just like.
it's so like, ugh, it hurts.
If only he had like some other person that looked just like him. That. Like,
But anyway, those are the credits. We're not at the end of Chain of Memories yet. After you play through that, you then get to you then play Chain of Memories Reverse Rebirth. This takes place at the same time as Sora's story. So like essentially we're starting like at the beginning of Sora's story. Riku, the real Riku, wakes up in a place between light and dark, and a voice gives him a card which says that will lead him to the truth. Advises Riku to stay here where it can't be hurt, but Riku says fuck that and takes the card. Card transports him to the basement levels of Castle Oblivion. He uses the card on the door and appears in the illusion of Hollow Bastion, and the voice reminds him of the time he spent here succumbed by the darkness. He runs into the illusion of Maleficent, who he kills, and the voice then reveals himself as Ansem, who, since he shortly possessed Riku, he had a piece remaining inside of him. He tries to convince Riku to accept the darkness again, but Riku continues to fight him. Riku starts to lose, but a light shines down, and Mickey's voice talks through it, telling him that he's not alone.
you want to lay on sex?
So, although he's failed to overtake Riku again, he gave Riku a strength and power of darkness for him to use in battle if he so chooses, and remains in Riku's heart. He gives Riku a handful of cards and tells Riku that he believes that he'll eventually succumb to the darkness again. Riku then continues to go through the Disney World, same as Sora did, but the only people he runs into are villains. Riku continues through the castle and meets with a projection of Mickey, who can only send a little bit of his power to the castle. Mickey tells Riku that even in the darkest darkness, there's always a little bit of light. He promises to find a way to reach Riku.
Also, Mickey put a shirt on.
You know what I was thinking? You know what? What if the light that they refer to, like just the light in general, is like the Walt Disney's light? You know how he always has his light on?
That'd be fucking awesome. I would cry.
That's
like Walt
that's
Disney's like
Kingdom
inside
Hearts.
of Kingdom Hearts. I would cry
Yeah.
like a fucking little bitch.
Oh, man. Hey,
That's why
we
there's
might
always
know
light.
in
It's always on.
3 days!
3 days.
Alright. So, promises he'll find a way to reach Riku. Meanwhile, Vexen meets with 2 other members of the organization. Remember, this takes place before, so Vexen's still alive.
No, I like in the fucking manga where it's like the chore list.
Oh, yeah! So, Vexen meets with the 2 other members of the organization, Lexius and Zexion.
Sexy.
Zexion.
SCX.
Zexion tells him that he has sensed Riku in the castle, and they presume that Riku involuntarily used his dark powers to escape the realm of darkness and appeared in the castle, as his existence resonates with Sora. Vexen fills Lexius and Zexion in on how Marluxia is using Naminé to mess with Sora's memories, and he seems to be planning to use Sora for himself. Riku continues through the castle and encounters Vexen. Riku asks if he's working with Ansem, and he says that he's half correct, as he is Ansem, and he is also not Ansem, and a nobody best conveys the idea. I wonder what that means, guys. Riku and Vexen fight. I was very proud of that screenshot. Riku and Vexen fight, and afterward, Vexen tells Riku that the fight has given him a very valuable data, thanks him, and disappears. Wonder what that data was for, guys. It's replica. Meanwhile, Lexius and
It's
Zexion.
Chad and the Virgin.
So, meanwhile, Lexius and Zexion discuss that Marluxia, Larxene, and Axel's their actions are discomforting, but Vexen's replica, which should be complete soon, should take care of things. Riku continues through the castle and encounters his replica. The replica tells Riku, would you fucking clone yourself?
No, they both won't be virgins.
He tells Riku that he's stronger than him since he doesn't fear the darkness. They fight, and although the replica loses, he says that since he's still new, the next time they meet, he'll be stronger. Vexen shows Larxene and Axel the replica, and Larxene suggests that Naminé should give the replica all of Riku's real memories so he doesn't know that he's a fake. Vexen agrees, as it's the best way to test Sora. Afterward, Larxene talks with Naminé.
Back in the chair.
Larxene talks to Naminé, and Naminé tells Larxene that adding fake memories of her to Sora will only make Sora's feelings of Kairi stronger, as she is the shadow of Kairi. Ooh, I wonder what that means.
Oh.
Meanwhile, Lexius and Zexion discuss how Axel killing Vexen is fucked up, and direct quote.
Chad and the Install argue.
No, they're agreeing. They're saying because this is when Axel killed Vexen. They're like, "Yo, that's fucked up. Why did he do that?" And they decide that since Sora, that it's not Sora that they need on their side, but Riku. Riku continues through the castle and encounters Lexius. He tells Riku to let the darkness in, and they fight. Riku gets his ass beat.
It's Lexius. What do you expect?
And the darkness engulfs him. Then he's in his darkness outfit and he kills Lexius. But he has that half Riku, half Ansem voice he had in Kingdom Hearts 1. And he goes, too slow. And then Lexius dies.
You're too slow.
Yeah.
Nothing personal, kid.
Riku wakes up, floating in darkness, and Ansem appears, telling him that he will take control of him again. But Mickey's projection appears, telling Riku to fight. Riku then wakes up in the castle, all alone again. Meanwhile, Axel and Zexion discuss how Lexius, Vexen, Larxene, and Marluxia are all dead, and Axel faked his death to Sora. Zexion tells Axel that he was planning on having Riku fight off against the traitors, but with everyone else dead, there's no point now. But he's still dangerous since he killed Lexius. Riku continues through the castle and encounters Zexion.
Wait. So they're talking, and they're just like, "Hey, everyone's dead."
Yeah.
And who's still dangerous?
Riku.
Oh, Riku.
Because he just killed Lexius. So Lexius is... Y'all see Lexius? Look at that motherfucker. You see what... Look at that.
He just nothing personnel kidded Lexius.
Yeah, he just did that to Lexius. So they're like, yo, this dude is dangerous. We gotta stop him.
Okay, so like everyone's dead, and we have like...
Lexius, you know the dude who put you on 1 health with 1 attack?
Yeah.
That guy.
Yeah. So, Riku continues through the castle and encounters Zexion. Zexion tells him that Sora is in the castle, but asks Riku if he can face him, as Sora fights for the light, and Riku was delved so far into darkness. He gives him a card of Destiny Islands and leaves. Riku goes to the illusion of Destiny Islands, but everyone he encounters fades away. Riku encounters Zexion, who tells Riku that he has left every memory of the islands behind, and he's the one that destroyed his home. Sora then appears, who attacks Riku, and asks him how the light can hurt him. Riku is engulfed by light, and is about to accept that he's going to fade away into the light. But Kairi then appears, who tells him that he won't fade into the light, nor the dark, and the darkness in his heart is vast and deep, but if he's able to truly stare into it and never look away, he'll never be afraid of anything again. Riku then accepts the darkness and attacks Sora, who is then revealed to be Zexion, who has disguised himself. And Riku and Zexion fight, and when Zexion gets his ass beat and realizes how was controlling the darkness, he shits himself and runs away.
He's the emo kid.
Oh yeah, he is like, in this scene, I didn't get a screenshot of it, but he's like, how the fuck did he do that? He's like, how did he wear the darkness so well? It's pretty fucking funny. He's like shitting himself. Axel then goes to Zexion with the replica and tells him that if the replica wants to be real, all he has to do is obtain the kind of power the real Riku doesn't have, and he should start with Zexion, so the replica kills Zexion. Riku continues through the castle and runs into Mickey, who apologizes it took him so long to get to him. And Riku's so overwhelmed by seeing a friend as he's been alone for so long that he falls to the ground in relief. Mickey tells Riku that a card appeared as he was trying to find a way out of the realm of darkness, and that's light led it to Riku. The card is Twilight Town, and Riku... Yeah, okay, this motherfucker.
Now we're getting to literally the Mummy remake.
Yeah.
Wait, are those like belts?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nomura
designed him. What do you expect?
Those are like belts you put on around your waist.
His entire outfit is literally made of belts.
Yeah. So, the card is Twilight Town, and Riku enters, and he meets this man who refers to himself as Diz. And he tells Riku that he needs to meet with Naminé and choose, and then disappears. Riku continues through Twilight Town and runs into the replica, who is tired of how everything about him is a copy of Riku. And despite finding new strength, he still feels completely empty inside, and decides that as long as Riku is around, he'll never be more than a shadow, and tries to kill Riku.
Same.
Riku wins the fight, and as the replica is dying, he tells Riku that death doesn't scare him, since he's just a fake, and he assumes that even what he's feeling now is all fake.
How many times has he killed himself?
A lot.
So, Riku asks what he's feeling, and he asks Riku where his heart will go, and what happens when a fake dies, if his heart will just disappear. Riku tells him that his heart will go somewhere, maybe to the same place as his. The replica chuckles and says, "A faithful replica to the very end. That's okay." And then he dies. That one hurts. Riku continues to the castle and finds Namine, who's in the room that Sora is sleeping in. Namine fills Riku in on everything that's happened in Sora's story, and tells Riku that he has to choose whether to go to sleep too. Namine can put a tight lock on Riku's heart, and Ansem won't be able to come out, or Riku could face Ansem himself. Riku realizes that he told Sora to take care of Kairi, but he's here taking a nap, so when Sora wakes up, he'll tell him off, but he can't do that if he's asleep. So before he leaves, he realizes that she was the one who came to Riku when he was fighting Zexion in the form of Kairi. Riku meets up with Mickey and Diz again, and Mickey mentions that he feels like he knows Diz from somewhere. Diz gives Riku a card that will draw out the darkness in him.
Diz nuts.
No, D-I-Z.
Diz nuts.
Diz gives Riku a card that will draw out the darkness in his heart and give Ansem physical form, where Riku can fight him off for good. This is like my favorite line ever. Riku tells Mickey that he needs to do this alone, but tells Mickey that if Ansem wins, he's gonna take over Riku again, so if that happens, Mickey needs to kill him. But Mickey tells Riku... Yeah, right, look. Mickey tells Riku that's not gonna happen, and he'll be right there if Riku needs help. So...
Can I please get just that little bit as an audio bit for like a ringtone?
I love that so much.
But he says Mickey, you need to kill him.
Yeah.
Want your backcracker? Mickey's gonna cut you in the fish.
Now, Mickey tells Riku that ain't gonna happen. He'll be right there if Riku needs help. So, Riku uses the card and fights Ansem, and he wins, but before Ansem dies, he tells Riku that his dark shadow lingers and one day he'll return. Riku meets up with Mickey again, and Mickey tells Riku that the way Riku fights with both light and dark back to back is something that's never been done before, and Mickey wants to be on that journey with Riku, and they decide to work together.
Aww.
Yeah, they're getting married.
So,
So, this is one of my, genuinely my favorite scenes. This is so badass. So, Mickey and Riku leave the castle and meet Diz at the crossroads. Diz tells Riku that he needs to choose between the road to light and the road to darkness. Riku says that neither suits him, and he's going to take the middle road. Diz says, "You mean the Twilight Road to Nightfall?" And Riku says, "No, it's the road to dawn." And credits roll.
Oh,
it's like, fuck yeah!
Tetsuya Nomura.
Yep. Oh, yeah. I made sure to get the screenshot of the Tetsuya Nomura in each of the credits. Okay. So, during the credits, we see Riku and Mickey walking somewhere, and Riku seems to be having struggles within his heart, but then he continues. We then see the boy in Twilight Town again. Axel walks up to him and talks to him. Then we see them sitting on the clock tower eating ice cream. We then see Namine and Diz looking at Sora sleep, and although it fades away quickly before we can get a good look, we see an older Riku with much longer hair. Alright, that is the end of Chain of Memories. Any questions?
Why isn't he jacked?
We'll get there. But no, so...
he's not famous enough to have fan art just.
Well, technically, the buff Riku was him in Kingdom Hearts 1. It was his Kingdom Hearts 1 outfit, so... That was before. But yeah, okay, so that's the end of Chain of Memories. This is the actual end now.
Chain of Memories is fucking confusing.
I think it's relative. It's not as confusing as 1 to me.
I think the
It's just there's a lot of crossing storylines.
I think the players' memories
Well,
are
it
erased
is.
too.
Well, the thing with Chain of Memories is there's a lot of shit going on, but at the end of the day, it's just Sora enters castle, then he forgets Kairi, and then he gets obsessed with Namine.
Confusing. Look, they got Kojima there.
Different Kojima.
And then Namine's like, "Sorry, fam, I was fucking with you," and then he's like, "Oh, that's cool. Don't even trip."
Yeah.
And then,
direct quote from Sora.
and then he gets in this pod, and then he sleeps. Takes a dope nap. Well, Namine just jacks off.
So basically, he strolls in, slaps some dude around, takes a nap, and
I
leaves.
guess you could say she was.
Yeah.
Well, he hasn't left yet.
nominated.
Well, he hasn't left yet.
He will, but...
Well, for what? What? Where is that pun going? What was she nominated for?
I don't know.
She was nominated to fix his memory.
Yeah.
There you go. Good job.
But then Riku is 2 steps behind him, and he's dealing with his own shit. He's got light and he's got dark, and he fucks up the dark, but he can't fuck with the light. So then he fucks the
But
Twilight.
do you fuck with the war?
And then that's pretty much it. Mickey's there. They bro out.
Yep.
Oh yeah, there's this whole like plot that you don't really know yet, but like
Yeah.
there's some people.
There's a lot of plot we don't know yet.
This is like a prequel and a sequel.
This one take place after Kingdom. This one came out after Kingdom Hearts 1, before Kingdom Hearts
Okay,
2.
it's not a prequel, but it's like,
It's just a
That
straight
just
up
make the
sequel,
beats.
it's like a
Yeah.
sequel.
but it's leading up to stuff.
Yeah.
That's just called a sequel. It's not a prequel to the future. It's a prequel if it's in the past.
Alright, well, anyway, any more questions we got? We good?
It's like a pre-sequel.
Fuck off.
Or is that a prequel?
If you add a prequel plus a sequel, it's just equal.
Okay, we're gonna continue.
So this is the equal game.
This is equal.
So,
Okay.
next up, Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days.
Fuck this game.
So this one technically came out after
Best
Kingdom Hearts 2,
story.
but it takes place before, so we're just gonna we're moving it before.
God, I love this game.
This one came out on the Nintendo DS in 2009.
I fuck with this game.
Only on the DS?
Yes.
They did this thing where they remade like all the cutscenes and put it on the PS3, but
You
the
only
movie
get to
fucking
play
sucks.
it
So
on the
like,
DS.
yeah, you only get to play it on the DS. So we
Yeah,
had
you gotta
to think
transition to so many
Yeah, it's
consoles
like,
to
well-
play
Well,
to
to
get
be
the
fair,
story.
the only at this point the only one you need to get the story is the PS4 because both Days and Recoded were on the DS, but they made the movies onto the PS4. So if you wanted to, you could just watch the movies. I don't recommend it because the movies fucking suck. Well, the Days movie sucks. The Recoded movie's good.
There's Kingdom Hearts movies?
No, they
There
turned
were
they
the
turned
cutscenes,
the
just not
cutscenes
all.
of this and another
Oh.
game into a movie. And the movie for this one sucks. The movie for Recoded's good, but this one so if you want to, you get a PS4, get 1.5 plus 2.5. Every fucking game is on it.
So this doesn't like influence the plot. It's just more of like, if you want to learn more about the lore.
No, this influences the plot
This
a
is-
lot.
Oh, okay.
This is
like
big time. This is
one
big boy
of-
plot.
This is
Oh,
like one
okay.
of the most plot.
So if you
Yeah.
want to know, you have to go out and buy a DS to under.
Well, no, if you want to just understand it, you can get the PS4 movie,
Oh,
but
okay.
it's
Yeah.
not good. So I recommend the DS game. But either way,
Also,
or just watch this.
Or yeah,
Yeah,
watch
just
this.
watch this.
Also, you could pick it up and then play in the free mode where you get to have joke weapons on everyone.
Oh yeah, fucking fight with pizza and a
fight
leak
with-
and stuff.
yeah.
But no, so all right, everyone get ready to cry. This one, we're in for a ride.
I'm already crying.
So, DS in 2009. The beginning. So this timeline wise, this one, the beginning takes place a bit before Chain of Memories, but then it continues through and it takes place like at the same time as Chain of Memories, and then most of it takes place after Chain of Memories. You'll be able to figure out what is happening. But
why it's called 358.
We'll find
kinda,
out.
I guess
it takes a little bit of interpretation, but
358.
So
Also,
I can say that the 358 day, because this game takes place over 358 days. I don't talk about it too much in the recap, but like the game is sectioned off into like day 1, or it technically starts at day 7, but like day 20, and it continues through the story.
Oh, okay.
Over 2 is kind of up to interpretation though.
yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, the beginning takes place a bit before Chain of Memories, and then we'll continue through.
Maybe
And
it's
most,
by divided by 2 people. Because it's 2 people's memories or something.
I like kind of honestly want to applaud you because that is genuinely what
That's-
most people interpret.
that's-
That because
that's
like
exactly
2
what-
people.
yeah.
So fucking good job. Anyway, so yeah, we're gonna start before Chain of
You've
Memories.
already get an A in your first semester.
Congratulations, you beat Kingdom Hearts.
But yeah, so most of it takes place before Chain of Memories 2, but we're gonna start a little bit before Chain of Memories. So, a boy is discovered. Remember that boy? He is discovered.
That boy.
It's that boy. This is my favorite character, by the way. So just so you know.
Yeah, he's a garbage character. No one cares
It
about.
was like a reskin.
Well,
We'll get to that.
a boy is discovered by the leader of Organization 13 named Xemnas. He gives the boy a new name, Roxas, and recruits him as number 13 of the organization. The organization's stronghold is in a castle in a world called the World That Never Was, a world that is in between worlds, kind of in between the light and darkness.
It's also cyberpunk for some reason.
It's fucking
Is that
awesome.
Kid Next Door?
Pretty much, yeah. So on top of the characters we met, no.
fucked me
Yeah. So
The power.
on top of the characters we met in Chain of Memories, which include Vexen, Lexius, Zexion, Axel, and Marluxia, and Larxene. There are 6 others in the organization at the time, not including Roxas, which include Xemnas, who's the leader of the organization, Zigbar, Zaldin, Cyax, and Cyax is Xemnas' right-hand man, Demix, and Luxor.
Fucking
It's Guy Fieri.
Demix is awesome.
Guy
This is Guy Fieri. This is Guy Fieri if he was like obsessed with gambling.
So Guy Fieri.
Yeah, so Roxas was only born recently and has a difficult time talking, focusing, and is learning everything for the first time.
do you mean born?
We'll get there. So yeah, so he's a new dude. He doesn't understand shit. Well, he's essentially learning everything for the first time.
Same.
Yeah, and on the 7th day of being in the organization, they introduced the 14th member of the organization, Shion, who also has the power to wield the Keyblade. Axel is then instructed to watch over Roxas and goes on a training mission with him.
He's like Obi-Wan and Anakin.
So, afterward, he takes Roxas up to the clock tower where they talk and eat ice cream, and Axel congratulates him on officially being a member of the organization now that he's going on missions. Throughout the next few days, Roxas goes on missions with other organization members, and they explain a few things to Roxas. Everyone pay attention. So, the organization is comprised of nobodies. When a person with a strong heart... No, hold on. When a person with a...
Trust me.
When a person with a strong heart is turned into a heartless, while their heart turns into the heartless, their body becomes a nobody. Essentially, they're the same person as they were before, but they don't have hearts. And with that, no emotions. Normally, nobodies remember who they were as people, and normally they are just the same people that they were. But Roxas has no memory of who he was before. I wonder who his nobody is. So Roxas has the power to wield the Keyblade. I wonder who's nobody is.
It's Riku.
So with every Heartless he defeats...
It's Mickey.
Yeah. Well, he does have the power to wield the Keyblade. So with every Heartless that Roxas defeats with the Keyblade, the heart is released and goes to an artificial Kingdom Hearts, and the art that which the organization is making.
Artificial 2.
Yeah, this is a different one. The other one was made of the hearts of the world. This one is made of hearts of man. Hearts of hearts.
Is it ever explained how you route a heart to a Kingdom Hearts?
That's just what Ansem and Zemnis do.
It's
It just be like that sometimes.
It's like if you have
They're cardiomancy.
Yeah.
what?
Heart, cardio,
Mhm.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Wait,
They
what's
just go.
Nancy mean?
okay.
Magic.
Not important.
Oh my god.
So
Do you not know Latin?
okay, so
We.
the
Like
organ
a necromancer.
Oh, okay.
Jesus
Are you all doing like fucking like the teacher thing? I'll wait.
You just need those little chimes.
Or you need tallies.
Okay.
Okay,
So-
we have to move our cards over.
Okay, so the organization making this artificial Kingdom Hearts, they're using Roxas to defeat the Heartless with the Keyblade, make the Kingdom Hearts. The organization is planning on using this Kingdom Hearts to get their hearts back. So, Roxas goes on another mission with Axel, and at the end, he suggests they go eat ice cream at the Clock Tower again. Roxas asks why they should, and Axel explains to him that's because they're friends. Roxas doesn't know what a friend is, and Axel, trying to explain it in the simplest way possible, he tells the Roxas that friends are people that hang out and eat ice cream together.
So Roxas is neat at this point.
But he doesn't understand anything. He doesn't understand what
He was just born like a few seconds ago.
Yeah. So
It's like, hey, fight. All right, we're
yeah. So
F is for friends who do stuff
yeah.
together.
So to make things just to explain things as simply as possible, he tells Roxas that friends are people that hang out and eat ice cream together. Which remember that if you want something to be super heartbreaking later. Roxas continues his missions, working with various different organization members, and every day after work he meets with Axel on the Clock Tower. The Twilight Town Clock Tower. And one day, Axel tells Roxas that he's getting sent to a mission with several other members to another castle the organization works at called Castle Oblivion. He won't be around for a while. Before Axel leaves, Syx tells him that he believes some of the members going to Castle Oblivion are traitors, and he tells him to kill the traitors. After Axel is sent to Castle Oblivion, Roxas is paired up with Shion, who wears a hood covering her face and never talks. At the end of one of their missions together, Roxas tells Shion that he has somewhere to be, and she says Roxas' name before leaving, which is the first thing he's ever heard her say. The next day on the mission, she takes her hood off,
She
Wait
turns
a
out to
second.
be hot.
and aside from her hair, looks exactly like Kairi, just like Namade. She's
Nobody doesn't look like Kyrie.
yes, she does. Just her hair is different.
She really does.
Yeah, she did.
So yeah, I forgot to write that down.
And now she got her haircut.
So the three of them look identical except for their haircut. So she starts to talk to Roxas too, like full on sentences, not just saying his name.
Full on stuff.
Yeah, no, they're like having conversations and
His being
shit.
class.
Yeah. So they face off against the dark side, and Shion absolutely fucking demolishes it. And Roxas is so impressed that he invites her to the clock tower to eat ice cream with him.
Oh yeah, they did.
He tells Shion about how him and Axel are friends, and that they would go to the clock tower after work. And when Shion asks if she can be a friend, Roxas tells her that when Axel gets back, all the three of them will eat ice cream together. All
Okay.
be friends.
Also, I want to point out is if you don't think Roxas has both his eyebrows up, it looks like he's doing the rocks. Look what the rock is cooking.
Oh yeah.
Face.
Roxas and Shion continue to go to the clock tower after work every day, and they get a lot closer. One day it's reported that everyone at Castle Oblivion was killed. Roxas is confused by this, and on a mission with Zigbar, asking what happens to nobodies.
What?
That's Zigbar, he's one of the organization members.
That sounds
There's-
like a granola bar.
Zig
Can you give me a Zig bar?
It's XIGBAR, not Z. Just so you know, it's slightly cooler. So
Protein.
yeah, so
Protein bar.
he's on a mission with Zigbar, and he asks Zigbar what happens to nobodies after they die. And Zigbar tells him that technically the nobodies don't even exist at all. So when they die, they just become nothing. So Roxas will never see them again. Roxas starts to feel lightheaded and passes out. And Xemnas and Saïx discuss that Roxas being put into a coma is connected to Sora's memories being messed with. Because remember, this is the same time as Shan memories. And Xion has been using the Keyblade just as they intended, and she can fill his shoes for the time being. And one day, Xion goes to the comatose Roxas and tells him about this beautiful island she went to on a mission, and that she hopes that he can join her next time, and she puts a seashell on Roxas' bed.
Oh shit.
Yep. And Roxas wakes up after being comatose for like 20 days, and goes to the clock tower and meets with Xion, who's happy he's awake. She shows Roxas that when you put a seashell up to your ear, you can hear the ocean. And Roxas gets a familiar feeling of looking out to the ocean. I wonder why. Roxas then goes back. Roxas then goes back to continue his missions, and at the end of one of his missions, he runs into Axel, who tells Roxas that despite everyone else being killed, he wasn't because he's tough. That's generally what he says. Roxas is like, I thought everyone was killed. He goes, not me, I'm tough.
Man, this makes Sora look like the bad guy. You know, these guys are just doing their job, trying to get that bread, and then Sora comes in wielding a Keyblade, killing everybody.
They straight up tried to kill Sora like 20 times in Castle Oblivion and completely fucked with his memory.
Also, they make Roxas do this bullshit mission where literally all you do is hit a blob.
Oh yeah, that was fun. Okay, so
They're just trying to get that bread.
him and Roxas go to the clock tower and discuss how Axel still needs to check in with the boss, and Roxas tells Axel that he started inviting Xion up here, and she's his friend too. After going back to the castle, Saïx goes up to Axel, and Axel lied to him, telling him that Naminé got away from him and there was nothing he could do about it. Saïx asks him if he found the chamber, and Axel tells him that he would have at least told Saïx that much if he did. Xion then starts joining Roxas and Axel for ice cream at the clock tower. So she starts joining them at the clock tower for ice cream after missions, and three of them start to become very close friends.
So Xion is like Donald, and Axel is like Goofy, right?
Sure.
For a second, I thought you meant Donald.
Donald, not our Donald.
So, one day, Xemnas gathers the organization for a meeting, and he shows them that with the amount of hearts they've collected, Kingdom Hearts is now visible in the sky. And he says, there in the sky hangs the promise of a new world.
That's the moon, dumbasses.
That's what the moon looks like? You walk outside at night and see a giant fucking heart in the sky. Go, hey look, there's the moon!
Well, if you put your hand a certain way and like block out the rest
There you
of
go,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so...
So I guess Dante looks like this every time.
This fucking bachelor over here with his love goggles on.
So, at the clock tower, Roxas, Axel, and Xion discuss Kingdom Hearts, and Axel tells them that once the Kingdom Hearts is complete, they'll be able to have hearts of their own. Roxas and Xion don't really understand why it's so important, as neither of them have memories from before they were nobodies, so they don't know what it's like to actually have hearts. But Axel tells them that once they have hearts, they'll understand. One day, Saïx tells Axel that he needs to start watching Xion, and tells Axel that he will have a mission at Castle Oblivion soon, and there's secrets that Xemnas isn't telling them, and he has an agenda that he hasn't told anybody, and they're bound to find some clues in the Chamber of Waking. And once they have those clues, him and Axel have the upper hand for their own objective. To give him some incentive, Saïx tells him that both Xion and Naminé come from Castle Oblivion. At the clock tower, Roxas, Axel, and Xion continue to become closer and closer friends. One day, Xion tells Axel that she has this feeling of familiarity. There we go, big word, guys. She has this feeling of familiarity when she goes to the beach, and she thinks that they're memories of her past. One day, it's reported that there's an imposter going around with the organization coat who's not in the organization. Xion's sent to take care of him, and we see that it is Riku. He fights Xion, and she loses. He tells Xion that her Keyblade's a sham, and she should leave the organization as those guys are bad news.
Doing
Also,
the
he's a
Bird Box
blindfold.
challenge.
Huh?
Doing the Bird Box challenge.
Yeah, so I wonder why he's wearing that. Xion asks Saïx...
So he can't see Sora beat his ass.
So, Xion asks Saïx for another chance at fighting the imposter, but Saïx tells her that they can't take any more chances on her, and she was a mistake they never should have made.
Oof.
Ooh.
Xion stops going up to the
It's
clock
okay.
tower.
I was a mistake too.
Same. Xion stops going up to the clock tower with Roxas and Axel, and Roxas starts to worry about her, as he doesn't know what happened on her mission. Meanwhile, Naminé and Diz discuss that she's having trouble repairing Sora's memories, as they think a nobody's interfering, and she says that if his memories become her memories, she will never survive it. After Xion fails another mission, Roxas and Axel suggest they go on a mission together, and afterward they all go up to the clock tower. Shion questions Axel about Castle Oblivion and seems concerned about why her and Roxas were never sent there. She seems to be struggling with something, and Axel says that the next day off they have, the three of them should all go to the beach. When Shion says she doesn't know if she'll end up going, they convince her that they should all go together as they all deserve to have some fun together. There we go.
Clock Tower is like Patty's Pub.
Oh, 100%. Except and ice cream is beer.
Yeah. It's the Disney version.
Yeah, so Shion continues to grow concerned about Castle Oblivion and finds some information regarding it that Sax was hiding while she fucking hacks the organization mainframe. And Shion goes to Castle Oblivion herself, and she starts to feel lightheaded. And Axel shows up and tells her that there's nothing here for her. Shion tells him that she has dreams every night of this castle, and Axel's in them too. Axel tries to convince her to go home, but Shion runs away further into the castle. Xemnas holds a meeting where he tells the organization that Shion has deserted them and forbids anybody from looking for her. Meanwhile, Riku meets with Namine, and Namine tells Riku that things aren't going well with fixing Sora's memories. On top of Sora's nobody, Roxas, whoa, what a surprise, retaining some of Sora's memories, they are also going through Roxas into Shion, and the only way for them to get back to Sora is for both of them to die and go back to Sora. Riku then finds Shion on Destiny Islands, and Riku tells her about how he needs her help for Sora to wake up. He leaves the decision up to her and tells her that she needs to make the decision that's right for her, her friends, and everyone else. Roxas is mad that Xemnas won't let them look for Shion, so Axel, despite knowing where she is, suggests they go look for Shion to make Roxas feel better. After the missions every day, they spend time looking for Shion in a different world, and Roxas eventually says that the only place they haven't looked is Castle Oblivion. Axel advises against it, but they search there next. Roxas' head starts to ache, and similar to Shion, so Roxas helps them out of the castle. Axel takes him to Twilight Town, and Axel tells Roxas to take it easy, but then they see Riku and Shion. They chase after them, but they run away and inevitably lose them. Roxas is confused why Shion would run away from him, and then we see Riku and Shion, and Riku asks her if she wants to go back, but she still seems unsure of what to do.
So everyone with an X in their name is like a nobody of somebody.
Yes.
So do you ever get to see those people who they're nobodies of?
Maybe. I wonder. But yeah, so also remember that normally when a person becomes a nobody, they are just like that person. But Roxas is Sora's nobody, and he isn't.
Oh, okay. So it's not.
Yeah.
So it's not like there's no Sora cases.
Yeah. So well, normally, yeah. So like for example, if you became a nobody, you would just be you, but you don't have emotions.
Oh, okay.
Normally, that's what happens. Note that Roxas isn't. So.
Okay. So Roxas is a special case.
Yes.
Okay. I thought everybody had like there's like a person who's not a nobody,
yeah.
and then they have their own nobody, and so
yeah. So like they were people. So like essentially, like if you die and you're killed by a Heartless, you turn into a Heartless. Your heart becomes the Heartless. It just gets completely consumed by darkness, becomes this creature of darkness. Your body becomes the nobody.
Okay.
But Roxas.
But we don't know that
because
there's any other special cases.
Yeah.
It's kind of a thing to note is when you find out everyone else is the people who are basically the original people, they all look almost exactly the same.
Well, like they are like the same person.
And Roxas does not.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically,
why is Roxas so tall?
I'm trying to find
picture?
my
so
yeah.
Shion's on the run from the organization.
Yeah.
So, and Riku she's working with Riku, and Riku has to kill Shion and Roxas.
Yeah.
Or they have to volunteer. They gotta die.
Yeah. And Riku's essentially asking her asking her to voluntarily die.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna kill you.
Off yourself.
Yeah.
Or you can just do it. You can do it yourself.
Commit
yourself. That's why he's letting her have the choice.
That's some heavy shit right there. And then, but Roxas is confused. He's like, "Yo, come back."
Because he doesn't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, he's really confused. And then this whole time, has Axel been lying to Roxas, kind of? Because...
Maybe we'll find out. So.
Okay, we can go on.
That's a yes.
Roxas eventually encounters Shion in Twilight Town, who tells her that if she comes back voluntarily, Sykes will probably let the whole thing drop, and he asks her to come home. She says she can't and tries to run away, but Roxas grabs her hand. Shion then pulls out the Keyblade to Roxas, and Axel comes in and fights Shion. Axel knocks Shion out and brings her back to the castle. And after bringing her back, Sykes says, if you could only choose one, why would you choose the puppet? And says that we have to set things right. There is simply too much on the line, Lee. And then... who's Lee? Roxas, who has started to question the organization's purpose, goes to Xemnas to ask what happened to Shion, and Xemnas gives him no real answers. Shion, now back in the organization, begins to sit with Roxas and Axel in the clock tower again, but is still unsure of whether to stay or not. Since Axel attacked Shion, Roxas is mad at Axel, but she reminds Roxas that if he didn't do that, she wouldn't be back at all in the organization. They continue to go through their missions, and Shion has been slowly growing stronger, while Roxas has been growing weaker. Shion later meets with Axel and asks him what she should do. They then discuss how Shion is actually a puppet who was created to copy Roxas' powers, but since she was just a blank slate that was connected to Roxas, Sora's memories went through Roxas into her, which gave her her own identity. And since Shion was meant to copy Roxas' powers, she may be taking more and more of Roxas' strength, which is why he has been getting weaker.
Okay, back up. So just to make sure. So she's was supposed to be a blank puppet. Like she was supposed to be like she wasn't supposed to be Shion.
Yeah.
She was just supposed to be like blank.
Yeah.
But then she's kind of like she can absorb powers.
Well, she was made to copy Roxas' powers.
Oh. Okay.
And since she was connected to Roxas, and some of Sora's memories went into Roxas when they were being fucked with. And then they went through Roxas into her.
So she indirectly, I'm dealing with your thing here, but Sora's here, they went to Roxas and they went to Shion.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's how she had why she looks like Kairi and everything.
That's why they both have to
She
die.
got secondhand Sora memories.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So they both have to die because their memories are trapped in them.
Oh.
So the only way for them to get back to Sora is for them to die.
Like
Oh, shit.
coconuts. You gotta crack them open.
Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, just like coconuts.
And Shion asks Axel what she should do, and Axel tells her that she has to think for herself, as he knows that she's more than a puppet, and no matter what, the three of them will always be best friends. The days go by, and they continue their missions, and one day, Roxas is sent to defeat a Heartless. Roxas starts to lose, and as they are both about to attack each other, Axel comes in and stops both of them. Roxas then realizes the Heartless was Shion, and the organization did something to make each other look like Heartless to each other, and have one of them kill the other. As they only need one of them alive now, since the strength was shifting so much. They then go back to the clock tower to get ice cream, and while looking at the sunset, Shion says that she wishes things could stay like this forever. Roxas suggests that they all just take off and leave the organization, because if they ran, they could always be together. Shion tells him that they don't have anywhere else to go, and Axel says what's important isn't how often they see each other, but how often they think about each other. Shion and Roxas both say that they'll remember these days forever, no matter what happens.
Oh shit, man. Oh shit.
Namine realizes that fixing Sora's memories has completely stopped, so Diz tells her and Riku that the gloves must come off and tells Riku that he knows what needs to be done. The next day, Axel Shion and this is the day's graphics. There wasn't an actual good HD version of this.
Suddenly,
this is the DS. They didn't do the HD version of this cutscene, so I had to get the DS graphics. So Axel, Shion, and Xigbar all sent on a mission together, and Shion attacks and knocks Xigbar out. And when Axel asks what she's doing, she takes her hood off. And although we don't see under the hood, but it surprises Axel, and she tells Axel that she needs to go. And Axel reluctantly lets her leave. When Xigbar and Axel get back, Roxas asks where Shion is, and Xigbar tells him that Shion left again, and Axel just sat there while she ran away. Roxas confronts Axel about this, who attempts to explain things to Roxas, but Roxas doesn't understand and runs away mad at Axel. Shion then meets up with Riku again, and Shion tells Riku that she's ready, and he tells her to go to Twilight Town and find a girl named Namine. Xemnas calls the meeting and explains that Shion has disappeared again. Xemnas explains to the organization that she was a puppet created by Vexen, the same as the Riku replica, but their plans with her derailed when Vexen died. He tells Axel that bringing her back is up to Axel, as she escaped on his watch, and he'll overlook any nicks or scratches as long as she still functions when she comes back.
How'd they get down from there? Do they just fall?
They
down?
appear. They can teleport.
Oh, okay.
They use darkness
fucking
to
fall to your death.
Also,
It's like
my favorite thing though is from this chair to this chair, because whoever sits here is like
Look up.
Yeah.
They're like fucking Death
They love
Eaters
their
in
high
Harry
chairs.
Potter. They just.
No. So, Roxas confronts Axel, and Roxas tells Axel not to hurt her, and Axel says that's up to her. Roxas asks how long he's known about Shion being a puppet, and if he's known for a long time and not told Roxas, and Axel just walks away.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go. Roxas is sent on a mission to set up a device, and after fighting off a bunch of Heartless, realizes that he's defending something that he doesn't even know what it does. He then really starts to question why he's doing so much for the organization, which he still doesn't know much about. On top of that, there's still so much he doesn't know about himself, and after finding out about Shion, doesn't know if he can trust anyone or if there's anywhere he can truly call home, and starts crying. Meanwhile, Riku meets up with Mickey again and tells Mickey that he's going to have to fight one of the organization members soon, and there's a good chance he won't survive the fight. And if he does, it'll be because he gave into the darkness. And if that happens, he needs Mickey to help guide Sora, Donald, and Goofy when they wake up. Roxas decides that he needs to figure out who he is and what he's doing here.
Wait, so that last thing right there was that if he fights, then he might turn, or he might give in to darkness,
Yeah.
basically.
And he's saying, if that happens, I need you to help Sora, Donald, and Goofy when they wake up.
Okay, got it, cool.
So, Roxas decides that he needs to figure out who he is and what he's doing here, so asks Axel what's going on. He says that since Shion stole Roxas' powers, the organization decided they didn't need him anymore, and he thinks Axel feels the same way. Axel tells him he's wrong about that and he'll always be his best friend, but Roxas goes off on him and tells him that best friends are supposed to be honest with each other, and he just wants to know who he is and asks what's so wrong with wanting some answers. When Axel tells him that finding out the truth doesn't always work out for the best, Roxas tells him that if he can't find answers he'll find them somewhere else, and that'll be the person he trusts. Roxas starts to leave the castle, but is stopped by Saïx. Roxas says he has nothing to say to him, and they fight, and Roxas wins and he continues to leave the castle. As Roxas is leaving, he runs into Axel again, who tells Roxas that if he gets on their bad side, they're going to kill him. And Roxas says that no one would miss him and continues to walk away. Axel then says to himself, that's not true. I would.
Aww. You're my role, bro.
Oh yeah, dude. So Shion meets with Namine, who tells her that she's ready to go back to Sora. Namine tells her that no one will remember her after she dies, as she essentially is made up of Sora's memories, so there won't be anything left to remember. Shion says she's ready, and asks Namine to look after Roxas after she's gone. They're about to go to Sora, but nobody starts attacking, so Shion goes outside to fight him.
This is like going to the Sora-verse.
Oh, 100%, dude. So,
honestly.
Shion goes out to fight the nobodies. Then Axel appears and asks, why do I always get stuck with the icky jobs? And when Shion tells...
Is this a direct quote?
Yeah, actually, yeah. It's this scene is like fucking heartbreaking, though.
Oh.
Shion tells him that she has to go back to where he belongs. And Axel says that he used to think that was for the best, but he doesn't know if it is anymore. She says it's for the good of everyone, but he says that she doesn't know that, and everyone thinks they're right. And when Axel mentions they're going to kill her, she pulls out her keyblade and tells Axel not to hold back. Axel, on the verge of tears, says, you both think you can do whatever you want. Well, I'm sick of it. Go on, you just keep running, but I'll always be there to bring you back. They fight, and Axel wins, but just barely, as when he brings her back to the castle, he passes out as well. Meanwhile, Roxas is sitting at the clock tower, unsure of where to go. Shion then comes up to him as well and tells Roxas that she's out of time. She takes off her hood and shows him that she looks like Sora and tells him that she needs to go back. So she's essentially becoming like so unstable that like she is literally just becoming Sora. So
she got the hair?
Oh yeah, that's Shion right there.
Oh, okay. I thought that was like...
No. So she says that she needs to go back to Sora, but Roxas needs to go back to him too. So Shion attacks Roxas, and Roxas wins the fight, killing her. And as Shion's dying, Roxas starts to forget who she is. He asks if he's the one who did this to her, and she says that this was her choice. She tells Roxas that he can't let Xemnas have his way, and he has to set all the hearts they captured into Kingdom Hearts free. She tells him that she's so happy she got to meet him and Axel, and they're her best friends. Just as she's about to die, Roxas remembers her and asks who else he'll have ice cream with, but she fades away, leaving behind a seashell, and Roxas starts crying. Now, Roxas is fucking pissed. Now that Shion's gone, he is back to his full strength, which is fucking strong, and he has 2 Keyblades. He runs through the world that never was, beating the shit out of Heartless, and encounters Riku. Riku tells him that he needs Roxas to get back Sora's memories, but Roxas doesn't give a shit. Since Shion told him to set Kingdom Hearts free, he's got it in his head that if he does this, she'll come back, and then him, Shion, and Axel can all be together again, even though that's not what's going to happen. Roxas realizes that he's starting to forget about Shion, and it's hard to even remember her name, and when Riku antagonizes him, they fight, and Roxas wins. Riku then says that he has no other choice but to release the dark power in his heart and takes off his blindfold and is engulfed by darkness. Then Ansem appears, and knocks Roxas out. Roxas then wakes up in Twilight Town in normal clothes, and says, another dream about him, and runs outside, saying there's only 7 days left until summer vacation's over. And the credits roll. I didn't get to the credits. But yeah, so...
Gets his ass beat and he wakes up like, oh, and he's all happy.
Yeah.
And then so this is actually all prelude. After this, you meet Pence, who's the real
Mike Pence?
Yes.
Yes, it's Mike Pence.
Both Pence.
He wields jumper cables.
Both Pence and Donald are in Kingdom Hearts.
Wow.
But yeah, okay, so we have any questions?
Several. So right then and there, you just forgot like who.
I don't know what happened. We'll find out. But any like
this
actual
is like Dementia the game.
Yeah. But okay, all right, we ready to continue?
Only somehow more sad.
I get that, yeah.
Okay, so next up.
Also, this game also takes 15 years to infect you.
Yeah. So this is Kingdom Hearts 2. This one came out on the PS2 in 2006, on the PS3 in 2.5 remix in 2014, PS4 and Mobile 5 was 2.5 remix in 2017. This is my favorite fucking game of all time. And this one takes place like right after 350 over 2 days. And note, this is about a year after Chain of Memories. So there was like a year gap in between Chain of Memories and this that Roxas was in the organization. So, Roxas. Roxas is a boy living in Twilight Town that has been having dreams of Sora. He's enjoying his last few days of summer vacation with his friends Hayner, Pence, and Olette. There's Pence, that's the main character. So one day, he encounters a dusk nobody.
Shaky boys.
This we didn't touch upon this, but those are dusks. This is essentially like the creature version of nobody's, like the same way that like the heartless have like the shadows and everything. Mm-hmm. This is like if you have a strong heart and turn into a nobody, but it's not that strong, you turn into that fucking thing. If you have a really strong heart, you still become your like the same person.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So
there's just there's different level of heartless.
Yeah.
It's just
so they're lesser nobodies.
And there's an animation glitch where they go like.
That's not an animation glitch. That's just their animation. They move them out really fucking weird.
Wasn't there a?
It's not a glitch. That people just like take that fucking thing where they go like, yeah. But so. One day he encounters that dusk nobody, which attacks him, but he can't hit it back until the keyblade appears in his hands. He doesn't know what the fuck it is, but he's able to fight the dusk with it. And the next day, him and his friends decide they should all go to the beach and spend the day doing jobs to make money. What were you gonna say?
Is that Gil from Street Fighter?
Yes. So, right as they're about to leave, a man in an organization coat stops him and takes his money pouch, but nobody else sees it. Yeah, he just steals the money.
Takes all his money.
Yeah, but nobody else sees it. And the next day, he's talking to Pence and Olette, and time seems to stop. Namine then walks up to him and tells him to meet her at the mansion.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Time stops, and I'm gonna go goes, hey!
Yeah. Meet me at the mansion. And then, after fighting a bunch of nobodies, he finds himself in a room with Namine, and when Namine is about to tell him what's been happening to him, the man in the organization coat comes again and stops her.
Takes her money.
No, yeah. And he says it's best he doesn't know the truth and throws him back in Twilight Town. Meanwhile, Diz has been in a computer room discussing everything that's happening with Roxas to the man in the coat and talks about avoiding the organization. Roxas continues to have dreams about Sora every night, but doesn't know who Sora is or why he keeps having these dreams. One day, when Roxas is participating in a struggle tournament, which this is like a fucking like fencing kind of thing essentially, but it's called the struggle tournament.
They whack each other with dildos.
Yeah. So time stops again, the Keyblade appears in his hands again, and nobody's attacking him. After he defeats them all, Axel appears, and he realizes that Roxas doesn't remember him. He tells Roxas that he's coming with him, conscious or not, and they fight. Diz then appears and tells Roxas not to listen to Axel. Then time starts again, they both disappear, he continues to win the tournament, and he becomes a struggle champion. The trophy has 4 crystals, and he gives one to each of his friends and keeps one for himself. Roxas then trips and falls off the clock tower. But yeah, but then he stands up, he's gonna go get ice cream, but then he slips and falls. But he seems to just be floating. Meanwhile, on Destiny Island, Kairi talks with Selphie.
Oh, she's hot!
What?
Yeah, so that's, like I said, this has been a year since Chain of Memories. She's like 15 now.
Those pixels are getting hot!
So, Kairi talks with Selphie about how she wonders whatever happened to Riku. And when Kairi brings up another boy, Selphie says she doesn't remember him. Kairi can't remember his name, but she says that she wrote a letter to him, telling him that she'll see him again one day. And then she passes out. Then both her and Roxas see each other, but are confused as to what's happening. Roxas mentions that he knows her, and he says that Kairi's that girl he likes. When Kairi asks what his name is, Sora's voice interrupts, saying that it starts with an S. Kairi wakes up and runs toward the sea and releases the message in the bottle, and says that she knows it'll reach him, and remembers that his name is Sora. Diz and the man in the coat discuss that Sora's progress has been going great.
Wait. So her memories of Sora were lost because of all the fuckery that was nominated and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So it also affected Kairi too.
It affected everybody that knew Sora.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, but now they're starting to go back.
Is she on the island, or are they on the same area, or?
She's on Destiny Islands again. At the end of Kingdom Hearts 1, when all the worlds were restored, she was brought back to Destiny Islands.
Okay, Destiny Island's not like a tiny island; it's a big island.
There's a big island, and there's also a tiny island that they go and play on. So they're on the mainland right now. But then there's also the tiny island that we saw before.
Okay.
So, it's an island. Yeah.
Do you think, how cool would it be if in Kingdom Hearts 3 we get to like explore more of Destiny Island?
That'd be awesome. And that's the conversation for another day, though.
Okay.
Conversation in 3 days.
Yeah. So, Diz and the man in the coat discuss that Sora's progress has been going great, as Roxas' encounter with Naminé has put Sora's heart in contact with Kairi's, as Naminé is Kairi's nobody. So, the guy in the coat then takes off his hood and says his name is Ansem, and Diz laughs and says it's an honor. Meanwhile, Xemnas orders Axel to kill Roxas if he doesn't return to the organization, but when Axel protests, he threatens to turn Axel into a dusk. Roxas then wakes up in bed, and nobody else remembers him falling off the clock tower. One day, while looking at the mansion, he sees himself in a room with Naminé, and Naminé tells Roxas that they are nobodies, but Roxas doesn't understand what a nobody is. She also tells him that him and Axel are best friends, but Roxas isn't sure if he believes it. Meanwhile, Ansem tells Diz that he is starting to remember Sora, and Diz says that will be happening to everybody that knew Sora, and soon everyone will remember him, and the time has come for Sora to wake up. The next day, the second to last day of Roxas' summer vacation, he goes to their usual spot, but everyone doesn't seem to see him, and they walk right through him. Roxas then encounters Axel, who tells Roxas that he was given orders to kill him if he doesn't come back with him. Roxas mentions that we're best friends, and Axel gets excited and asks what their boss's name is to make sure he remembers, but Roxas doesn't know. So Roxas pulls out his Keyblade and they're about to fight, but time stops again, and Diz's voice tells him to go to the mansion. After Roxas runs away, time resumes again, and Axel says to himself that the Roxas he knew was long gone. Roxas goes to the mansion, and in the White Room sees drawings of him in the organization, and some of his memories start to return. Naminé then appears, and they discuss Organization 13 for a bit, as Roxas is unsure of whether they're bad or good, and what a nobody is. Roxas asks what's going to happen to him now, since nothing else really matters anymore. But as she's about to answer, she disappears and Diz appears. Diz tells him that nobody doesn't have a right to know, but Naminé appears again and tells him quickly that they'll meet again, and though he may not know it's her and she may not know it's him, they will meet again, and then they both disappear. Roxas continues through the mansion, and more of his memories of his time in the organization come back. He then finds out that the Twilight Town he's been living in is a fake digital version created by Diz to buy time while Sora's memory is being fixed, and they now need Sora to go back to Sora. Realizing his life is a lie, he gets fucking furious and destroys the computer that Diz used. He continues through the mansion and encounters Axel. Axel realizes that he actually remembers him now, but tells him it's too late and attacks him. Roxas then pulls out 2 Keyblades and fights Axel, and Roxas wins.
I just killed
Wait, why is he... Wait. What does he mean it's too late?
He's just pissed. Because, like, at this point...
He just feels very stabby right now.
He's just lost his fucking mind.
He's just got to stab.
He's just... Because his whole, like, friendship with Roxas has just, like, been crumbled after, he left the organization and everything, and he tried to bring him back, but he's just like, no, dude, it's too late. Like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. But then, so Roxas fights him, he attacks him, Roxas wins, and Axel tells Roxas that they'll meet again in the next life, and Roxas tells him he'll be waiting. Roxas continues to the mansion and sees Donald and Goofy sleeping in their pods, and continues to the next room and sees Diz standing in front of a huge pod. Roxas is furious at Diz and tries to attack him, but he's only a projection, but Roxas is so pissed that he just attacks the shit out of the projection. Diz then appears closer to the pod, and Roxas runs to attack it, but he disappears, and the pod opens to reveal Sora. Roxas then accepts that he has to go back to Sora, and tells Sora that he's lucky. It looks like my summer vacation's over. And Roxas fades away. And Sora, Donald, and Goofy wake up, but they can't remember why they were asleep or what happened after they killed Ansem.
Did he at least see it? Roxas?
No. He faded away, and then Sora woke up.
Oh.
Yep.
He woke up because Roxas went away.
Yeah. So, they don't remember what the fuck happened after they killed Ansem. They look in Jiminy's journal. Whoa. They look in Jiminy's journal, but there's only one sentence in there that says, "Thank Naminé." They decide to explore outside, and Sora mentions that he feels like he knows this place. They eventually go to the usual spot where Hayner, Pence, and Olette are hanging out, and when they introduce themselves, they tell them that someone with big round ears was here just a little bit ago looking for them at the station.
Is that a Heartless shirt? Or is it...
No.
It's just a shirt.
It's just
Okay.
a shirt.
The black is...
Yeah. So, the trio goes to the station and fights some nobodies, which they haven't seen before, and as they're about to be overwhelmed, Mickey jumps in and saves them. Yay. He gives them a pouch of money and tells them to take the train and runs away.
He's the one who robbed them. Look at Mickey.
You monkey fuck.
So, Sora, Donald, and Goofy then go to board the train, but are stopped by Hayner, Pence, and Olette, who say that they felt like they needed to say goodbye. And Hayner mentions that he feels like they've met before, but Sora says he's sure they never have. As they're about to leave, Sora sheds a tear, but he's unsure where that came from, and jumps on the train with Donald and Goofy.
From his eye.
So, as they're on the train, Sora looks in the pouch the king gave him and has a crystal in it, and tells them he's not sure why, but he's really sad. The train then transports them out of Twilight Town into another world. Meanwhile, Ansem meets with Naminé and Axel, and Axel mentions that they don't have homes, but Naminé says there's someone she wants to see, and Axel says it's the same with him. Ansem tells him that Diz told them to kill Naminé, but now they didn't have any use for her, but he lets them both go as he owes them.
It seems like the worlds are always in constant twilight. Like there's never like a sunny day.
That world is called Twilight Town.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense.
On the nose.
Yeah. So, Sora, Donald, and Goofy end up at the mysterious tower and encounter Pete,
This fuck.
who says that he's working with Maleficent, but they tell him that they killed her. And when he mentions that Yensid, who is the king's teacher, lives here, they run past him and run into the tower.
Goofy.
So, they continue through the tower, encounter a lot of Heartless, and realize that despite defeating Ansem and restoring peace to the worlds, there are still Heartless everywhere. They continue through the tower and meet Yensid, who tells... Yeah,
Gandalf the Great.
He 100% is Gandalf in this game. He tells the three of them that though the worlds... though their work before did lower the number of Heartless, as long as there's still darkness in the worlds, there will still be Heartless. So he fills them in on Organization 13 and the Nobodies and explains to them that they are their main threat right now. He tells them that as the wielder of the Keyblade, he needs to go on another quest to find Organization 13 stronghold and take them out. And along the way, they can look for Riku and the King.
So just to clarify, are Heartless actual people, or are they just creatures?
They were people. If they're essentially people that were consumed, and some.
Are they like Keyblade wielders, like from the Great Keyboard?
No,
Keyblade,
they're
or
just.
Are they just people?
They're just people. So Ansem was doing experiments on the heart, and after like releasing a bunch of darkness in people's hearts, like he just like would like kidnap people and experiment on them.
Okay.
And after he would just like release the darkness in their hearts, they would turn into Heartless. But then they were released on the world, and when a person is killed by a Heartless, they turn into a Heartless.
Okay, so you're basically, whenever you kill a Heartless, you're murdering somebody.
Yeah, essentially. But I mean, you can't like save them or anything. So.
Oh, then like once they're Heartless, there's no saving them.
Yeah, unless you're Sora.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he also gives Sora some new clothes and gives them their gummy ship. And after they leave, Maleficent's Crow appears and the three fairies, and they start to remember her. She comes back and she reunites with Pete.
Is that Jim Crow? Or is that Maleficent?
That's Maleficent's Crow. So Sora, Donald, and Goofy go on their gummy ship and they go to Hollow Bastion, where they find the Final Fantasy gang working to rebuild their town. Eventually, they're ambushed by Nobodies, and they encounter Organization 13, who, after one of them tells Sora that he used to give him that same angry look, disappears. The trio then sets out to go search in more worlds. They go to multiple Disney worlds, encountering the Heartless and Pete, who they fight along the way. Eventually, they find themselves at the Disney Castle, where Sora meets Queen Minnie, and they stop Maleficent from stealing the Cornerstone of Light, which stops the Heartless from getting into the castle. The trio continues going through other worlds, some familiar, some unfamiliar.
Photorealistic.
I know, I made sure to get the screenshot of Pirates of the Caribbean. I love this. So they're looking for a way into the Organization's world, looking for Riku and the King, fighting off Heartless, Nobodies, and Maleficent and Pete. Eventually, Axel appears to Kairi, who's on the islands, but she runs her way through a dark portal that appears. Sora, Donald, and Goofy go to Twilight Town again, and after fighting off some Nobodies, encounter Saïx, who tells Sora that despite being a part of the organization, a man named Axel isn't working toward their best interest anymore, and will stop at nothing to turn Sora into a Heartless, and disappears. The trio runs into Hannah, Repents, and Olette, who asks if Sora knows a girl named Kairi. They explain to Sora that Kairi appeared through a portal in the usual spot, and she explained to them everything that's happened. They told Kairi to wait in Twilight Town, as Sora said he was coming back, so he'll eventually show up again. But then Axel appeared. He took Kairi away, and then they leave Twilight Town. I forgot the rest of it yet, but yeah. So they're like, oh shit, she's not here anymore. They leave Twilight Town. The trio continues looking through different worlds, and eventually go back to Hollow Bastion, where Sid and Yuffie tell Sora that they found Ansem's computer. Sora, Donald, and Goofy go up to meet with Leon. Mickey enters the room too, and after they see a picture of
White man.
Yeah, they see a picture of
Jesus.
They see a picture of this guy on Ansem's computer, and Mickey tells them that's Ansem. They figure the king must have had brain damage or some shit's confused. They show him a picture of Ansem that's in the other room, and Mickey says that he never got to explain. This is important, guys. Mickey tells them that the guy in the picture on the computer, his name is Ansem the Wise, and that he was a man that Mickey was friends with, and he had an apprentice named Xehanort who wanted to experiment on the darkness of the heart, but Ansem the Wise forbid it. He continued his research and stole Ansem's name and was turned into a Heartless. The one they defeated was in Kingdom Hearts 1 was Xehanort's Heartless, and is Nobody's a leader of Organization 13. So,
There's 3 different versions of this.
made a Xehanort chart. So, this is Ansem the Wise. He was the ruler of Hollow Bastion, the super great guy, people loved him, and this was Xehanort. This is Ansem the Wise's apprentice. He stole his name. He's the one that did the experiments on the heart and created the Heartless. He then died and became Xemnas, who is Xehanort's Heartless, and Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, who is Xehanort's Heartless. This is the guy they killed in Kingdom Hearts 1. This is the guy that's the leader of Organization 13 right now.
Okay.
And that's a scientist.
So Ansem the Wise is still alive,
Yes.
and he's just chilling, and he's like, what the fuck?
We don't know where he is, but he is alive.
Couldn't have made it any easier.
It's Ansem the Wise.
So just to clarify, we're going to refer to this guy as Ansem the Wise, and this guy is Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, and this guy is Xemnas. Okay, so Hollow Bastion is then attacked by a huge army of Heartless, and so everyone runs out to fight them.
This is the 1K fight.
Yeah. So Sora then encounters Demyx, who calls Sora a traitor and attacks him, but Sora, Donald, and Goofy kill him.
Dance, water, dance.
Yeah.
Is he the one who's a silence traitor?
Yeah, that screenshot right there is after he says silence traitor.
He also jammed on a guitar.
Yeah. A sitar, not a guitar.
I know.
So The king catches up to them, and as a huge boulder is thrown down to them from the battle above, Goofy pushes Mickey out of the way.
And
the boulder
dies.
hits him on the head, and he throws him into the wall.
He dies.
Yeah, Sora, Donald, and Goofy realize he's dead, and they get pissed.
Wait,
and
really?
run.
Like,
Yeah.
Goofy fucking dies?
Yeah, he dies.
Goofy dies.
What?
Yeah, and they start like crying and everything, but then Mickey turns and goes, "They'll pay for this," and they run away. They get pissed off. They fight a bunch of Heartless. They go through a group of Heartless with the Final Fantasy dudes helping them along the way, and as they regroup, Goofy appears behind them, saying that he's fine. He gets bumped on the head all the time.
Okay.
And resolved.
Yeah. But then they continue to fight off the rest of the Heartless army and encounter Xemnas, Xehanort to nobody. Sora asks him where Kairi and Riku are, and he says he doesn't know anything about a Kairi, but as for Riku, he should ask his king. He then disappears through a portal, and Mickey jumps in after him before he's able to say anything. Axel then appears behind him and tells Sora that every time he defeats a Heartless with the Keyblade, the Hearts goes to Kingdom Hearts, which is what the organization is after. After he tells Sora his name is Axel, Sora realizes he's the one that kidnapped Kairi, but Axel just says that he's sorry. Sykes then appears and Axel runs away, and Sykes tells Sora that they're taking very good care of Kairi. Sora asks him to take him to her, and when Sykes says no, he tells Sora to take that rage and direct it at the Heartless. Sora is hesitant at first to defeat the Heartless, as it just gives the organization what they want. Maleficent then appears and tells Sora that she'll take care of them for now while they find a way to take care of the organization for good.
Is she a good guy now?
Okay, wait. So
No.
we have Axel who ran away.
Yeah.
Sayax who was like, "Go fuck yourself," hit the Heartless. We have Kairi, and
Yeah.
then Maleficent showed up. Said, "Don't worry, I got the Heartless." But
I got
I'm
the
all-
nobodies.
I got the nobodies.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the Heartless, because Sykes says at this point also that like the Heartless side who's with whoever's the strongest, so he can also make Heartless appear and work for him.
Oh,
So
okay.
she's gonna take care of the Heartless nobodies that are here right now, while Sora goes off and finds a way to defeat
So she's
them.
actually cool for this like 2 seconds. Right
Yeah, right now, yeah. But then nobodies attack her and she disappears.
Now. Okay.
They then hear They then hear her voice say that they can't be trusted to do anything, and she transports them to a place that is just covered in darkness. They find a box which has a picture of Roxas, Hayner, Pence, and Olette in it, and although Sora doesn't know how he knows his name, he's able to recognize that's Roxas. Sora's able to use his Keyblade to get back on the Gummy Ship, and Sora, Donald, and Goofy discuss what to do now. They know that every time they defeat a Heartless, it helps the organization, and they come to the conclusion that they just have to keep defeating the Heartless, because if they don't, people will just continue to get hurt. The trio continues to go to different worlds, and at one point, while at the Land of Dragons, Sora encounters someone in the organization coat who he thinks to be Riku. The Emperor later says that he warned them about the Heartless and was rude, which gives Sora more reason to believe it was Riku. But Donald and Goofy are worried about what Riku would be doing with Organization 13. They continue going through worlds, and at the Beast Castle, they encounter and kill Zaldin. And
So he just assumes he's part of the organization because of his coat, right?
yeah, so they see that guy, and
Yeah.
Sora, he doesn't know for sure, but he thinks it's Riku, and Donald and Goofy are like, yo, what the fuck is Riku doing with Organization 13?
Okay.
Also move on.
Yeah.
Yeah. What does the Disney stuff have in the significance of the story?
The worlds they go to, like, they go to different worlds looking for, right now, they're looking for a way into the Organization 13 stronghold and looking for Riku and Kairi. The worlds just happen to be Disney worlds.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah. So, at the Beast Castle, they encounter and kill Zaldin. At Port Royal, they encountered Luxor, but they don't defeat him. And so after they go through the Land of Dragons, Beast Castle, Olympus Coliseum, Disney Castle, Port Royal, Agrabah, Halloween Town, the Pride Lands, and Space Paranoids, they go to Twilight Town again. They go to the mansion, find Hayner, Pence, and Olette all knocked out on the ground.
They're fucking dead.
Yeah. They say they were looking for a way to find Kairi, but got attacked by nobodies. Olette tells them that the pouch the king gave him, Olette made herself, but she still has hers, so there should only be one. And the same goes for the struggle crystal, which since Sora has one, she came to the conclusion that there could be an alternate Twilight Town, and that might be where Kairi is, and they're looking for a way in. They're attacked by nobodies again. Mickey shows up and helps them fight. But after the fight, Mickey tells them Ansem the Wise has found a way to Organization's stronghold, and they can go there now. So they go to the mansion, and they use the computer to transport them to the digital Twilight Town, where they see the computer that Roxas destroyed. So they continue through the mansion and find the portal to the realm in between. After going through, they're attacked by nobodies, and Axel appears and tells Sora that he kidnapped Kairi, but Sykes found them. And took her away from her. Took her away from him. Fuck. And Sykes has her now. Axel then helps them fight off the nobodies, but they get overwhelmed. And Axel does an attack that destroys all the nobodies, but destroys him as well. As he's dying, Axel says that he's sorry for what he did to Kairi. Sora asks what he was trying to do, and he tells Sora that he wanted to see Roxas again. He says, he was the only one I liked. He made me feel like I had a heart. It's kind of funny. You make me feel the same. Then he tells Sora that Kairi's in the castle dungeon, makes a portal for him to go through, and dies. They go through a portal and end up in the world that never was. They continue going toward the castle, and Sora is attacked by a man in a black coat who has 2 Keyblades. He's then transported to somewhere else, and Sora asks if he's Riku, and he says that he defeated a Riku once. He then tells Sora, "Tell me why he picked you," and fights Sora. Sora is almost about to lose, but he manages to defeat him, and he takes off the hood, and what a surprise. And he tells Sora that he makes a good other. Roxas and Axel's spirits then meet up for one last ice cream, and Axel asks Roxas...
Wait, is this chronological or is this a flashback?
This is like their spirits meeting up for like one final
this is
ice
like
cream.
Their Force Ghosts.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Started out
The Force Ghosts of the Force Ghosts.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Axel asks Roxas if it's possible they all actually have hearts. Roxas says he doesn't know, but Sora will find the answer. They then realize it's time to go, and as they fade away, Axel starts to cry.
No.
And
As
Sora...
with everyone else.
Yep. Sora then appears with Donald and Goofy, who says that they didn't see anybody there. Meanwhile, Kairi, who is captured by the organization... they actually talk about that in the manga. She tries to slip through, but her ass gets stuck because she's too thick. They actually straight up. That's actually like they talk about. She's like, oh wait, she tries to go through, but her butt gets stuck. And then she like tries to communicate with the Dusk Nobody. She like wiggles to them, and they try to get her out. Or they do get her out, but then she wiggles again, and then she accidentally says something offensive to them, and they attack her. Like, it's a whole thing. But anyway,
Very funny.
not in the manga, in the actual game. What happens is... Where's my place? She meets Namine, who appears through a portal into her cell and tells her to go with her. So Sora, Donald, Goofy, and Mickey enter the castle, and Mickey runs ahead, because he's an asshole. And Namine and Kairi are running through the castle, but Namine's existence is becoming unstable, as she's right next to her actual person, and that should not happen. Saix then confronts him, and as he is about to attack them, a man in the organization coat wielding a Keyblade that resembles the Soul Eater attacks Saix, and Saix retreats. Namine then says, "You can take it from here, Riku," and he opens a portal and is about to leave, but Kairi stops him, and he takes off the hood and is shocked when it's Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, not Riku. I wonder why. So, Sora, Donald, and Goofy continue through the castle and encounter Saix, who says that Kingdom Hearts is almost complete, and summons a bunch of Heartless. And then Sora sees Kairi above him, but is attacked by a bunch of Heartless. Ansem, Seeker of Darkness then gives Kairi a Keyblade, which she uses to fight the Heartless around her. Saix then notices Pete and Maleficent, who are also plotting to take the castle. Meanwhile, Mickey meets up with Diz, who takes off his bandages around his face, and reveals himself to be Ansem the Wise.
Oh, shit.
Yep.
He's literally just chilling, watching everything go to shit. Be like, alright, I'll take care of it.
So, Mickey asks him why he didn't come to him before things got so bad, and Ansem the Wise tells him that since Xehanort was his apprentice, this was his burden. On top of that, he was obsessed with revenge, and realizes now that he was wrong. He also tells Mickey that he was the one that told Riku to fight Roxas, and although during the fight, his appearance changed to look like Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, he is still Riku on the inside. So the Ansem that's been working with Diz / Ansem the Wise is Riku. He just looks like Ansem. And Ansem the Wise tells him that he feels super bad about what he did to both Riku and Roxas. And he has a machine that he says will make things right.
He made a cannon.
So like so Diz / Ansem the Wise like knew Riku would change, but he was still like fucking.
Well, he knew that it was possible, but he was just like, we need Roxas, so.
Yeah, so he kind of still had to. It wasn't like his fault
necessarily. Shoot things right.
Yeah, well, so Sora, Donald, and Goofy encounter Zigbar, who says that Sora doesn't look like half the heroes the others were. He calls Sora Roxas and fights him, but the trio kills him and continues through the castle.
as things go.
Yep. Sora, Donald, fucking Donald and Goofy killed him. But so, oh man, my heart here. So, Sora, Donald, and Goofy reach Riku and Kairi, and Sora apologizes for taking so long to get to her after they were separated, but she just runs up and hugs him. And then she just says to herself, "This is real." And then Riku's about to walk away, but Sora, thinking he's Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, tells him that although thinking about everything he did before makes him really mad, he saved Kairi, so he has to thank him for that.
Wait, so that's Riku? That's Riku.
That's Riku. That's Riku. Just after he fought Roxas, he embraced the darkness. So in order to win, he had to embrace the darkness, and it made his appearance look like Ansem, Seeker of Darkness.
Oh, okay. There's
Buff Riku. There you go.
It's a pay to win skin.
There you go. Yeah. So
level 30 crook, level 30 boss.
So Kairi tells Sora that he's Riku. So, but Riku's unsure. So Sora's unsure. But she puts all their hands together and tells Sora to close his eyes. And Sora does, and he realizes that actually is Riku. And he falls to his knees and starts crying since he was unsure of whether he was alive or not, and spent so much time looking for him. Riku tells Sora that he didn't want Sora to find him, as he didn't want to be seen like this, consumed by darkness. Sora assures him that he's Riku no matter what, and they continue through the castle. They're confronted first by Luxord.
Big Guy Fury.
Yeah. Then Saix, and who both refer to Sora as Roxas, and after killing them, Sora is confused why they keep calling him Roxas. Riku tells Sora that Roxas is nobody, and he filled Sora in on how he was embraced by the darkness while fighting him, and Roxas is inside of Sora now. Meanwhile, Ansem the Wise and Mickey set up the machine, and it starts shooting something at Kingdom Hearts.
Blow it up.
Shoot a fucking laser at it.
Yeah. Eventually, the machine starts to act up, and he tells Mickey to run, but then Sora and the gang catch up to them, and Ansem the Wise tells them to run, and says, Roxas, I doubt you can hear me, but I am sorry. Then Xemnas appears and tells Ansem the Wise that his research inspired him to go further than he ever dared. And Ansem the Wise says that Xehanort is a foolish apprentice of a foolish man, and that he hasn't proved anything, only how little they both know. The machine then starts to self-destruct, and after it explodes, Kingdom Hearts is destroyed, and Ansem the Wise has disappeared, and Riku is back to his normal self. After taking the blindfold off, Sora asks him what it was for, and Riku explains that it was to help him suppress the darkness inside of him. Sora asks why he tried to do so much on his own, since he has friends like them, and Riku tells him it's because he's not a total sap like him, and they go after Xemnas, the organization's last survivor. He takes off his coat to reveal his badass clothes.
And he's taller.
Oh yeah, he's fucking big boy. So, they continue through the castle, and are about to be ambushed by a huge horde of Heartless. Pete and Maleficent appear in front of them, and say that they will hold them off while they kill Xemnas.
They are good guys now.
Right now, yeah.
It's more like the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yep.
Okay.
So, they continue through the castle and reach the top where they encounter Xemnas. He then disappears and a huge door appears, and Mickey figures that the worlds gave them this door as they want them to be their guardians of their destiny. They go through the door and go through a series of fights against Xemnas and win. As Xemnas starts to fade away, Sora tells Xemnas that there's more to her heart than just anger or hate and asks him if he remembers, and Xemnas says, unfortunately I don't, and disappears.
But that is a dope ass fight right there with all the lasers and shit.
Oh yeah. But, so then, Sora asks Riku if he's coming back with him, and Riku says, I've given into the darkness. How am I going to face everyone? And Sora says, like this. and then a portal appears, and although they're unsure of how it got there, Mickey, Donald, and Goofy run through it. Sora, Riku, and Kairi, though, see Naminé, who is transparent, is the one that opened it. Kairi walks up to her and thanks her, and Naminé tells Sora that they did meet again like they promised. And then Roxas walks out of Sora. This is also probably my favorite screenshot of all time. Sora like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
It's a ghost.
So, Roxas and Naminé talk about how they thought nobodies were doomed to fade back into darkness, but they got to go back to their original selves. And they are together anytime Sora and Kairi are together. Aww. Then for the last time, Naminé go back to Kairi, and Roxas goes back to Sora. Sora's confused as shit and has no idea what the fuck just happened, or who those people were. But
screaming.
Oh yeah. So Kairi goes through the portal, but right as she does, it closes. And a huge fucking Xemnas dragon thing appears, and
this fucking fight.
Oh yeah, so they go through another series of fights against Xemnas, and then they fight them off.
Hey, it's the cow!
Yeah, they fight Xemnas off in the realm in between. And Riku gets beaten pretty hard, but they win the fight and kill Xemnas. Riku's
again.
Yeah, no, he's actually dead. Then Riku says that they can't go on, both because he's injured and there's nowhere to go. Sora helps them up and tells him he's been hanging out in darkness too long, and they continue forward. Riku tells Sora that he used to think that he was always better at stuff than Riku. Riku tells Sora that he used to think that he was always better at stuff than Sora, and asks Sora if he was mad, but Sora says he wasn't because he always thought Riku was better at stuff too. Portal of Light then appears in front of them, and they end up in the Realm of Darkness. They decide that since the Realm of... Yes, it is. They decide that since the Realm of Light is safe now, they can just exist here in darkness. Sora helps Riku down to the water, and Riku says, at least the waves sound the same. After sitting by the water for a while, Riku tells Sora that he was actually jealous of him, and the way that Sora always followed his heart. Sora told Riku that he was actually always jealous and wished that he could be like Riku. Riku then tells Sora that there's one advantage to being Riku, and that's he can have Sora for a friend. Sora decides he's fine the way he is too, since he has one advantage to being him too.
Is that like the nobody version of the beach that the island they're from?
It's the Realm of Darkness. It's just... It's exactly what it sounds like. It is just our realm of darkness, where just like darkness exists. And they ended up here, there just happens to be a beach
Not really,
there.
if they had that light.
It's the moon. You know what I mean.
Grim music plays
24/7. So, they sit by the water for a while, but Riku notices a message in a bottle by his feet.
Oh.
And after reading it, hands it to Sora, saying it's for him.
You are a faggot.
So, it's Kairi's letter, and it says, thinking of you wherever you are, we pray for our sorrows to end, and hope that our hearts will blend.
Look at that
now,
cinematic.
I know they do that for the end sometimes. Now I will step forward to realize this wish. And who knows, starting a new journey may not be so hard, or maybe it's already begun. There are many worlds, but they share the same sky. one sky, one destiny. And a door to light appears in front of them, and they enter together. And then they fall through the sky and land in the water. And after re-emerging from the water, they hear Kairi yell their names, and they look over to see Kairi standing there at Destiny Islands. They swim over, and just as they're about to reach the beach, Donald, Goofy, and Mickey jump in and hug Sora and Riku. And then Sora pulls out the good luck charm Kairi gave him and says, "We're back." Kairi holds out her hand and says, "You're home." And Sora hands her the good luck charm back to her, and the credits roll.
I would like to point out.
Hold on, wait. During the credits, we see Sora go into the secret place and look at the drawing of him and Kairi, and notices that Kairi has also added her, giving him the Paopu fruit.
Ooh.
And then after the credits, we see Sora and Riku looking out to the sea, and Sora asks Riku what he thought the door to light was. Riku points at Sora's heart, saying it's always closer than you think. Kairi then runs up to them, holding a message in a bottle, and the letter has the king's seal on it, and they pull it out and read it. That's actually the end. What were you saying?
Well, I probably realized it at the time, but is in the note it says all the worlds connected by one sky, but Sora's name translates to sky.
Yeah.
So,
Sora's name. Sora means sky in Japanese.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Oh, I
It's like
didn't know
the
that.
Pokemon.
Yeah.
Momo turned to Ash.
So it's every world connected by Sora.
Yep.
Oh,
Okay.
that's dope.
So we have a happy ending for now.
Oh no.
But okay, any questions though before we move on?
That's pretty clear.
So they were able to get out of the realm of darkness simply because of Kairi's note.
Yeah,
Kairi's heart.
yeah, like you
basically.
said, Sora's heart, it's always closer than you think.
Yeah.
Just led them back to Kairi. Okay. Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep.
Arguably
This-
the best one.
Arguably. It's good. Story-wise, really good. This is, once again, get ready to cry.
Is this a sequel?
Best story.
This is like the next one.
This
right?
is not a sequel. Well, hold on. This was released on the PSP in 2010, then was remastered on the PS3 in HD 2.5 remix in 2014, then put on PS4, HD 1.5 plus 2.5 remix in 2017. This takes place 10 years before Kingdom Hearts 1. So this is...
Yeah, this is like the prequel.
Okay.
Well, no, actually, the prequel. This is,
Okay, so
key,
we're not going to
but-
see any Sora or anything.
Maybe we will.
What?
Not so...
Surprisingly enough, he's kind of a through line in all these things.
So, okay. Like I said, 10 years before Kingdom Hearts 1. And we see... Well, this scene right here takes place, like, 14 years before Kingdom Hearts 1. But then... Well, hold on. Right now, 14 years before Kingdom Hearts 1.
Okay.
So, old man brings a comatose boy that looks like Roxas, but is not Roxas. Remember that. This is not Roxas. He looks like Roxas, but not
Roxas
Roxas.
doesn't exist yet.
Yes. But he looks like Roxas. Why does he look like Roxas? I don't know. Let's find out. So he brings him to Destiny Islands. The boy's heart is broken, but then it connects with a newborn's heart, and it helps repair it. And as the old man is about to leave him, the boy wakes up and pulls out a Keyblade, and he turns around. 4 years later, now we're 10 years working Kingdom Hearts 1. 4 years later, the boy wakes up, noticing a meteor shower, and runs outside. He lays outside, looking up the stars and watching the meteor shower, but eventually falls asleep. He's then woken up by his friends. They are Ven, Terra, and Aqua. So yeah, here we go. This is Ven, this is Terra, this is Aqua.
Wait. Then.
That's not Roxas. His name's Ven.
Okay.
Remember that. Roxas doesn't exist yet.
Very important.
But he looks like Roxas. Why does he look like Roxas? I don't know.
Maybe it's like a spirit. He's like.
Close.
Not to bring Steven in Universe into it, but like how a gem is kind of like.
But no, remember that that normally a nobody would just be their other person. But Sora's nobody looks like Ven.
Yeah.
I wonder why. Let's find
Why
out.
does Sora look like Roxas or Ven?
Exactly.
Wait,
let's
you're
find
right.
out. So there are Ven, Terra, and Aqua. There are 3 Keyblade wielders that are best friends, and Terra and Aqua are going to take their Mark of Mastery exam tomorrow. Aqua gives them each a Wayfinder, a good luck charm she made based off a legend of a world out there that has a tree with star-shaped fruit on it. As
Is
they
that
all...
coincidental or is that?
No, literally nothing is coincidental in Kingdom Hearts ever. Literally nothing ever.
No, Namor completely forgot about the star-shaped fruit that he put.
But is that like a universal thing or is that an only Kairi thing?
No, it's a universal thing.
Oh, okay.
And they just happen to also live on the island where the legend is from.
Okay, so if Kairi gave Sora a rabbit's foot and then
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
She would have still given them the Wayfinder.
it's not like then Aqua and Kairi are in no way related.
No.
It's just true.
Well, no. No, they're not. They're not. I don't want to spoil, but no, they're not. But maybe we'll see Kairi. They give them each Wayfinder, and they all turn in for the night. And we hear a narration of the 3 of them say, "That would be the last night we ever spent beneath the same stars." Meanwhile, Yen Sid tells Mickey that he can't shake the feeling that something terrible is about to happen. So in this game,
And it does.
Yeah, so in this game, we go through each character's story, like start to finish. Both Ven, Terra, and Aqua. We're going to start with Terra. So, the next day, Terra and Aqua are preparing to take their Mark of Mastery exam before their master, Ericus.
Is that Yasuo?
No, fun fact, his appearance is actually based off of, what's his name? Fucking the guy that created Final Fantasy. I can't not think of his name, but him. And so his name's Ericus. And also, fun fact, if you mess around the name of the letters in Ericus, it spells square. And they have their guest, Master Xehanort, who was the old name man before. Remember, his name is Master Xehanort. Xehanort is the guy from, who is Ansem the Wise's apprentice that turned into Xemnas and Ansem the Wise. But he did not look like that. He was not an old man. He was a younger guy. Who's that? Let's find out. So
the intrigue.
Yeah, and he was the old man that brought.
Why is he a master?
He's a Keyblade master.
Because he's really good.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, apprentice Xehanort, and then there's Master Xehanort.
Yeah, I don't know. So he was the old man that brought Ven to the island before his heart got repaired. He's watching the exam as well. He's Ericus says he's his old friend. So Ericus explains that this is not a competition, as one could pass, one could fail, both could pass, or both could fail. So the first part of the examination is for them to fight these orbs of light,
For some reason.
which Master Xehanort secretly manipulates to cover them in darkness. Afterward, they face each other in combat. After the examination, Ericus grants Aqua the rank of Master, but not Terra, as he failed to keep the darkness within him in check during the fight. Afterward, Master Xehanort meets with a boy in the mask who says that Ventus needs some incentive to leave home.
This fucker.
Yeah. So Terra's sitting on the steps outside trying to figure out where the darkness came from, and Master Xehanort comes out, tells Terra that the darkness isn't something to be feared, and Ericus is a fool for not seeing that. Ericus then summons Terra and Aqua and tells them that he got a message from his old friend Yen Sid, who is a master no more, but still keeps a close eye on the balance of the worlds. He tells them that darkness has taken the form of a monster called Unversed that have been attacking different worlds. On top of that, Master Xehanort has disappeared. He tasks Terra and Aqua on defeating the Unversed and finding Master Xehanort. He tells Terra that he should take this as an opportunity to get Master Ericus to change his mind. And he says that he cares for Terra like his own son, and though he wants to name Terra Master, he can't with the darkness inside of him. As Terra's about to leave, Ven runs up to him. Ven's about to tell him something, but Terra just tells him it's okay, and then activates his Keyblade armor, and then goes on his Keyblade glider and flies away. So Terra goes to multiple Disney worlds, and most of the time encountering the Disney villains, and helps them in exchange for information on what happened to Master Xehanort.
Parallels.
Yep. So he's able to find out that Master Xehanort is looking for the 7 pure hearts filled with light, and there's a boy in a mask leading the Unversed. While in the Castle of Dreams, Terra runs into Aqua, who tells Terra that Ven ran away from home, presumably to look for Terra. And Terra tells her about Xehanort's search for pure hearts. Terra decides that since Master Ericus was told the Unversed by Yen Sid, he should go talk to him himself. Terra goes to the mysterious tower, and on the way in sees Mickey, who uses a star shard, that fucking thing he's holding, and it just transports him somewhere else.
Just yeets out of there.
Yeah, so Terra talks to Yen Sid, who thinks that Master Xehanort and the boy in the mask are connected, but tells himself not to make assumptions, and simply tells Terra that he needs to start with finding Master Xehanort. Terra continues searching, and hears Master Xehanort call from him from a different world, and goes to him. Master Xehanort tells Terra that the boy in the mask's name is Vanitas, and he comes from the darkness in Ven's heart. He says that there was an accident while training with him, and the only way to save him was to rip all the darkness out of his heart, and that in turn created Vanitas. Afterward, Master Xehanort left Ventus with Master Ericus, as he felt he couldn't stay with him since he did so much harm to him. We then see a flashback of Terra and Aqua meeting Ventus for the first time, and Master Xehanort, when Master Xehanort brought him to Master Ericus, and they learn that Ventus can't remember anything at all. Back in the present, Master Xehanort tells Terra that Vanitas uses a Keyblade of Darkness, and the Unversed come from him as well. He asks Terra to defeat Vanitas, and he will most likely next strike in the world of light, Radiant Garden. Oh, I forgot to mention, Radiant Garden was the name of Hollow Bastion, but after it fell to darkness, they renamed it Hollow Bastion, but then they changed it back to Radiant Garden after they, saved it and everything. So Radiant Garden, this is Hollow Bastion they're going to.
Where are they right now? Are they in where the Keyblade War happened?
Maybe. Terra goes to Radiant Garden after chasing out a giant Unversed, runs into Ven and Aqua, and after they defeat the Unversed, Aqua tells Ven to come home, and after mentioning he's seen the boy in the mask, Terra agrees. Aqua questions Terra's actions, as she's been to the same worlds as him and seen the stuff he's done to help the Disney villains, and Terra realizes that Master Ericus asked her to spy on him. He gets mad and tells him he's on his own now, and decides that Master Xehanort is the only one he can trust. Great idea.
So also the cutback. What's an Unversed?
It is a thing that it comes from. At this point, we know it's a being of pure darkness that comes from Vanitas.
Okay,
that's what we.
It's not Heartless haven't been invented yet.
No, they're not. Yeah, they don't exist.
They're Heartless before Heartless.
Yeah,
okay.
they were what was created because this takes 10 years before Kingdom Hearts 1. They needed an enemy, so they made Unversed. That's what it is.
Better than the Dream Eaters.
Fuck the Dream Eaters.
Dream Eaters.
We'll get there. So, Terra runs into a man named Breg, who we know as Zigbar from before he was a nobody. He tells Terra that he has Master Xehanort prisoner under the castle gardens. He goes there and finds Master Xehanort tied up, and Breg tells Terra that he wants the Keyblade. Terra fights Breg, and using the power of darkness, defeats him in battle.
That's a really fun fight.
It is, and he injures his face. And Breg then runs away, and Terra...
Is that where that guy got that scar?
Yep. Covering his eye, got the scar right there, yep. And Terra's worried about how much he's succumbed to darkness. But Master Xehanort tells him that that's a good thing, as Ericus has lost sight of the fact that light and darkness is a balance, and Ericus has succumbed too much to light. He tells Terra that he deserves the Mark of Mastery, not Aqua, and tells Terra to join him and become his pupil. And Terra accepts, and Master Xehanort grants Terra the rank of Master. Yep. So, as Terra's about to leave to continue his search for Vanitas, he runs into Ventus, who wants to go with Terra, but Terra tells him that he can't, because he knows that when he really needs Ven, he'll be there. So meanwhile, Breg goes to Master Xehanort, who says that Xehanort said he would not get hurt, and he didn't sign on to be collateral damage. Master Xehanort then threatens him, and Breg backs off. Terra continues to go to more and more worlds, searching for Vanitas, and continues to succumb more and more to darkness, accidentally helping Disney villains along the way. And after going to Enchanted Dominion, Dwarf Woodlands, Castle Dreams, Disney Town, Olympus Coliseum, Deep Space, and Neverland, he is guided by a light and ends up at Destiny Islands. He then runs into two young boys playing, we know as Sora and Riku, and Riku sees him and realizes that he's not from the main island, and nobody lives on this island, and he asks if he's from the outside world. Terra tells him that he is, and he says that it must be hard to be stuck in one place. Riku says that he heard there was a boy that left from the islands for good. We then see a young Xehanort on the island. Ooh. And Terra asks Riku why he's interested in seeing the outside world. And he says that he wants to be strong. And he bets the boy that left the island is really strong now. And the strength he needs is out there somewhere. Terra asks him why he needs that strength. And he says to protect the things that matter, like his friends. Terra then does this ceremony on Riku, which gives Riku the power to wield the Keyblade. Before he leaves, he makes Riku a promise to keep this a secret, otherwise all the magic will wear off. Sora tries to get Riku to tell him, but he refuses. And then Terra is called by Master Xehanort again, and he tells Terra that Ven has learned something about his past and may try to force the truth out of Master Ericus. So Terra goes to the land of departure, and as he arrives, he sees Master Ericus about to kill Ven, but Terra jumps in the way and stops him. He tells Terra to get out of the way, but Terra refuses, and Ericus, while crying, tells Terra that if he won't listen to him, then he'll have to share Ven's fate. Terra tells him that he may be his master, but he won't let him hurt his friend, moves Ven out of the way, and he's transported somewhere else. Terra, using the power of darkness, fights Ericus and wins, and afterward, Terra feels regret for fighting him, and Ericus says that it's his own fault for the darkness in Terra, and he did worse by raising his Keyblade against him and Ven. But, I didn't mention this. Fun fact, that's voiced by Mark Hamill.
Oh.
Yeah. But it's a good thing you know that now, because right after that, Ericus falls over and dies.
Bye-bye, my karma.
We then see Master Xehanort, who is behind him and stabbed him in the back. Master Xehanort tells Terra to go to the Keyblade graveyard, where he will watch Ven and Aqua die, along with any light within him. He tells Terra he won't need a home anymore where he's going, and destroys the land of departure. Terra then goes to the Keyblade graveyard and says to himself that what he does for friendship. He then meets up with Aqua, who tells Terra that she heard that Ericus was killed, and Terra tells her that he helped Master Xehanort do it, but he was only trying to protect Ven, and Master Xehanort set the whole thing up just to awaken the darkness within him. Ven then approaches and tell them that Master Xehanort is trying to make him and Vanitas fight, as it will make a Keyblade, which we'll get into this later, but
it's the double Keyblade.
This is
X.
the Keyblade, but it's with the Greek letter key that looks like an X. So in order to avoid confusion for this, we're just going to call it the X-Blade, just because it's separate from the Keyblade, and that's important.
The Beyblade.
So rather than just going like the Keyblade, we're just this is the X-Blade, okay? But we'll get into that later.
X-Blade.
Yes. So him and Vanitas fight. He wants to make... Xehanort wants Ven and Vanitas to fight because it'll make the X-Blade, but Ericus says they can't let that happen, so he tried to kill Ven. He says he might have to fight Vanitas after all, and although he doesn't really understand much about it, the idea of the X-Blade scares Ven so much that he asks Terra and Aqua as a friend to kill him. Before they're able to respond, Master Xehanort and Vanitas approach them and tells them that long ago, these Keyblades were fought here during a huge war between light and darkness, known as the Keyblade War, all in a search for one ultimate key, the X-Blade. Ven, Terra, and Aqua fight Master Xehanort and Vanitas, and Master Xehanort gets Ven and Aqua out of the way, and then Terra fights Master Xehanort and Vanitas for a bit, and Master Xehanort tells Vanitas to go kill Aqua, and he runs away. Terra tries to go after him, but Master Xehanort stops him. Master Xehanort tells him that he's powerless to save them, and to savor that rage and despair, and let it empower him. Terra... Yeah, there you go. forgot to skip
that fight so much.
So Terra says, "Was my
There's like 2 phases too. It sucks.
The second phase is the one that sucks."
Yeah.
So then Terra says, "Was my master? No, my father, Eric, is not enough for you. Leave my friends alone." And continues to channel the darkness, which Master Xehanort encourages. And they fight. And although Terra wins the fight, a huge light then shines behind them. And Xehanort tells Terra that the the X-Blade has been forged. He then says that it will be Terra's darkness that will be the arc that sustains him, and he stabs himself, releases his heart, and throws it into Terra. Master Xehanort then fades away, and right as his heart is about to enter Terra, he activates his armor, but it falls off. We then see Terra, now possessed by Xehanort with white hair. Mm-hmm. There you go. So, but Terra's armor then gets up, wielding Terra's Keyblade, and Master Xehanort says, Xehanort now possessing Terra says, "Your body submits, your heart succumbs, so why is your mind to resist?" And Terra's armor fights Xehanort, and although he wins, he can't do anything, so he simply kneels down, and a huge light shines down, engulfing both Terra's armor and the unconscious Xehanort. We then hear Terra say, "Aqua, Ven, one day I will set this right." And the credits roll.
Okay, so basically...
The first of 3 credits.
Yep.
Did Xehanort, Master Xehanort, want to take over Terra's body?
Yeah.
Or was it more like...
That was his plan the whole time. That's why he kept trying to get Terra to come to darkness, because he's old as fuck.
Yeah,
you know?
so it was
like,
kind of like oh shit, I'm getting old, so like I need a new body kind of shit.
It's like Sidious, kind of looking for a new apprentice.
Yeah, only a new body.
Yeah.
Any other questions, though?
So, wait, actually, so now we know where all the 13, the cult.
Organization 13.
Organization 13, 30.
That was in, that was essentially, like, probably, like, around Kingdom Hearts 1. Yeah, so... we haven't their whole thing was that Xehanort turned into a Heartless and then nobody wanted to become back into a person, which that's what we think right now was his real plan, and then create Organization 13 and everything. But yeah, that is Terra possessed by Xehanort, and that's the Xehanort we know now.
Wait, yeah,
that's the Xehanort who then got split.
Because the way I see it is Xehanort's thing, kind of like how Sora or Roxas kind of went into Sora the same way Xehanort's kind of going into
not necessarily
Terra.
Because Roxas was a part of Sora originally, whereas Xehanort just took his heart and threw it in Terra, and so Xehanort just
it's a hostile takeover.
Yeah, essentially. So
okay, it's a possession.
Yeah, Roxas went back to Sora because he belonged with Sora. That was like that was like if you took out a part of your heart and then you put it back.
Yeah, but how come Ven looks like Roxas?
We don't know yet. We'll get there.
So Ven part of Sora or Sora part
we'll
of
get there.
Is Ven.
No, but so basically he's super old. He's him now. Then he in the future, 10 years later, got split. Now, so there's basically like 4 different versions of
Is it like you know how Star Wars has like they always have like one person who's maybe not Star Wars.
There's gonna be another Xehanort chart when we finish Birth by Sleep.
Okay.
The Xehanort chart continues.
Like, basically, Sora is a reincarnation of Ven, like his spirit.
We don't know yet. We'll get there. But yeah, okay. So, next up, credits roll. We got Ventus next. So, after Terra fails the Mark of Mastery exam, Ven sits alone in his room. Then Vanitas sneaks in and tells him that Terra is about to leave and he'll never see Terra again. Ven calls Vanitas on his bullshit, and Vanitas just tells him to grow up and leaves. We then get a flashback montage of Terra and Ventus being homies, and Ven runs out to make sure Terra's okay.
Oh, Terra's like Axel.
Yeah.
Terra.
So,
it's like this game was made by the same person.
So Ven runs up to him. Terra tells him it's okay and flies away. Ventus then activates his Keyblade armor and chases after him. As he flies away, Aqua and Ericus run out to see him fly away. Ven then goes to multiple Disney worlds looking for Terra, and while at Enchanted Dominion runs into Maleficent, who tells Ven that Terra helped her. After beating up Maleficent, Aqua runs in and tells Ven that she's here on Master Ericus' orders, and tells Ven he should go home. Ven tells her he can't do that because he has to find Terra. Ven then runs into Vanitas again, who tells Ven that the Terra he knew will be gone forever. Ven and Vanitas fight, and Vanitas is about to kill Ven, but Mickey jumps in the way and saves him. Ven and Mickey then team up and fight Vanitas, who's then defeated and runs away. And Ven and Mickey introduce themselves, and Mickey tells him that he's been training under Yensid, and he took off to look into what's been happening with the worlds without telling Yensid, and Ven says that he ran off too.
So Mickey's like not Yoda yet, right? He's just like...
No, he's training under Yensid.
Okay.
He's still fucking badass though.
He's only half Yoda.
So, he shows Ven his Star Shard, which is supposed to take Mickey wherever he wants to go, but it's just been kicking in whenever it wants to, and then it kicks in whenever it wants to and activates. And it sends Ven to Radiant Garden. Ven then runs into Dylan and Alias, two castle guards, who we know as...
Two royal guards block your path.
Yeah, but we know them. They're in Organization 13.
Yeah,
they later become Zeldin and Lexius.
So that's what they look like before.
Yep. Like I said, normally they're just the same people.
Big guy and cool guy.
Yeah. So...
Cool guy.
They tell Ven to run on home, but then a giant unversed appears, and Dylan and Alias are about to fight it, but Ven runs ahead of them. They call out to him as they say, "Oh, you're just a child, come back," and they're about to chase after him.
Did they never notice that, like, Ven looks like Roxas?
Probably not, because they encountered him once 10 years ago.
Oh, okay.
So they just like don't. I wouldn't remember it. I would not remember somebody I met 10 years ago for 10 seconds.
Okay.
But then they're stopped by Evan, a scientist who we know as Vexen, who tells them that there will be no one to guard the castle if they chase after him, and the castle comes first. So fuck that
He's
kid.
got such a good chin.
And then before returning to the castle, Evan notices that Ven's heart was completely stripped of darkness. Ven chases down the giant Heartless, runs into Terra and Aqua. They team up and fight it. After defeating the Unversed, Aqua tells Ven to come home. After mentioning he saw Vanitas, Terra agrees. Aqua questions Terra's actions. He's in the same world as him. She's seen him help the Disney villains. Terra realizes Master's Ericus asked her to spy on him. He gets mad, tells them he's on his own now, and walks away. Ven says that Aqua is terrible for spying on him, and asks Aqua... Aqua says that Ericus is just doing it because he loves Terra. Ven then asks if she was ordered to bring him home too, and she doesn't say anything. Ven says that becoming Keyblade Master has gone to her head, and he runs after Terra. He runs into a young boy, Ienzo, who we know as Zexion later in the organization. Ven saves him from the Unversed, and after fighting them, Evan finds him and thanks Ven, and telling him they've done their best to raise...
He's tiny. What the heck?
Yeah, no, Ienzo's like 17 in Chain of Memories. Or when he's Zexion, he's like 17. He's still pretty young, so he's, like 7 here.
7-year-old
And
scientist.
Vexen's not fucking weird.
Yeah, well, he's still kind of creepy. But I just didn't add it as much in the recap. But, so, he saves him from the Unversed, and Evan finds him and thanks Ven and tells him they've done their best to raise him since his parents aren't there to do it. Ven then finds Terra and asks Terra to take him with him, but Terra says that he knows that when he really needs him, he'll be there, and he flies away. Ven then finds Aqua again, and he tells her that he left again. Aqua says that she needs to find him, and when Ven asks to go with her, she tells him to go home, and as she doesn't want to put him in harm's way, and she leaves. We then see a flashback of Terra and Ven sparring, and when Terra realizes Ven is a bit discouraged from losing, he tells Ven that each dent and nick in the sword is proof that he's learning. They then discuss that the three of them all have the same dream of becoming a Keyblade Master, and gives Ven his sparring Keyblade. In the present day, Ven swings it around and fumbles it, and a boy named Lee, who is friends with Isa, picks it up and says it is cute he still plays with toy swords. He shows off his weapons and challenges Ven to a fight, and after Ven beats his ass, Lee says he's willing to call it a draw. Isa tells Lee that he just got his ass whooped, and Lee says you're supposed to say something like, you were just having an off day, or that's what you get for throwing your punches, and tells Ven that he hopes he doesn't have friends like him. Isa tells Lee they have to go, and Lee tells Ven he'll see him when he sees him, because they're friends now. Isa asks Lee why he's always picking up stray puppies, and Lee says that he wants everyone he meets to remember him, because in people's memories he can live forever. Isa then says that he can't forget him, and he tries all the time. They then look up to the castle. Lee asks Isa if he's ready, and Isa says, I can tell you are. Lee says yeah, and they leave.
Also,
So-
super bullshit.
Then do you think Lee/Axel remembers...
Probably not. Once again, it was 10 years ago.
But hey, you want everyone to
Maybe,
remember him?
yeah, you never know. But they don't mention it
Maybe
if they
we'll
do.
find out in 3 days.
Yeah. So, Ven then says to himself that it must be nice knowing who your friends are. And Ven continues going through Disney World looking for Terra, and eventually, in Neverland, finds Mickey's Star Shard, which activates. Ven then gets transported to the mysterious tower in front of Dalton and Goofy, and mentions he knows Mickey, and they take him up to Yensid. Ven tells him that he's met Mickey before, who is using the Star Shard, but he wasn't in the world he found the Star Shard itself in, so he doesn't know where he is. Yensid uses his magic to discern where Mickey is, and they see him for a moment, but Yensid says there is dark forces interfering with his magic. Ven tells him that he recognizes the world he's in, and will find him and bring him back safe. So he goes to Mickey, finds him unconscious, and Master Xehanort approaches him. After seeing Master Xehanort, Ven starts to have intense flashbacks to fuck with his head. Oh, excuse me. And Master Xehanort tells him that he needs to clash with that part of it. he tells him he needs to clash with the part of him that left and have pure light and pure darkness go against each other and create the all-powerful X-Blade.
Wait, I thought he was dead.
No, this is taking place like
yeah.
at the same time as Terra's journey.
So
Okay.
so the previous one, this one, and the next one are all taking place at the exact same time.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, I see.
Mhm.
This is from different perspectives.
Yes.
Yeah. So, he tells Ven that Ven has the power to make it, and Ericus knows it too, which is why he never let Ven leave the land of departure and grow stronger, and why Ericus has never trusted Ven. He was simply frightened of him. Yeah, so he throws Ven to the land of departure and tells him to ask Ericus himself. He goes to Ericus, who tells him he's happy he's home as he's not ready to see the outside world yet and he needs to learn. But Ven interrupts him and says that's his excuse for keeping him in prison and tells Ericus he knows he's supposed to make some kind of weapon called the X-Blade. And we see a flashback of Master... This is important, once again, guys.
Mm-hmm.
We see a flashback of Master Xehanort and Ericus talking. Ericus tells Master Xehanort... Ericus asks Master Xehanort why he seeks the Keyblade and asks him if he would blanket all the worlds in darkness, reduce them to nothing. Master Xehanort says that the world did blanket darkness in once in legend. They know so little about the Keyblade War, and during the war, a precious light, Kingdom Hearts, was found. So, what would be found if there was another Keyblade War? When the darkness falls, will they be found worthy of its precious light the legend speaks of? The X-Blade needs to be forged, and with it, another Keyblade War, and you will have the answer to these questions. Ericus asks him if he's seriously about to risk a fucking apocalypse out of curiosity, and says he ain't gonna allow it while he lives. Ericus attacks Master Xehanort, but Ericus attacks back, scarring his face. Back in the present.
Oh wait, so you've known. So basically, this is showing like they're buddy, but they don't like each other one bit.
Yeah.
They're more like
They used to be good friends, but now Xehanort is like fallen so far into darkness and is about to literally cause all the worlds to be destroyed because he wants to know what will happen if there's another Keyblade War. So Ericus is like, yeah, I ain't gonna let that happen. And Terra then is pure light, and when pure light and pure darkness clash, the X-Blade is created, and Xehanort needs the X-Blade in order to ignite the Keyblade War and then summon Kingdom Hearts and all that. But Ericus knows that, which is why he's never let Ven leave the land of departure. So, back in the present, Ericus says that he had the chance to stop him and he couldn't do it, but he won't fail again and pulls out his Keyblade. He says the X-Blade has no place in this or any world, and then with Master Xehanort making his purpose clear, he has no choice but to kill Ven. Terra then jumps in the way, and Ericus tells Terra to get out of the way, but Terra refuses, and Ericus, while crying, tells Terra that if he won't listen to him, he'll have to share Ven's fate. Terra tells him that he may be his master, but he won't let him hurt his friend, moves Ven out of the way, and he's transported somewhere else. Ven then wakes up on Destiny Islands, where he sees Vanitas. He walks away from him, telling Vanitas that he knows that the only way for the X-Blade to be forged is for them to fight, so he's not going to fight. And Ven then has a flashback from his memories that he forgot before, where Master Xehanort is forcing Ven to fight a bunch of Neo Shadows, and Ven is begging him to stop. Master Xehanort tries to get Ven to channel the darkness inside him, but Ven doesn't, and loses the fight. Master Xehanort says that if he must, he'll extract the darkness within Ven himself, and using his Keyblade, rips out all the darkness in Ven's heart, creating Vanitas, and damaging Ven's heart. So that's how Vanitas was created. It wasn't an accident, Xehanort's just an asshole. Back in the present, Vanitas tells Ven to meet him at the Keyblade graveyard, otherwise he's going to kill Terra and Aqua.
Alright, what was that? What was that darkness filled by? That they said when in the beginning of the game, like his heart was broken.
Yeah, that's why his heart was broken.
And then did they repair it though?
He encountered a newborn's heart, and that helped him repair it. Like a newborn baby. Yeah.
So,
okay.
Vian, or the Dark Knight dude.
Vanitas, yeah.
Vanitas is part of Ven.
He is the dark side of Ven, because everyone has both darkness and light in their heart.
Yeah.
And he took all the darkness out, and it turned into a person. So that's literally all the dark. That is like the dark side of Ven's heart. But also, Ven has no darkness inside him now.
Yeah.
So essentially, that is like the
now
dark.
That's why he's devoid of darkness.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, tells him he's gonna kill Terra and Aqua. Ven goes to the Keyblade graveyard and meets up with Terra and Aqua, and tells them that Master Xehanort is trying to make him and Vanitas fight, as will make the X-Blade, but Ericus says they can't let that happen, so he tried to kill Ven. He says that he might have to fight Vanitas after all, and although he doesn't really understand much about it, the idea of the X-Blade scares Ven so much that he asks Terra and Aqua to kill him. Before they're able to respond...
Why doesn't he just run away? Like, why does he have to go and fight?
Because he said that Vanitas is going to kill Terra and Ven. Or, Terra and Aqua. So he's trying to help Terra and Aqua.
Okay.
Before they're able to respond, Master Xehanort and Vanitas approach them, tells them that long ago these Keyblades were fought here during a huge war between light and darkness, known as the Keyblade War, all in the search for one ultimate key, the X-Blade. Ven, Terra, and Aqua fight Master Xehanort and Vanitas, and after freezing Ven and throwing him off a cliff, Aqua jumps in and catches Ven and saves him, but his armor is still frozen. Breg, who now has yellow eyes and pointy ears, I wonder why, approaches them. He tells them that they're only there so that after he kills them, Terra succumbs to the darkness. Aqua fights him, and afterward says that he bought Master Xehanort enough time and runs away. Vanitas then jumps down and attacks Aqua, who falls unconscious. As he's about to kill her, Ven breaks through the ice and fights Vanitas. Ven beats him, and after taking his helmet off, showing that he looks exactly like Sora, tells Ven that now that his body is about to die, they will have to join together, and the X-Blade will be forged. Vanitas tells Ven that the Unverse are a horde of Vanitas' emotions under his control, and he's released them into as many worlds as he could, trying to lure Ven away from his home to make him stronger, and the Unverse were the perfect opponents. Vanitas walks into him, and a huge light shines, pushing Aqua out of the way, and Ven then finds himself in his own heart. He faces Vanitas, who is wielding an incomplete X-Blade, and tells him to join him to complete it. Ven says that ain't gonna happen, and he's gonna destroy them both. Vanitas tells him that the X-Blade is a part of his heart now too, so if the X-Blade is destroyed, Ven's heart will vanish forever. Ven says it's fine, as long as he saves Terra and Aqua, because my friends are my power. Ven defeats Vanitas and destroys the X-Blade, and Vanitas fades away, and with a smile, so does Ven. Mickey then finds Ven and Aqua in their armor in space, and uses the Star Shard to transport them somewhere else, and Ven's heart then finds himself somewhere else, and he says, "This place, I've been here, I remember now, this is your heart," and the credits roll. Okay.
Whose heart?
I don't know, we'll find out.
We'll find out.
Okay, any
I
more?
bet you have a hunch.
Yeah. Okay, any more questions though before we continue?
Nah, it's pretty clear.
Okay.
Is it? Is it clear?
No,
or
it's
is
not.
it?
Okay, so next up we got Aqua. This is the last one in Birth by Sleep. So
Okay, Aqua's perspective.
this is definitely like the end, because you get to choose which character you play as, and it's widely considered like you can kind of do Ven or Terra as like either one you want first, but Aqua's like you definitely play last. But so after Ericus tells Terra and Aqua about their mission, he tells Aqua to stay behind for a moment and tells Aqua that the darkness in Terra runs very deep. If it proves too much for him to handle, to bring him back, as he couldn't bear to lose any of them to darkness. Aqua agrees, but tells Ericus that when he gets back, he'll prove to you that he has what it takes to be master, and he's not as weak as he thinks. She walks outside and sees Terra leave and Ven chase after him. Ericus tells her that she has to bring him back, and she takes off to find them. She goes to Disney World, taking out Unverse and looking for Ven, and while in the Castle of Dreams, Aqua runs into Terra. She tells Terra that Ven ran away from home, presumably to look for Terra, and Terra tells her about Xehanort's search for pure hearts. After going to a few different worlds, she sees Terra in space and falls into Radiant Garden. While looking for Terra, she runs into a young Kairi, who is being attacked by Unversed. She struggles to fight as she's both trying to protect Kairi attack the Unversed, but then Mickey jumps in and tells her then Mickey jumps in and tells her to get the girl someplace safe. She asks Mickey who he is and why he has a Keyblade, but Mickey tells her they'll talk about that later, for now they need to take out the Unversed. Aqua runs Kairi away from the Unversed and helps Mickey fight them off. After they defeat them, Aqua and Mickey introduce themselves, and Aqua says that she senses light within the girl, and that's probably why the Unversed attacked her. Mickey says that she wants to be somebody pretty extraordinary. Mickey says they should team up, but the Star Shard starts up and teleports them somewhere else. So, Kairi and Aqua then introduce themselves, and as Aqua is about to talk to Kairi about the light within her, Kairi's grandma calls for her. Aqua tells Kairi to hold on a minute, and Aqua casts a spell on Kairi and tells her that one day, the light within her will lead her to the light of another, someone to keep her safe. Kairi then runs up to her grandma and asks her to tell the story again. Kairi's grandma then tells the story that the worlds were once filled with light and everyone loved it, but eventually people began to fight over it, and darkness spread, swallowing people's hearts, covering everything, and the world disappeared. But small fragments of light survived in the hearts of children, and with the fragments of light, the children rebuilt the lost world. But the true light sleeps within the darkness, which is why the worlds are disconnected as we know them today. But someday, a door of darkness will open, and the true light will return, so even in the deepest darkness, there will always be a light.
And that light
is that door that you're referencing the Kingdom Hearts 1 door?
Yeah. No, the true Kingdom Hearts door.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. So,
I thought it'd be Ven, since he was light and he returned to darkness, his dark self, and then...
Anyway, but the light that they were in the Keyblade War, people fought over the light of Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Ven was a fission turned fusion. Like, Kingdom Hearts is like literally the end all be all. Like, I'm
Of
the
all
best.
Yeah. So, as they walk away, Aqua has a feeling she did not run into Kairi by accident. And Unversed appears, she chases after it, runs into Terra and Ven. They team up to take down the Unversed. After they defeat the Unversed, Aqua tells Ven to come home. After mentioning he's seen the Vanitas, Terra agrees. Aqua questions Terra's actions, as she's been in the same world as him, seen the stuff he's done to help the Disney villains, and Terra realizes that Master Ericus asked her to spy on him. He gets mad, tells him he's on his own now, walks away. Ven says that Aqua's terrible for spying on him. Aqua says that Ericus is just doing it because he loves Terra. Ven then asks if she was ordered to bring him home too. She doesn't say anything. Ven says that being Keyblade Master gone to her head, and he runs after Terra. Right. Third time seeing that scene. So Aqua then runs into Vanitas, who attacks her, but Aqua wins the fight, and he runs away. Ven then finds Aqua again and tells her that Terra left again. Aqua says she doesn't need him. Aqua says she needs to find him. Fuck. And when Ven asks to go with her, she tells him to go home, and she doesn't want to put him in harm's way and leaves. She continues going through Disney worlds looking for Terra, and eventually while in Neverland runs into Vanitas, who attacks her. Aqua defeats him, but she is injured so bad that she passes out. She has a dream of the three of them the night before the exam. When she wakes up, he's gone, and she leaves for another world, and ends up on Destiny Islands. Aqua sees Sora and Riku playing, and goes down to talk to them, and notices that Riku seems so sincere just like Terra, and Sora is the spitting image of Ven. She realizes that one of them may be special enough to wield the Keyblade, and Sora and Riku introduce themselves, and Aqua realizes that someone's already given Riku the power to wield a Keyblade, and assumes it was Terra. She asks Sora if he likes Riku, and Sora says of course, he's my best friend. Aqua tells Sora that if something happens to Riku, and he's about to get lost or starts wandering down a dark path, Sora needs to stay with him and keep him safe. She decides not to... Yeah. She decides not to give Sora the power to wield the Keyblade, and she says, one Keyblade is enough for any friendship. I've learned it the hard way. I wouldn't wish our lives on those children. Oof. She then leaves and finds Mickey in space, and he mutters something about Yensid, so she takes him to the mysterious tower. Yensid tells Aqua that Ericus has been killed, and he thinks Master Xehanort and Terra killed him. Aqua objects and says Terra would never do that, and Yensid says that he hopes that with all his heart that she's right. She asks where he can find Terra, and Yensid tells her to go to the Keyblade Graveyard. Aqua then goes to the Keyblade Graveyard, meets up with Terra, and she tells him she's heard that Ericus was killed, and Terra tells her that he was the one to help Master Xehanort do it, but was only trying to protect Ven, and Master Xehanort set the whole thing up just to awaken the darkness within him. Ven then approaches, tells them Master Xehanort is trying to make him and Vanitas fight, as it will make an X-Blade, and Ericus said they can't let that happen, so he tried to kill Ven. He says that he might have to fight Vanitas after all, although he doesn't really understand much about it. The idea of the X-Blade scares Ven so much that he asks Terra and Aqua as a friend to kill him. Before they're able to respond, as Master Xehanort and Vanitas approach them and then talk about the fucking Keyblade War again. Ven, Terra, and Aqua fight Master Xehanort and Vanitas. Freezes Ven, throws him off a cliff. Aqua jumps in and saves Ven, but his armor's still frozen. Brer, who now has yellow eyes and pointy ears, approaches them, tells them he's here to kill them, so Terra comes to darkness. Aqua fights him, and afterward, says the fight is Master Xehanort enough time, runs away, and Vanitas then jumps down and attacks Aqua, who falls unconscious. Aqua then wakes up to see Mickey, and sees Ven, who's looking down holding the X-Blade. She runs up to him, but he then looks up and shows he has yellow eyes and attacks Aqua. That is also probably my favorite screenshot I got. Mickey then knocks the attacker out of the way, and Ven, who has a mix of Ven and Vanitas' voice, says that he's not Ventus, and that Ven's heart has become part of his. He says the X-Blade will open a door, one that leads to all worlds, then from each world, Keyblade wielders will flock here to battle for the light within Kingdom Hearts, and just like the legend says, the Keyblade War will begin. Aqua tells Vanitas that she's tired of his shit and fights him alongside Mickey. They start to lose, but Aqua pulls out her Wayfinder and tells Terra and Ven to lend her strength. Her Keyblade then starts to glow when she attacks Vanitas, and Aqua overpowers him and breaks the Keyblade, or the X-Blade.
She shot-locks him.
Yeah. Ven then goes back to normal, but as the explosion from the X-Blade becomes overwhelming, she runs to him and grabs his hand. She then wakes up at the mysterious tower where Yensid tells her she lost consciousness, and Mickey found her and Ven drifting in the lane between and brought them back to him. He apologizes and says there was no sign of Terra. She tries to wake Ven up, but Yensid tells her that his heart is sleeping, and there's no way to tell when he'll wake up, as it's almost as though his heart is left completely. If it returns, he could wake up, but if not, he could sleep like this for all eternity. She says that she'll keep him safe until he wakes up, forever if she has to, and Yensid tells her that he doesn't need her protection, but he needs her to believe. Ven's heart sleeps in between light and darkness, and from what he can tell, that means he'll be looking for a friend, one who believes in him to show him the way home. As long as she loves Ven, he'll be able to find her when he wakes up, and he'll be able to follow that love back to the realm of light. Mickey tells Aqua that he believes in Ven too, so Ven will have 2 lights to follow instead of just 1. Aqua says they'll have 3 because Terra does too. Mickey tells Aqua that Terra's gone, maybe for good, but Aqua says she thinks she knows where to find him, and pulls out her Wayfinder. She then steps outside a mysterious tower with Ven on her back, trying to decide where to bring Ven, as he needs a safe place to sleep. Ven's Keyblade then appears in his hand and opens a gateway, and Aqua says, alright, if that's where you want to go. She then goes through and ends up in the ruins of Land of Departure, and Aqua is devastated, but then finds Ericus' Keyblade and remembers something he told her before. As she picks it up and enters the building, we hear a flashback of right after Aqua becoming a Keyblade Master, and Ericus tells her that if anything happens to him, and she finds a Legion of Darkness at their doorstep, to take his Keyblade and use it to lock this land away. Generations of Keyblade Masters have been charged with keeping this land safe. Light and darkness exist in balance here, and there are people who would abuse the neutral ground, so their predecessors devised a certain trick, and to use the key and the land will be transformed, and all who visit this land will be lost to oblivion, never able to solve the mystery, none except her. She sets Ven down in the chair and uses Erica's Keyblade on a keyhole, and the room transforms into a white room.
It's the organization room.
And so she tells Ven that she knows it's a lonely place, but he'll be safe, and her and Tara will be back to wake him up before she. Her and Tara.
Before you go.
Her and Tara will be back to wake him up before he knows it. She then leaves the building and turns around to see the land of Partra is transformed into what we now know as Castle Oblivion, which is Place in Chain of Memories. So,
Morrowind.
Yep. She then hears Tara's voice asking her to kill him, and she goes to Radiant Garden and finds Tara, now with white hair, yellow eyes, and pointy ears. She runs up to him, and he picks her up by the neck, asking her who she is. She tells Tara to fight the darkness, and he drops her and starts to struggle. Oof. But then tells Aqua that Tara's heart has been destroyed by darkness and attacks her, wielding Xehanort's Keyblade. She then pulls out her Keyblade and tells him to return her friend's heart or pay the price. Aqua fights him. When he almost loses, Tara starts fighting back again, fighting back inside of him. In an attempt to get Tara out of his heart, he stabs himself and he falls backwards into darkness. Aqua, without hesitation, jumps in after him. She uses her Keyblade glider to catch up with him and grabs his hand and starts heading for the portal back to the Realm of Light, but it's closing quick. She realizes she has to do something or they'll both be lost in darkness, so she takes off her Keyblade armor and has it hold on to him and gives him her Keyblade, tells him I'm with you, and pushes him back to the Realm of Light. But pushing him up also pushes her further into the Realm of Darkness. She smiles, and as she falls says, Ven, I'm sorry, I might not make it back as soon as I thought, but I promise I'll be there one day to wake you up. On Destiny Islands.
Damn.
I know. On Destiny Islands.
Like, Terranort could have been, like, hecka dead, but she helped him.
Yep. And on Destiny Islands, Sora and Riku lying on the beach looking up at the stars. They start to head back, but then Riku asks Sora why he's crying. Sora says it's like something squeezing him inside. Riku says that they say every world is connected by one great big sky, so maybe there's somebody up there in all those worlds who's really hurting, and they're waiting for him to help. They're waiting for him to help them. Sora asks what he should do, and Riku says maybe they just need him to open his heart and listen. Sora says that Riku says some weird shit sometimes, but he'll try it. He closes his eyes and looks up to the sky. We then see Ven inside Castle Oblivion, and we hear Sora's voice ask if he can hear him. Back on Radiant Garden, Braig helps Dylan and Ansem the Wise to Tara's body. Ansem the Wise asks what's wrong, asks him the name, and he says Xehanort, which causes Braig to chuckle. Ansem the Wise Ansem the Wise tells Braig to bring him back to the castle, and Braig asks Dylan to bring Aqua's armor and Keyblade. In the Realm of Darkness, we then see Aqua, and she says to herself that it seems like she's been walking for ages and wonders how long she's been down here. A bunch of dark sides then appear, and she pulls out Ericus' Keyblade and is about to fight, but then she loses the will to and decides that maybe she should just fade into the darkness here and puts the Keyblade away. Tara and Ven's Keyblade then appears, flies through and destroys the dark sides and disappear. She smiles and realizes it's been so long she almost forgot how to smile. She then pulls out her Wayfinder and says there's always a way. And the credits roll! And after the credits, we see inside Sora's heart, where Ven's heart then appears. Sora asks if Ven can hear him, and Ven says that he was all alone in the darkness and followed his voice into a sea of light and found himself there. Ven tells him that he gave him something back when he needed it most, a second chance, referring to the beginning of the game when Ven's heart was completely broken, when he had the darkness ripped out of him, and his heart connected with a newborn, which was Sora. So, implying that Sora's heart was the heart that helped him repair it. Ven says he has to go to sleep again, and asks if he can stay here with Sora inside his heart while his heart is repaired. Sora says sure if it'll make him feel better. And we then see Sora and Riku on the island again, and Sora says he thinks it worked. Camera then pans up to the stars, and text appears that reads, "In time, the worlds will be saved by these two heroes who stood beneath the same blaze of stars." We then see Xehanort, a bit older, and Braig walks up to him, and they talk about how Xehanort has amnesia and doesn't remember anything. Ansem the Wise walks by with Ienzo eating ice cream, and then we see Ansem the Wise in the Realm of Darkness, wearing an organization coat. Aqua walks up to him, she introduces herself, and Ansem the Wise tells her he doesn't remember anything about who he is or how he got there. She tells him that she's been here a long time, and he asks if she wants to return to her own world. She nods and says she promised she'd be there for her friends. He tells her that somewhere in the scraps of memory he has left, she reminds him of a boy he once knew. He was very much like her, true to his friends and kind. The boy traveled to many worlds and fights to keep the light safe. She says that she's been away for too long and asks if the worlds are in danger, and he tells her that the worlds nearly fell to darkness more than once, but the boy arrived with Keyblade in hand to save the day. She then gets excited when she hears Keyblade and asks if his name is Tara Ven. When he tells her it's not, she says she should have known. He wonders how long it's been since she met him and figures it's been about a year, maybe more, and tells her that back then his heart was clouded with vengeance. He did terrible things both to him and his friends, and possibly as a way of cleaning his conscience. While he was asleep, he hid the results of his research inside of his heart. He says, "I'd like to believe maybe he can set things right. A boy like him who touches so many hearts, he could open the right door and save all these people whose lives I've managed to ruin. So many are still waiting for their new beginning, their birth by sleep. Even me, and even you."
He said it. He said the word.
Yep.
Unfortunately, we already did the credit, so...
She asks what this boy's name is, and he says his name is. We then go through, and we see Naminé, see Roxas, Axel, and Shion, and Terra and Ven, who all look up to the sky and say, Sora. We then see Aqua again, who begins to cry, looks out to the ocean, and says, Sora. We then see Sora on Destiny Island, holding the message from the king. Riku walks up to him and asks if his mind's made up, and Sora tells him yeah. Kairi then walks up, and Sora jumps down and tells her that they really need him, and he has to go because he is who he is because of them. She then hands him her good luck charm, and she says, "See you soon." That's the end of Birth by Sleep.
Jeez.
Yeah.
There's a lot to digest.
Okay, so are there any lingering questions? I imagine there might be a few.
Yeah. Well, not really questions, but more like speculations of trying to understand like the plot. Like so Sora, is he like? He's like
What do you mean?
Trying to figure speculate.
So to explain the whole thing with Ven, like why he looked like Roxas and everything. So Ven had all the darkness ripped out of his heart, right?
Yeah.
And that fucked up his heart. And then Xehanort put him on Destiny Island, so it was just gonna like leave him there, like fuck this kid, I can't use him, whatever. But then his heart connects with a newborn's heart, and that heart was Sora's because he lives on the island. So they came into contact, and that's why.
That's why they're connected.
Yeah, and then
that's why he's nobody.
Yeah, and then that newborn heart helped Sora repair his heart, which is also why Vanitas looks like Sora because they're connected, And then at the end, his heart gets fucked up again. He essentially like borderline destroys his heart, but then he finds Sora again because he met with Sora before. Their hearts are still connected. He finds him. So Ven's heart is sleeping inside of Sora. So Ven isn't Roxas, but Roxas looks like Ven because Ven is still sleeping inside of him. So essentially Sora has these two hearts inside of him. So when the Nobody came out, was super fucked up, which is why it looked like Ven. It didn't have any memories of who he was before.
But it had Sora's kind of...
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the whole thing with Ven and Roxas and everything.
So that's the
Thanks, Nomura.
third or fourth person to be inside Sora?
Yeah. So let's go down the Xehanort chart. So this is Master Xehanort. He possessed Terra and then got white hair because that's, the white hair and the eyes and the ears and shit, that's the Xehanort stuff.
Then he got dementia and now...
Yeah. And then 10 years later, he looked like this. Like I said, he got dementia. And he stole his name, turned into a nobody and a heartless, and then they're, defeated them. So that's where we're at with Xehanort right now.
Okay.
Any other lingering questions?
And then he dies in the future.
Yeah.
It gets worse.
Yeah. The Xehanort chart there's one more Xehanort chart we'll see.
It gets worse.
No more lingering questions though? We're good? Everyone understands everything for the most part?
Enough.
Yeah.
Do you actually have any questions?
Well, no. So I think you already explained, but the reason why Roxas looks like Vanitas is just because Vanitas was inside Sora.
You mean Ven?
I mean Ven, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Ven.
So so because he had two hearts within him, when the heartless, when he turned into a heartless, nobody came out. It just came out all fucked up.
Okay. And then Terra's armor, does that have Terra in it, or is that like?
Xehanort as
Lingering well.
Yeah. So Xehanort, right? They never specifically say, but when he's about to fight Xehanort, he says, your body submits, your heart succumbs, so why does your mind resist? Okay. So part of him is still inside of Xehanort because he was able to fight back when he was fighting Aqua, but there's also probably still part of him a little bit inside the armor too.
Okay. What's the deal with the armor? You never really explained what the armor...
It's just armor, but then so he was able to, because right as Xehanort's heart was about to enter him, he activated the armor, so part of himself was transferred into the armor.
Okay, but the armor's... What is it?
Armor?
It's just armor.
It's just armor?
Yeah.
Okay, it's not part of them. It's
in
not
the future, it gets a cape.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not like any significance like the Keyblade is, it's connected to your heart. Or
no, it's just armor.
No, yeah.
It's just really cool armor.
Yeah.
Okay.
That happens to be alive.
I don't know how his part of him got transferred in the armor though.
It's just Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
Shit gets
That's like
this
if-
dude can store
That's like
information in
if
his
he was
heart.
holding a Pepsi, he transferred part of him into the Pepsi can and it falls down.
Yeah.
That's not a living Pepsi. No, but I mean, like, this dude can store information in his heart. People are, like, phasing through each other. Sora's got 8 different people in his heart.
Yeah.
Like, nothing makes sense.
I figure because I don't think I go into like a specific detail, but I guess we can talk about Nominee as well. Because so Kairi lost her heart because you become a nobody when you become a heartless and lose your heart, right? Kairi lost her heart in Kingdom Hearts 1, right? But she didn't become a heartless because she's a princess of heart. She has no darkness within her.
Yeah.
So no darkness to become a heartless. So she just became a vegetable.
Yeah.
But she had such a strong heart, she still made it nobody. But because she has no darkness in her, the similar kind of thing happened where she just kind of came out fucked up.
Like with Ven, the same thing. Ven and Kairi had the same.
Yeah,
situation.
similar kind of thing. And
Both
also,
vegetables.
yeah, and so
And
yeah,
both
they
of them.
just kind of became like so Nominee just kind of came out a little bit fucked up. So that's why she is more of her own person versus
And
just
also have
Kairi.
magic powers.
Yeah. So okay, but other than that, I think that's just about everything. So are we ready?
Yep.
Okay, next up, Kingdom Hearts Recoded. This came out on the Nintendo DS in 2011, which there is some cool stuff, especially towards the end in this game, I will say. So this one takes place after Kingdom Hearts 2. So after after they already defeated Xemnas and everything, everyone
We're back on the
Sora and
timeline.
Riku back on Destiny Islands. Disney boys are back on Disney Castle. So Jiminy Cricket, he's looking through his 2 journals because he's relevant again. And so the second journal chronicles their journey in Kingdom Hearts 2. First one did chronicle their journey in Kingdom Hearts 1, but it was erased in Chain of Memories. It only has one sentence in it. It only has one sentence in it that says, "Thank Nominee." He wonders who Nominee is and flips through the pages, and in the back finds a page that says, "The hurting will be mended when you return to end it."
It's an MS Paint.
Yeah.
Or not MS Paint. It says Comic Sans.
Yeah. So he brings it to King
MS
Mickey.
Paint came out.
Same thing. So he brings it to King Mickey, Donald, and Goofy, and they digitize the data of the journal and put it onto a computer. Then immediately after bringing it onto the computer, it gets corrupted by bugs, and they create a data version of Sora and give him the power to use the Keyblade so he can journey through the data world and to get rid of the bugs and figure out what's up with the journal. So Mickey talks to Data Sora, who's on Destiny Islands, and tells him that him and Sora from another world are good friends, and since they can't get to his world, they need Sora to help them out. While looking in the secret place, Sora finds the keyhole and seals it, uncorrupting the data of Destiny Islands. In the real world, there's a huge flash that blinds the Disney gang for a second, and then another entry appears on the journal that says, "There's a road for the taking if you end our world's aching." Sora fights the dark side and gets sucked up to the dark hole just like in Kingdom Hearts 1, and another entry is added in the journal that says, "There are more hurts than the one you have just undone." Sora ends up in Traverse Town, and Mickey asks him to look around and see if he can find anything again, and he eventually finds the keyhole and seals it. In the real world, Heartless then attack, which shouldn't be possible in the castle because of the Cornerstone of Light, and they try to go check on the rest of the castle, but the door won't open, so they decide to continue fixing the journal's data as fast as they can, as that's the only thing they can do right now. Sora travels to Wonderland and steals the keyhole and gets rid of bugs, and while he travels, he constantly runs into a man in an organization coat, telling Sora to fix the worlds. Meanwhile, Jiminy asks Mickey if he knows anything about Nominee, and Mickey says she's somebody that can change memories, and Jiminy thinks that she may have something to do with the journal getting messed up. The door to the Disney gang's room's open, and suddenly is kicked down by the Data Sora, who is chasing down the guy in the organization coat. They're trying to figure out how that's possible for him to be there, because he is Data Sora. They're in the real world. But then the organization coat guy appears and takes off his hood, and appears himself to be the data version of Riku. He tells him that the journal was corrupted by bugs, and when the journal was corrupted by bugs, it transferred, it transferred as much uncorrupted data as it could into him. So in a way, this Data Riku is the personification of the journal. And he imported them into the datascape, which is what that flash was before. So they are inside of the journal's world.
Wait. So, are they in the real world or the data world?
They're in the data world right now. That big flash from before
Yeah.
was them getting transported into the data world.
Everyone
Oh,
going to the
okay.
data world.
So they
Yeah,
didn't
well,
realize they got transported, and that's why there's Heartless there.
Yeah. So.
Shit's fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Were they all passed out when?
No, they're just inside the computer. There's nothing there. It's like Tron.
Okay.
So someone then hacks into their data, which cut the ties between the real world and the datascape, preventing the Disney game from going back to the real world. And Riku attempts to be Hacker Man and stop them, but he can't hack them back. Yeah, I just love this screenshot. It's like such like a generic like I got a hack. It's like come on, like I get it's Kingdom Hearts, but come on. So Sora tells them he'll continue going through the worlds and getting rid of bugs to uncorrupt the data so they can go back home, and continues traveling through Disney World, stealing keyholes and uncorrupting the world's data. While in Agrabah, Sora runs into Pete, who tells Sora that he's the real Pete, not a data version, and calls out Maleficent, who appears and beats Sora up. And then she also destroys his Keyblade. A bunch of Heartless are about to attack Sora, but Riku and Mickey jump in the way. Pete tells him that Maleficent had a feeling that Mickey was up to some shit, so she sent Pete to see what's up, and when he peeked in the door, they were all transferred to the Dayscape, and it sent him too. Maleficent was also transferred. She appeared there, and they decided they could use this world to trap them in the Datascape forever, and they were the ones that cut the link from this world and theirs. Maleficent then attacks Riku and covers him in darkness, saying that since he belongs in darkness, she can control him, and they disappear. They decide to try and fix the data of Hollow Bastion, the last world corrupted by the bugs, and take care of Pete and Maleficent. Sora tries to summon his Keyblade, but since Maleficent destroyed it, he can't use it. Mickey tells them all to stay here while he takes care of it, so he runs out. They start to get worried and ask Sora what Sora thinks they should do, but they realize he's gone.
What happened to Goofy's arm?
What do you mean?
It's just armor.
Oh, it's armor? I thought he had a mechanical arm.
No, it's just he's the captain of the Royal Knights, so he just has cool armor, and it's Square Enix, so I don't think symmetrical.
Oh, okay. It's just costume design, not actual plot-wise.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Sora ran off by himself to Hollow Bastion to try to help Mickey, despite not having a Keyblade. He goes to the castle and runs into Pete, who sends a bunch of Heartless after him and runs away. Then Goofy runs in and takes care of the Heartless, and asks Sora why he came here, and since the king asked them all to stay in the castle. Sora apologizes, and Goofy says they can go now. Sora turns around and is about to leave, but Goofy tells him he means now they can go and chase after Pete. He tells Sora that him and Donald got split up somewhere, so they go and find Donald. And Sora tells Donald and Goofy that he's sorry, and this is all his fault because he lost his Keyblade. Donald and Goofy tell him he doesn't need to apologize, as they like getting involved in Sora's mess, and they wanted to go on an adventure with Sora like the old times. Sora, Donald, and Goofy confront Pete, and he sends a bunch of Heartless after them. Donald and Goofy take them out, but Pete sends a bunch of bugs after Sora, and Donald and Goofy push him out of the way, and they get stuck in between them getting crushed. Pete asks why Donald and Goofy risk their life for this Sora that's not even real, and Donald tells him to shut the fuck up, and Sora's their friend no matter what. Donald and Goofy tell Pete that no matter how hard things get for Sora, he always keeps fighting for them, and so Donald and Goofy will do the same for him because my friends are my power. Pete is about to kill Donald and Goofy, but there's suddenly a flash, the bugs disappear, and the Keyblade appears in Sora's hand. Mickey then shows up and tells Sora that the Keyblade he was using before was just a replica they created, just made out of data, but this one is actually the Keyblade he got from the power from his heart. Pete realizes he's fucked now that Sora has his Keyblade and Mickey's there too, so he runs away. A keyhole then appears and Sora goes through it. Fucking losing my breath. Keyhole then appears and Sora goes through it. He finds Pete and fights him and beats Pete. He then summons Riku, who tells Sora to stay back. Pete tells Sora that he loaded some bugs into Riku, so he's now under his control. Sora runs up to Riku, but he attacks him, and although he struggles to say it, tells Sora to kill him. Sora knocks him out and brings him back to the Disney gang and realizes that he can use the Keyblade to go inside of his data and take out the bugs. He goes inside of Riku's data and finds him, who tells him that he can fight off the bugs for a bit, but soon they'll take over all of his data, and then after that, they'll dominate the entirety of the Datascape. He tells Sora to run while he can, and hands Sora the data that isn't supposed to be in Jiminy's journal. Someone added it after the fact. He tells Sora that he'll dive into the darkness and sacrifice himself to get rid of the bugs, but Sora tells him that he ain't going to do that. He's going to get rid of the bugs inside of Riku. Sora fights the bugs, which have taken the form of Riku, and defeats them. Someone then tries to close the road to the outside world, and Sora goes back to the Disney gang and wakes Riku up. Or Riku wakes up. Riku opens a portal to the real world for the Disney gang and they leave. After they're back home, Riku tells them now that the Datascape is back to being restored, Sora will forget everything that happened. But now that they've gotten rid of all the bugs, the bug responsible for corrupting the data starts attacking, and they consider locking the journal, but they realize Maleficent and Pete are still inside the journal, and even though they're enemies, Mickey doesn't want to kill them. So Sora goes after it. And he finds Maleficent and Pete fighting with Darkseid, and Maleficent and Pete run away. Riku tells Sora that this is what's responsible for the corruption of the data, and it's taking the form of Sora's Heartless, but it's been absorbing the data and growing stronger, which is why it's now a Darkseid. Sora starts to lose the battle, but Mickey appears and helps him out, and they go back to Riku and find Maleficent and Pete as well, who they let leave the Datascape. Now that the world is about to be restored and Sora's about to lose his memories, Sora and Mickey say goodbye. Sora says he feels like there's this glitch of a lump in his throat, and Mickey tells him that's just what goodbye feels like. As Pete and Maleficent leave the Datascape, Maleficent tells Pete that the world of the Datascape reminds her of this book she heard of known as the Book of Prophecies, which is said to be able to predict the future and can also conjure up worlds and beings that don't exist yet. They figure there may be some connection between Jiminy's journal and the Book of Prophecies, so they decide to go and search for it. The Disney gang go back to the real world and the data is restored, and Riku tells them that a new world has appeared in the journal, and if they explore that world, they should get some answers about the message that appeared there. They realize they can't send Sora there without knowing what's going on, so Sora sends Mickey into the Datascape to talk to Sora in Traverse Town. He tells Sora that he has the power of the Keyblade still inside of him, despite that he doesn't remember, and they need him to help them figure out who left that message. Sora's confused as shit, but he feels like he should trust Mickey, so he goes to the last world. Sora ends up in Castle Oblivion, and a guy in an organization code appears and gives Sora a card and tells Sora to go through the door. He goes through the door and he sees the guy in the code again, and he tells Sora that using the cards will cause him to see illusions of people that he's met on his journey. Sora continues going through the castle and using the cards the guy in the code gave him, and he talks to his friends, but after he leaves the room, he forgets who it was he was talking to.
This is the Oblivion Castle, right?
Yes, from Chain of Memories, yeah.
Yeah.
So, the guy in the coat tells him that since people he meet here are illusions, and he won't remember what happens, he can do whatever he wants, it'll be 100% guilt-free. Sora tells him that if he hurt them, even if he forgets, the hurt from doing that would stay with him forever. Sora continues to go through the castle using the cards, talking to his friends, and forgetting what happens afterward. As he continues, Sora starts to feel a bad heartache at the fact he can't remember his friends, and decides to keep going to see if something can trigger his memory. Eventually, he appears to Sora again, and we see under his hood, and we see that it's Roxas. He tells Sora that he could run away and the heartache will stop, but Sora decides to continue. After Sora uses all the cards, he runs into Roxas, who asks Sora if he's feeling empty now that he's forgotten everyone again. Sora tells him that even though he's forgotten who he met, even though he's forgotten who he's met, he remembers that he met them, so he misses them. Roxas tells him the hurt that he feels will drag him down into darkness, so he has to get rid of it.
Is this the real world or is this the virtual?
This is the virtual world.
Okay.
So, Sora says that he can keep the hurt as it lets him know what he's... Sora says that he can keep the hurt as it lets him know that he's forgotten, and that it's important. So rather than running from it, he'll keep it in his heart until he remembers. He says that it's all he has to keep the pieces in place, and he accepts that. Roxas then pulls out his Keyblade, and in probably one of the best delivered lines in the series says, "You accept it, it's not a game. It's way past time you learned what real hurt feels like." He attacks Sora, and they fight. Sora wins, and Roxas tells Sora to finish him off, but Sora doesn't, and Roxas assumes because Sora realizes that this Roxas is made out of data, just like everything else here, so he's not worth the effort of killing. Sora tells him that's not true at all, and Roxas wasn't wrong when he said he'd show him hurt, and he really packs a punch. He also says that the hurt he was feeling during the fight was more than that, it was like an intense, sharp pain, but it also felt sort of familiar, like it was his own, and that they're connected. He says if carrying around a bit of hurt can bring him closer to people in that way, it can't be all that bad. Roxas puts this Keyblade away and gives Sora another card and tells Sora kind of sarcastically, "You passed. Congratulations, you understand hurt." He tells him to use the card to find the truth. He says that his role was to make sure he was ready to confront the hurt inside of him, but now that his role is done, there's nothing left for him to do but go away. Sora asks him if he's going to go home, and Roxas tells him he's not really sure he has one, but there's a place he'd like to be. He walks into Sora, and Sora starts having memories that don't belong to him. A place to call home, a sunset that's comforting, and his first and last summer vacation. He tells Roxas that he can rest easy and goes to the door. He's about to enter, and Mickey finally catches up, apologizing he couldn't be there sooner, and they enter the room and find Naminé. Sora says that it's like when he met Mickey before, where he doesn't know her, but he feels familiar. She introduces herself and tells him that although he doesn't know her, she knows him. Mickey fills him in that a while back, Sora's memories got fucked up, but Naminé helped fix them. Sora says she deserves a big thanks, but Naminé says that she doesn't, because not only is she the one that fixes memories, she's the one that originally fucked with Sora's memories, and she is the reason all the bugs spread throughout the journal. She says that when Sora was asleep and she was fixing his memories, she realized that there are memories deep within Sora that don't belong to him, but belong to people connected to him. She tells them that, handled the wrong way, these memories could damage or even break Sora's heart, so she left a message for them to know, to let them know Sora needs to face it.
Was it the message in the bottle, or is that nothing? No.
That was the message in the bottle was from Mickey. We'll get to that in a bit. The message was the one at the end of the journal that they found.
Okay.
That your hurting will be mended when you return to end it. And she says that she added these memories to the data, which also added the hurt, which came out in the bugs. She says that she wishes she could do this in person, but the real her is dead, so this is the only way she could let them know. She tells Sora that he has to face the hurt head on and accept it. If it happens to be too much for him to bear alone, he turns to his friends close to his heart, and he's already learned this. So Sora tells her that he's ready to face the memories, and Mickey tells him that he's not alone. Naminé tells him to touch the orb, and they'll feel all the memories locked inside him flow into their hearts, and they'll do it together. It immediately becomes a huge struggle, but Mickey tells him to be strong, and they find themselves in a white space. And then Roxas and Axel appear. Namine's voice tells him that Sora has been keeping these hidden truths deep inside him, locked away, and these memories he's feeling don't belong to him. They then turn around and see Namine and Shion. Sora says that Shion feels so familiar and he can feel something really terrible happen to her. Namine tells them that they're waiting for Sora and he's the only one that can put an end to their hurt. They then see Ven, Terra, and Aqua, and Mickey recognizes them.
Gang's all here.
Yep. Namine tells them that they were connected to the Keyblade's truth, and they're still connected to Sora deep down in his heart. Sora says that he feels like he's met them before, and Namine tells him that he has met two of them, and he shares a very special connection with the third. She tells him that a day will come for them to rise from their sleep, and Sora's the only one who can save them. Mickey promises he'll pass this along to the real Sora in the outside world. Sora asks what's going to happen to Namine now, and she says that she's just data meant to pass along a message, and she doesn't belong in this journal at all, so she's just going to disappear. She tells them that if they pass on this message on to the real Sora and tell him everything he saw and felt, she'll be at rest, both her and the real her. As they're about to leave, Sora tells her he has a message for her too and thanks her. She smiles and then disappears. We then hear a narration of Mickey telling Sora that whatever he feels in his heart when he hears about this, that's what the other Sora felt in his. And the credits roll. After the credits, we see Mickey writing a letter, and Sora, Riku, and Kairi on the island reading it. It says, I wanted to tell you right away, but the memories from the past that sleep within you, and about the pieces that will tie you to your future. Sora, Riku, Kairi, the truth behind the Keyblade has found its way through so many people, and now I know that it rests in your hearts. Sora, you are the only one. Sora, you are who you are because of those people, but they're hurting, and you're the only one who can end their sadness. They need you. It's possible that all your journeys so far have been preparing you for this great new task that's waiting for you. I should have known there were no coincidences, only links in a much larger chain of events, and now the door to your next journey is ready to be opened. We then see Mickey talking to Yen Sid, and Mickey tells him that he thinks they're close to finding out where Ven's heart is. Yen Sid says that only leaves Terra, and they need to save all three of them. Yen Sid wonders what Xehanort is planning to do next, and Mickey says that since Ansem Seeker of Darkness is heartless, and Xemnas is nobody are dead, Xehanort is gone for good. Yen Sid tells him that those two are dead, but that's actually the problem, as now that Xehanort's heart, which became his heartless, is now free, and his body, which became a nobody, has been vanquished, both halves will return to the whole, and Master Xehanort will return. Mickey says that him, Sora, and Riku will be ready for whatever he's got cooking, but Yen Sid says that they are strong, but not true Keyblade Masters like Mickey, and he asks Mickey if they would be strong enough if what they face was not just one of him. And Mickey asks what he means, and Yen Sid tells him to summon Sora and Riku to the castle to take their Mark of Mastery exam. We then see Braig talking to a young Xehanort with a bunch of knocked out members of the Organization 13. Young Xehanort explains that to Braig that out of all the Keyblades in existence, the one Master Xehanort uses is the oldest and has been passed down from master to student. He tells him that it hasn't happened to him yet, but it's his destiny. Braig says whatever, as this is all connected to the Keyblade War. He asks young Xehanort which poor soul will it be, and young Xehanort says, "Tss," and then it cuts.
Oh my gosh.
So, Xehanort chart. This is him when he was young. Okay. He grows up to be him, then possesses him, and yada yada yada. But now, since we get through here, we get to this Xehanort, he dies and becomes Xemnas and Ansem Seeker of Darkness. That's his heartless, that's his nobody. Mm-hmm. They're both dead, but now his heart is free and his body is free.
Reborn,
going back,
like a phoenix.
He is coming back.
Okay.
So
is it in that dark space?
He's just like nowhere right now. His heart and body are just kind of like existing in nothingness, but they're going to be coming back soon.
So basically,
is there any specific place that is going to reform, or is it just going to?
I don't know. We'll find out.
I'm thinking my theory is that it might come in the where Aqua is teleported.
The Realm of Darkness.
Realm of Darkness. I think that's where he might get reincarnated.
Okay. All right. Any other questions though aside from that?
That would be a good guess.
So this whole thing took place a little bit after 2, but not before we got that end credit scene with the message in the bottle.
Yeah, the message in the bottle was what that letter at the end was.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
Right.
And basically, he's saying that
I forget who was the guy in the Realm of the Darkness. The
Ansem the Wise.
Ansem the real one. The real one. And the one outside is like Xehanort possessed.
So basically, Sora's job is to free all these people, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Aqua and him are just chilling. They're like,
yeah.
The 9 different iterations of the same person.
Yeah. And remember that scene with Ansem the Wise, that was after he destroyed Kingdom Hearts, and then he just like disappeared. Mm-hmm. He ended up in the Realm of Darkness. So when Aqua met with Ansem the Wise, she's been down there for over 10 years. So she's just been trapped in limbo for...
But he's been there...
He's been there for like a year. He said that he assumes it's been about a year since he met Sora.
Okay.
So, I accidentally turned it off, sorry. Oh. But no, so... Yeah, so she's been down there for like over 10 years, and now they're at a point where they're like, okay, we can actually save these people. If they're connected to Sora, Sora can do it. So that's, and now, Sora, they told Sora and Riku, or Yensid told Mickey, Sora and Riku need to take their Mark of Mastery exam. But alright, any other questions though? We still good?
I think so. That was short.
Yeah, that one, that game's
Recoded
alright,
is-
yeah.
Yeah.
Gameplay wise, that game fucking
Yeah,
sucks too.
Recoded is a whole lot of front and a whole
They
lot
should
of
have
back.
recoded it.
Yeah. So, alright, almost there. Well, kind of almost there. Next up, Kingdom Hearts 3D Dream Drop Distance.
Kingdom Hearts 3D.
So, this game released on the Nintendo 3DS in
Where
2012.
does it take place in the plot wise? Is it prequel or sequel?
I'll get there. I explained the console first, then I explained the timeline.
Okay, sorry.
So, came out on the Nintendo 3DS in 2012, and then was ported to the PS4, or remastered on the PS4 in HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue, which came out in 2017. And this game takes place after Recoded. This is... So, this is after Recoded. This is after all that shit. This is... Well, we'll see, but this is Sora and Riku's Mark of Mastery exam. You're going to be confused at the beginning, but we'll get there. So, the game starts off with a flashback.
We're all dead.
Yeah. So the first game, or the game starts with a flashback. It shows most of the members of Organization 13 becoming nobodies with them on the ground dead, except for Brig. Brig asks him if he remembers now, and he realizes he may never have lost his memory. And then Xehanort stabs him and tells him his name is Ansem, showing that this is okay. This is when he started the organization. He was the one that killed everyone. We then see a young Sora and Riku on a raft. And
Wait, so he never got dementia or anything?
he was just lying. He was just saying
This
this.
is a sequel.
This is a sequel. Yeah,
But
this
he
is a
looks
sequel.
like he's got the yellow eyes and
Continue.
pointy ears already.
Yeah, and happened in Birth by Sleep.
Oh,
So something
okay.
happened at Birth by Sleep to that thing that we haven't talked about yet.
Is it the same thing what happened
Okay.
with Ben and
We'll get there. We'll get there.
We haven't gotten to the excruciatingly complicated part.
Yeah. Oh no, you think shit was complicated before? You just wait. Okay, so you see young Sora Riku on the raft. Storm hits him. The storm hits and
Why
it gets
is he on a
destroyed.
Because they can be.
We'll get there.
Just,
So-
I wondered- I
So
bet you're wondering how I got in this situation.
we then see so the raft gets destroyed. They fall into the water and a keyhole appears, and the keyblades appear in their hands, and they use it on the keyhole. We then see Ansem Secret of Darkness in his coat, like in Kingdom Hearts 1. We then see Sora and Riku in Yensid's tower, along with Mickey, Donald, and Goofy. Yensid explains to Sora and Riku that Xehanort's going to start some shit again, so Sora and Riku need to take their Mark of Mastery exam to make sure they're ready. Sora says it's unnecessary, as they've already proven themselves, but Riku says the darkness still has a bit of a hold on his heart, so maybe he does need to be tested. Sora then decides it's whatever, and him and Riku will kick that test ass. Yensid tells them that in order to save the people Mickey mentioned in his letter, they need to unlock 7 sleeping keyholes, as it will grant them a great power. He tells them that in Kingdom Hearts 1, when they restored all the worlds destroyed by the Heartless, some never returned completely, and they exist in a sleeping world. Although the Heartless can't enter, creatures called Dream Eaters exist in the sleeping world, and there are 2 kinds: nightmares and spirits. The nightmares are evil creatures that devour dreams, and the spirits are good creatures that get rid of the nightmares and will help them on their journey. Which I didn't even get a screenshot of them because they're so irrelevant.
Is this for that joke that Riku, you need to learn to control your darkness, and then meanwhile Sora in the background.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. So, fuck the Dream Eaters, and
They're stuffed teddy bears.
Yeah.
Basically.
so,
The Dream Eaters.
Oh,
The main enemy are like
they're
stuffed
stupid.
animals.
Okay, so they aren't even sorted all that. Yensid, they're just there because they couldn't have Heartless, and yeah. So Yensid explains that long ago the world was filled with light, and most people assumed it was a gift from an unseen force known as Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts was protected by the X-Blade, so nobody could ever get to it and figure out its mysteries. Eventually, people wanted the light for themselves, and darkness started to spread. These people created Keyblades, which were based off of the original X-Blade, and waged a huge war over Kingdom Hearts, which is now known as the Keyblade War. The X-Blade didn't survive the battle, and it was shattered into 20 pieces, 7 of light and 13 of darkness. The true Kingdom Hearts was swallowed by the darkness, never to be seen again. Some people then decided to use the Keyblades to defend the light rather than to fight for the light and keep it for themselves, and these were the first heroes of the Keyblade. So, after their raft crashed and they used the keyhole to enter the sleeping worlds, which that scene took place after the scene in Yensid's tower. I wonder why they look young. So they enter the sleeping worlds, which take the exit after Yensid's tower, and Sora and Riku end up in Traverse Town, but are separated. They run into characters from The World Ends With You, and Joshua eventually explains to them that not yet. explains to them that they're in alternate universes of the same world. So Sora and Riku are separated on their journey. They're in the same world, but alternate versions of it. Then, Sora and Riku continue their journey through the sleeping worlds, and along their journey, they run into young Xehanort. And when Sora runs into him, he's with Xemnas.
Oh, yeah.
There's Tron's world.
Oh, okay.
And, and when Riku runs into him, he's with Ansem Seeker of Darkness. Meanwhile, Axel wakes up in Hollow Bastion, now Lee, as since, like Xehanort, his Heartless and Nobody were destroyed, he is now a real person again.
Oh.
So, he turns around to see...
What was his Heartless? Do you know?
I don't know.
We killed him in
So
Kingdom
he's
Hearts
alright.
2 somewhere.
Yeah, so he's okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so he's back as an actual person. This is, it's like,
Lee.
it's happening the same time
Now
as,
he's
you know...
Lee.
This is like, you know, present day, he wakes up because same as Master Xehanort, how like his Heartless Nobody were destroyed. He's coming back. Same thing happened to them. Their Nobodies were destroyed. They're back as real, actual people now too.
Okay, so all the
Broccoli.
Now, why do you want them to all be nobodies?
I don't know. We'll find out. So,
Wait, do you really?
so
I don't even think we know that yet, do we?
yes, we do.
We do. We absolutely do.
He turns around.
Do I know more about this than you?
Yeah, Zach, why didn't you know?
So Lee turns
What's
around.
wrong
Lee turns around to see Dylan, Elias, Evan, and Yenzo, and some of them are starting to wake up. He realizes that only the ones that join the organization at this place are here, but not including Xehanort, Bragg, and Isa. Lee looks through the castle and can't find them anywhere. Elias tells him that Dylan and Evan are still out cold, and Lee is about to look for them more, but Elias tells him that if they were back, they would have been found by now. Enzo tells him that when a person's heart is recompleted, they should appear at the place it happened, so it's strange they're not back. Lee considers it's possible that they haven't been recompleted at all, so he says he'll bring them back himself. While the Disney gang are waiting for Sora and Riku to finish their test, Maleficent Raven flies in and leaves a note. It says that Maleficent has kidnapped Queen Minnie and he has to return to Disney Castle or else, so Mickey, Donald, and Goofy fly away.
This bitch.
They arrive at the Disney Castle and find Pete and Maleficent holding Queen Minnie hostage. Maleficent tells them that they're after the data of the worlds, but they won't tell them why she wants it. She attacks the Disney gang, but Chakram suddenly appear and stop the attack, when Mickey, which gives Minnie a moment to run away. Maleficent and Pete then retreat, and Mickey says it was reckless of him to use the darkness to get here, but he never expected Axel to save him. He tells Mickey that Axel didn't save him. His name is Lee. Lee then goes to the mysterious tower and asks. asks Yen Sid something, although we don't hear what it is. But everyone flips out, and Donald yells, "Absolutely not!" Yen Sid then says that he sensed something was off right from the start, and Xehanort may have known what they were doing from before they even began. Yen Sid explains that this is a super different way from the way the Mark of Mastery is usually handled, but because of what Sora and Riku have to face next, it's necessary, and if they complete their task and unlock the 7 sleeping keyholes, they'll return with a new power. He assumes they're safe considering how powerful they are, but he can't seem to locate either of them. He says, with Lee here as proof of the Nobody's returning as people again, they now know for sure that Xehanort's coming back, and Xehanort is an extremely devious tactician, and there isn't anything they can do that he won't in some way predict. So they'll have to use any strategy they can to catch him off guard. He warns Lee that the road won't be easy, and Lee says, "Fine, let's jump right in." Later, Disney gang is standing around, worried. Mickey asks Yensid if he thinks Lee will be able to do it, and Yensid says that while it's clear you can't teach a cat to bark, Merlin and the 3 good fairies are helping him in a place that is more temporally flexible. Mickey asks about Sora and Riku, and Yensid says they should be good, even if Xehanort knew what they were planning, you probably can't do much about it. Because Sora and Riku time traveled back to when the islands were destroyed. In order to do that, a version of yourself needs to be there, and there wasn't a version of Xehanort on the islands, and not even Xehanort can transport his body across vast reaches of time. So, the reason that Sora and Riku looked younger before is because they time traveled back to their bodies when the islands were destroyed. And then they used that to enter the sleeping worlds. But in order to time travel, a version of yourself needs to be there. And they're saying, Xehanort wasn't there, so they're fine. But Mickey then reminds Yensid that Ansem Seeker of Darkness did give up his body, and it was him that possessed Riku. And Yensid realizes they're fucked. So that version of Ansem Seeker of Darkness, like in the hood, that was Ansem Seeker of Darkness that completely gave up his body. So he time traveled back there, giving up his body to enter the sleeping worlds and fuck with Sora and Riku.
Now it starts to get complicated.
Yeah.
So
Now time travel's in here.
The man in the cloak and the hood is Ansem Seeker of Darkness without a body.
Yeah.
And he did that so that he would have a foothold in their world in case he needed to go and fuck them up.
Yeah. And that's why he possessed Riku in Kingdom Hearts 1 because he didn't have a body.
Oh.
Nani? Yeah. So Yensid's like, oh shit, they're fucked. So Mickey asks if he can go help Sora and Riku, as Aaron will probably take them out of the sleeping world at some point and bring them somewhere they can reach, and they can probably even guess where it'll be. Donald and Goofy want to go too, but Mickey tells them if something happens to Sora and Riku, they'll be the only ones left to keep the world safe. So Sora and Riku save all 7 sleeping worlds, and Sora ends up at the world that never was. He realizes he has to be awake in the real world, but he doesn't know why he's here. Brer then appears and tells Sora that they've been following Sora since the beginning of this journey. Sora and Riku time traveled to Destiny Islands right before it was destroyed, and Ansem Seeker of Darkness, when he was in the robe, was on Destiny Islands to make sure Sora ended up right here, right now. Young Xehanort then appears and explains that young Xehanort grew up on Destiny Islands. And Ansem Seeker of Darkness cast aside his body to time travel back to meet with his younger self and put him on the appointed path. And afterward, time travels to Destiny Islands, right before it was about to be destroyed by darkness, like Zigbar mentioned before. Sora then falls asleep, and in his dream, finds himself again in the world that never was. Sora sees Mickey, Donald, and Goofy and chases after them, and then sees Naminé. She runs away, but he grabs her and says he has a message for her. The camera then pans behind Sora, and when it moves over, we see Shion. He asks who she is, and then he starts to cry. He's confused why he's crying because he doesn't know who she is, but she runs away. Sora then runs into Roxas, who tells him this could have been the other way around, but it really has to be Sora. He says that they're the same person, so Sora can feel what he felt. Sora tells Roxas that he is himself, and he deserves as much as he does to be his own person. He then takes Sora's hand, and Sora feels all the pain that Roxas went through, and then Roxas disappears.
Oh, what? That again!
Dude just felt a year's worth of guilt in 1 second.
Yeah. So, Sora then sees Riku and Kairi and chases after them, and once he catches up, they turn around, and they turn into Terra and Aqua. They call Sora Ven, camera goes back to Sora, and his appearance has turned into Ven. And then...
This point is all fucked.
My third eye.
So, they turn back around, they turn back into Sora, Riku, and Kairi. He tries to chase after them, but he's become so sluggish that it's almost impossible for him to move. And while this is happening, Sora can faintly hear Riku calling for him, telling him to stop chasing the dreams. Sora then has a flashback of him and Riku meeting Aqua, and Sora then finds himself in front of Brer again, and Sora says that he kept going through because his heart was aching, and Brer says that it led Sora right into their clutches, and hearts steer them wrong every time. Sora says Brer must know, because they all have hearts. Roxas, Axel, Naminé, and that other girl. Never say her name. Roxas, Axel, Naminé, and that other girl. He doesn't know who she is. He says that he felt what Roxas felt, and they laughed together, got mad, and grieved. You have to have a heart to cry. Xemnas then appears and tells Sora that although nobodies are born without hearts, they can eventually grow them back, and most of the members of the organization did grow back hearts of their own, and he knew the whole time they did have hearts, and if they're heartless and nobodies are killed, they would go back to being people again. Sora asked why he lied to them and told them they didn't have hearts, and the only way for them to get them back was through Kingdom Hearts. Brer explains the organization's true purpose was so that Xehanort could get a bunch of empty people without hearts, hook them up to Kingdom Hearts, and fill them all with the same heart and mind. So in short, he was trying to turn all the members of Organization 13 into Xehanort. Sora asks why Brer isn't scared of turning into someone else, but the camera zooms in on Breg's yellow eyes and he says, "Me? I'm already half Xehanort." Xemnas then explains that most of the original members of Organization were inadequate for multiple different reasons. Sora gets pissed and says that hearts aren't just bottles on a shelf, and that the ties between people's hearts are what makes us strong. Brer then says that the only reason Sora is strong is because of the ties he has to other people, as the Keyblade would never choose a wimp like him. Sora then says, "I know the Keyblade didn't choose me, and I don't care. I'm proud to be a small part of something bigger. The people it did choose. My friends, they are my power."
Okay, so I'm C. So Xehanort's trying to make an army of himself because, you know, he's a fucking loser.
Yep, yeah, 100%, yeah.
Himself.
Yeah.
He has no friends, so he
And
needs
Sora,
his own friends.
introvert versus extrovert here.
Virgin versus chat. Yeah, so that's the reason why he wanted because he wanted them to be empty so he could hook them up to Kingdom Hearts and fill them all with Xehanort.
Oh, okay.
I see.
They gotta get Norded.
Yeah. The Kingdom Hearts like fandom has turned Nort into a verb. Like, oh yeah, Brer got Norted. Like, this guy got Norted.
Okay, yeah, so is it explained when Brer got Norted? Or
At some point between when Terra like fought him in Radiant Garden and when he showed up in the Keyblade Graveyard, because he had yellow eyes then.
Yeah.
So something happened between that, but we don't know what it was.
But he wasn't a nobody yet, right?
No.
So then how did he get Norton?
We don't know. We don't know yet.
We actually don't know.
We don't know
This
yet.
is actually we don't
We
know,
actually
right?
don't know yet, yeah.
Okay, yeah, interesting. Maybe like
Okay. So, Brer then tells Xemnas to take care of Sora and disappears, and they fight. Sora wins and Xemnas disappears, but Sora is so exhausted that he falls over. Young Xehanort then appears and tells Sora that he's fallen so deep into sleep that there's no way he can return to the world above. Sora then falls asleep, and as his heart is engulfed by darkness, Ven's heart then appears and covers him in his armor to protect him. Riku also appears in the world that never was, and he runs into a sleeping Sora. He yells to Sora to stop chasing the dream, but he won't wake up. He's then transported to somewhere in front of Ansem Seeker of Darkness, who tells him that Sora's heart belongs to darkness now. Riku mentions that whenever he looks at him, he's reminded of a secret he promised to keep when he was young, and the main reason he wanted to see the outside world was because of him. He then fights Ansem Seeker of Darkness and wins, finds himself back in the world that never was. He finds the round room where Sora is sleeping and runs up to him, but young Xehanort appears and pushes him away. He explains the true purpose of Organization 13, and he says that they originally wanted Riku as the vessel of Xehanort, but he developed a resistance to darkness. He mentions that Roxas was a worthy candidate, but he became too aware of himself and returned to Sora. But now they're using Sora as their 13th vessel. The rest of the versions of Xehanort then appear, excluding Master Xehanort, who's not there yet, and most of them are wearing hoods to cover their face. He says that Ansem Seeker of Darkness came to him on the island and set him on the appointed path. He told him to gather up all the versions of himself throughout time and bring them here today to welcome Sora as the 13th Dark Vessel. Mickey then jumps down, attacking young Xehanort, but he attacks back before he's able to grab Sora. He pulls out his Keyblade, which has an hourglass on it, he controls time, and attacks Riku. And Riku wins the fight, and Master Xehanort then appears, recompleted. This is the actual Master Xehanort, not the time-traveled version, this is the actual Master Xehanort.
It's just like
real.
The Xehanort Prime.
Yeah.
So,
He explains that he once tried to forge the X-Blade, but the attempt ended in failure, and he admits now that he acted rashly. Mickey gets pissed and says that what he did changed the destinies of 3 of his friends. He says he wasn't able to save them, but he wanted to believe their sacrifices stopped him for good. Xehanort says that despite being stopped by Sora before, he hasn't given up, and soon the 7 Guardians of Light will clash with the 13 Seekers of Darkness. Mickey says they have him, Riku, Sora, and his 3 missing friends, and that only leaves 6. Xehanort says that Sora and another on their list belong to him, which puts Mickey at 3 Guardians short. But all the pieces are destined to appear, and the clash will forge the X-Blade. He says that all the seats have been filled, and it's time for Sora to have Xehanort's heart in him like the rest. Mickey and Riku chase after him, but are stopped by Xemnas and Ansem Seeker of Darkness. But Sora is then saved by Lee. Another member of the organization attacks Axel, and his hood falls off and reveals himself to be Isa. Mickey and Riku are able to catch Ansem Seeker of Darkness and Xemnas off guard, and they get loose, but are then grabbed by Ansem Seeker of Darkness' Guardian, but then Donald and Goofy fall down on it and destroy it. Master Xehanort says they're out of time and tells them the Guardian of the 7 and 13 is nigh, and they will finish this at the fated place after all the lights and darknesses have joined, and they disappear. They regroup at the mysterious tower, and Sora is still asleep. Yensid tells Riku that through awakening the 7 sleeping keyholes, he's gained the power to free a heart from its sleep.
See? I don't know why.
So, Yensid tells Riku that through awakening the 7 sleeping keyholes, he's gained the power to free a heart from its sleep, so he should be able to awaken Sora's heart by diving into Sora's dream. They say it could be dangerous, as he could end up getting caught in the darkness too, and stuck in the sleep just like Sora, but it's the only way to wake him up. Riku dives into Sora's heart, and finds Ven's armor, wielding Sora's Keyblade, covered in darkness and attacks him.
Oh shit.
Riku defeats it, and the armor breaks, and Sora falls out from it, and he falls into darkness. Riku then picks up Sora's Keyblade and uses it to go further into Sora's heart to try to find him. He finds himself in a part of Sora's heart that looks like Destiny Islands, and he sees Roxas, Ven, and Xion, who are all inside of Sora's heart. He then finds a message in a bottle, and Ansem the Wise walks up behind him. He tells Riku that he digitized himself and his research and hid himself within Sora, and that bottle is his data, which can hopefully be a clue to help find their lost friends.
There's a lot of people in Sora.
Yeah. So,
Jesus Christ.
So he tells Riku that he thinks Sora has the power to bring back the people they thought were lost forever. He asks Riku why he's here, and Riku tells him he needs to wake Sora up, and Ansem the Wise tells him that he's already awake waiting for him. As he's about to leave, Ansem the Wise says, "Young man, I do not believe you ever told me your name." He looks at him and says, "It's Riku." Riku then wakes up, and Sora, Donald, and Goofy are having a tea party for some reason. And
everyone's fucking around.
And Riku asks him why they're having a tea party, and Sora just gets hella excited that he's okay. They then stand before Yensid and to get the results of their test. Yensid tells them that, above all, he's grateful that they're unharmed by Xehanort, and he's grateful to Lee, whose spontaneous actions turn the tides. He also says he's deeply sorry for failing to perceive the danger and throwing them in headfirst into such a dangerous test. He says that with the upcoming battle between light and darkness, they need a new kind of Keyblade Master with a new kind of power. And while both Sora and Riku deserve the honor, only Riku is able to brave the realm of sleep and unlock the final keyhole, and he names Riku a Keyblade Master. Sora is super happy for him, and Riku is in shock and barely says anything.
Part of the council, we cannot grant you
But
grant you as master.
So they all congratulate him, and Lee says he'll catch up to him in no time. They jokingly ask him if he wants to be a Keyblade master, and he tells them the reason he came here was to learn how to wield a Keyblade. Sora and Riku flip out, and Lee says he was going to come swooping in, Keyblade in hand, to save him, but he just couldn't get his to materialize. He says it must be in the snap of the wrist or something, holds out his hand, and a Keyblade appears and just says, oh. Everyone flips the fuck out, and nobody had an ounce of faith he could wield a Keyblade. Sora then leaves, saying he has something to take care of, and he won't be long, and the credits roll. After the credits, we see Sora in Traverse Town seeing all the Dream Eater friends. Those are the Dream Eaters, yeah. So those
are the enemies of the whole game.
No, those are the good. Well, there's good and bad Dream Eaters. Those are the good Dream Eaters. Those were his friends during the game. They helped him out. Sora went back to Traverse Town.
Look the same.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
Sora went to Traverse Town. When he left before, he went to see his Dream Eater friends. We then see Ven sleeping in Castle Oblivion, and he smiles.
Ooh.
We then see Donald the Goofy sitting outside the mysterious tower, saying that Sora has been gone a long time, and Lee hurried back to Radiant Garden, and now Master Yen Sid sent Riku away on some mystery errand. But then Riku walks up to them, and we see Yen Sid and Mickey talking, and Yen Sid tells Mickey that even if they deliberately avoid finding 7 lights to fight the 13 darknesses and start another Keyblade war like Xehanort wants, he'll just target the 7 princesses apart in order to forge the X-Blade. So there's going to be another Keyblade war, and there's nothing they can do to stop it. But Mickey says they're one guardian short. Riku then walks in and says he brought the guest he was asked to bring, but he's not sure why. Yen Sid then says, I've come to learn that you too can wield a Keyblade. I'm glad you're here. And we see Kairi standing in the doorway. Okay. Are there any questions, though? Because that was a lot.
Oh my god.
Oh shit.
So time travel.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
thing now.
I simplified the time travel thing is just him experimenting with time travel to sort of like put his, Xehanort self into other more people.
Yeah, so essentially, he originally was going to use Organization 13
Yeah.
to turn them all into Xehanort, but that didn't work, and only a few people so far
He
we've...
experimented with time travel,
Well,
tried that, and it kind of worked.
So what he did is he traveled back in time, and young Xehanort, he essentially gave his younger version of himself the power to travel through time, and he brought a bunch of different versions of himself to add on to the people. So like along with
to possess them.
Well, like to add to like the 13 Secrets of Darkness. So like on top of like Brag and Isa, there's also Ansem Secret of Darkness and Xemnas were pulled from their timeline to fight in these 13 secrets of the other 7
Is this
Darkness.
a different
Spider-Verse.
timeline thing?
Yeah,
or is this
but it's even worse than Spider-Verse because it's literally the same guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they took
it's 4 versions of the same guy.
But are they from different universes or
The
from
same
the
universe.
Same
Same-
timeline?
different
So if I took
time, same
high school
timeline.
Dante and brought him here,
Yeah.
but doesn't that take him out of high school?
Nope.
They don't
Or
go.
are you
Well, when
copy-pasting
you
him?
go, they also mention that like when you go back, you forget everything that happened.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's like me taking a Dante from there, but that Dante still remains, but he does no memory of.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, so far at this point we
Like
know that.
copy-pasting.
So in the 13 Secrets of Darkness, there's Master Xehanort, who's like the recomplete Master Xehanort, and then there's Ansem Secret of Darkness, who was taken from his timeline, Xemnas, who's taken from his timeline, a young Xehanort, who was taken from his timeline, and then Brag and Isa, who were both implanted with Xehanort's memories. And then there's other people we don't know who they are yet.
Okay.
And so
some people have
it's
young
Pete.
Xehanort's memory. Or
Yeah,
young
so-
Xehanor's.
And then they need to forge, because as the X-Blade was broken into 7 pieces of light and 13 of darkness, if you get 7 lights and 13 darknesses to clash, it will forge the X-Blade. And that's what Xehanort's trying to
He's
do.
gonna get 13 darks.
Well,
Or
he
is he trying to control lights?
he wants the 13 darknesses and the 7 lights to fight. And so he's
just
telling
for the Keyblade. Or
the X-Blade.
yeah. So he's telling Mickey they need to get 7 lights to fight his 13 darknesses. And if they don't, he's just going to go like attack the 7 princesses of light anyway.
Yeah.
And that's 7 lights right there. So essentially Mickey needs to gather 7 lights. And so
you don't have to be pure light though, right?
no, because if pure light and pure darkness clashes, that makes the X-Blade. But 7 lights and 13 darknesses of not pure, but like mostly light and mostly dark, that could also make the
Oh,
X-Blade.
okay, interesting. Okay.
It's variants on the same recipe.
Yeah.
But if you have 13 full darkness, but like
Then
7,
you make a lot of Keyblades.
7 sort of light, does it still make an X-Blade?
Probably.
Okay.
Most likely.
Either combination will create next play.
6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, who really wants that legendary?
Oh yeah.
The Masters of Masters isn't related to Xehanort, right? I don't think so.
We're gonna get to the Master of Masters in a sec. Hold on.
Okay. So you are gonna dive into
Yeah, we go into back cover, which I will say these are a little bit lackluster because I got really fucking tired of writing at this point. Because I'm not exaggerating when I say I probably spent like at least 30 hours working on this in total.
Oh my God.
Like holy fuck, this took me so long. But anyway. So, next up is Key back cover. This is
It's so tiny.
I know I couldn't find a good fucking thing of it. So this
Back cover.
yeah, so this is technically it's like a movie. It's like an hour-long movie. That it came with a part of HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue. And it was like a it came with an HD version Dream Drop license for the PS4. Then it came with this movie and another like 3-hour like kind of like demo-ish game that we'll get to after this. But this is like this is essentially a movie. This takes place before the Keyblade War. So this takes place like fucking possibly like thousands of years before all this shit happened.
Okay.
So all right, and this will not take long. This
5 seconds.
no, I definitely could have gone more into it, but I did not want to. So the world's light is protected by 7 people who live in a world called Daybreak Town, a dude called the Master of Masters, and his 6 apprentices.
Is this when the Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer they were talking about? With
Probably.
the chess game?
No. Kinda. This is what they're talking about in the chess game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay.
So, the Master of Masters, that guy right there, he has a book called the Book of Prophecies, which can foresee the future. He foresees a huge war that will cause the end of the world, and in order to save it, gives each of his apprentices a role and tells them each to form their own union of Keyblade wielders. This is Ira. He's in charge of the Unicornus Union. Envy is in charge of the Anguis Union.
She's cool.
And Aced is in charge of the Ursus Union.
He's alright.
Ava, who is best
She's
girl.
the best.
I fucking love her. She's in charge of the Vulpus Union, who's also best union. And Gula is in charge of the Leopardus Union.
Yeah.
Soon after that, the Master vanishes. He just disappears. No one knows. No one knows what happened.
He just fades
yeah.
away.
And Ira is left in charge in his absence. Each Keyblade wielder is given a Chirithy, a spirit. This is a spirit that the Master of Masters created as kind of like a fucking like Cortana for each Keyblade wielder, and also it has the Dream Eater symbol on it. That's I wonder why. I genuinely do wonder why. I don't know.
We don't know yet.
Yeah. We're at the point now where we're starting to bring up questions we don't know the answer to.
Yeah.
So, one day, Ira discovers a dark Chirithy, which suggests that somebody has submitted to the darkness, and somebody among them is a traitor. Most of them suspect Aced, because he's an asshole. And Aced convinces Gula to form an alliance with him, and they do for a while to try to figure out who the traitor is. But eventually Envy finds out about it, and gets them to cut their shit out, because alliances are forbidden. Aced then suspects Envy as the traitor, and Aced fights her, but Ava and Gula come in and stop them. And it's revealed that Gula has a lost page from the Book of Prophecies that says there is indeed a traitor amongst them. Aced attacks Gula, but Ava comes in and saves him. And Ava is helping the injured Gula, but he tells her that he's going to try to gather enough light to summon Kingdom Hearts to try to bring the Master of Masters back. Ava tells him that's fucked and that ain't going to work, but Gula doesn't listen. Ava realizes that if the Leopardus Union gathers too much light, the other unions will have to gather more and more to make up for the balance, which it will eventually result in Keyblade wielders becoming more and more greedy, which leads to them fighting over light, which will eventually result in the Keyblade War. Before the Master of Masters left, he told Ava to gather a bunch of Keyblade wielders to go into hiding during the war. And since everyone that fights in the war will die, these will be the only surviving Keyblade wielders. And after learning about Gula's plan, she starts to gather these Keyblade wielders, calling the group her Dandelions. We then see, before the Master of Masters left, he gave Luxu, who's his 6th apprentice, who was not given a union, he gives him his Keyblade, which is the one that we later see Master Xehanort use. The Master of Masters tells him that Luxu has to pass this Keyblade down from him to his apprentice, and that apprentice has to pass it down to his apprentice, and so on and so on, because that Keyblade, the eye in the Keyblade, is the Master of Masters' eye, which allows him to see into the future, which is what he gets the Book of Prophecies from. He also gives him a big black box and tells him he can never open it. He tells Luxu what's in it, but we don't hear it, and when he asks why, he just says, "You'll see." And we then see Luxu standing in the Keyblade graveyard with the box, and the credits roll. Like I said, I went through that one fast.
Yeah, it was real fast. Also, that whole thing took place in a mobile game.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
On your phone.
There was actually a lot more in the mobile game, and the mobile game has a way cooler story, but I did not feel like writing that down. But yeah, so essentially, Gula was trying to bring the Master of Masters back. He wanted to summon Kingdom Hearts as it would bring the Master of Masters back. So he got his unions his union to collect more light, but then other unions had to collect more light to bring up the balance. They became more greedy. That resulted in the Keyblade War. So that's what the Keyblade War was just over light and everything.
That's why you don't let furries in charge of stuff like that.
Yeah. So, are there any questions though after that? Or are we good?
Okay. And we don't know what's in the box.
Mm-mm.
And we don't know.
It's another box.
So
What's
does
in the
that-
box?
Does that technically mean though that Xehanort is like a distant apprentice of the Master Master?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we don't know how far down.
Yeah.
Presumably a long way
Yeah.
down. Okay. So,
Long time ago,
I can still remember. Okay.
in a galaxy far away.
No.
Alright, let's not.
Okay, so next up, Kingdom Hearts 0.2 Birth by Sleep or Fragmentary Passage. This was the other one in the PS4, the HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue, came out in 2017.
It was Kingdom Hearts 3 preview.
This is like the prologue to Kingdom Hearts 3,
Yeah.
essentially.
Okay.
So, this one takes place like right after Dream Drop Distance when we see Kairi walk in, but most of it is like a flashback that takes place near the end of Kingdom Hearts 1. But the game opens first with we see Lushu standing in the Keyblade graveyard as he watches Kingdom Hearts appear in the sky. But we then see Yensid talking to Mickey, Riku, and Kairi, and he tells them that with the battle against Xehanort fast approaching, they need to assemble the 7 Guardians of Light, so they need to find a way to bring back Ven, Terra, and Aqua. Mickey then tells them that he saw Aqua in the Realm of Darkness once. This is a flashback. This is taking place like at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1. We see Aqua wandering through the Realm of Darkness, and she goes through the remnants of Castle of Dreams and the Dwarf Woodlands, which were both lost to darkness. She wanders through. She starts to see hallucinations of Terra and Ven. They're hallucinations, though
So
they're
weird
not
seeing
real.
them in HD.
I know, it's so
Yeah.
pretty. Look, fucking Aqua. We're gonna get a close up of Aqua because she's fucking beautiful. She sees hallucinations of Ven and Terra, and she also runs into her reflection, who tells her that her heart is empty, and she fights it. She continues to see Terra and Ven, and she chases after them, and eventually catches up, and Terra responds. He tells her that the real Terra is lost in shadow, and he's then taken over by Xehanort. Terra then starts fighting back and tells her that Xehanort is a part of him now, and he's trying to find the Chamber of Waking, which is where Ven is sleeping. And remember, way back in Days, when Sykes and Axel are talking about finding the chamber in Castle Oblivion, they're talking about the Chamber of Waking, which is where Ven is sleeping.
Yeah, so the organization only went to Castle Oblivion because they were looking for Ven.
Well, they went there to stop Sora, but that's why they took control of the thing, because they know Ven's in there. But because the Aqua did that whole like spell thing on it, no one can like figure out like how to traverse through it, so, except Aqua.
Yeah.
So, Terra starts fighting back and tells her that Xehanort is a part of him now. She's trying to find the Chamber of Waking, which is where Ven is sleeping. And then Aqua is pulled further into the darkness, and she's found by Mickey. They team up and they fight. They end up on the remains of Destiny Islands. They fight off a huge horde of Heartless, and they then find the Kingdom Key D, which is... I guess I didn't explain this. Mickey, his Keyblade... He had his own Keyblade, which was called the Starseeker, but he then went into the Realm of Darkness and found... This is like a Keyblade from the Darkness, which is... He uses that sometimes also. And that along with a Keyblade from the Realm of Light, which Sora uses, has the power to close Kingdom Hearts, which is what they did in Kingdom Hearts 1. So... They go to the door of Kingdom Hearts, where Sora and Riku are about to close it, and the horde of Heartless comes back, and attacks Mickey and rips his shirt off like he's in Senran Kagura, and then the horde of Heartless tries to attack Riku, but Aqua fights it off. And after she fights it off, it throws her back into the Realm of Darkness, and the door back to Destiny Islands, where she gets thrown onto, disappears. She continues to face off the Heartless, and she narrates over it, saying that she'll continue to face the darkness, and the next time someone wanders into the Realm of Darkness, she'll be there, and one day she'll return to Terra and Ven. Mickey then helps Sora and Riku close the door to Kingdom Hearts, and Aqua then lays on Destiny Islands, watching the sky, and the worlds then start to be restored, and as Destiny Islands starts to leave the Realm of Darkness, she falls further into it, and she says, "You'll know where I am," and the credits roll.
Back to the,
Yep.
to the toilet, I
She
guess.
like gets so close and then falls all the way back down.
Can we talk about how pretty she is, though? Holy shit. Like, but yeah, so she just falls back into the Realm of Darkness. Credits roll.
It's like Lapis.
So, after the credits, we see them in the mysterious tower again, and Riku asks why Mickey didn't tell him about this, and Yensid tells them that he knew that if Sora Riku knew, they would pull some stupid shit to try to get to the Realm of Darkness and save her themselves, but now they found a safe way to go into the Realm of Darkness. So he gives Riku and Mickey new clothes that are made by the 3 good fairies and sends them to the Realm of Darkness to find her. Yensid also tells Kairi that she'll be trading under Merlin with Lee to be a Keyblade wielder, and she flips out when she learns who Lee is, but they reassure her and tell her that he's chill now. A bit later...
Oh yeah, because Lee kidnapped her at one point.
Oh.
Back in Kingdom Hearts 2, yeah.
yeah.
So,
Or Axel or Lee?
Axel.
they're the same person,
Okay,
but yeah.
because you said Lee, and that's a lot different than Axel.
Well, they're the same person.
Well, do they have the same memories?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
okay.
literally
It's
the same
literally
guy.
the same person, only one got marks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
His name changes when he turns into a nobody.
Yeah.
They get that X.
Because Sora didn't remember,
Just
so.
X gonna
But
give
he's a
it to you.
special case.
Oh yeah, exactly, yeah. So, a bit later, Sora returns to the mysterious tower, but it took him so long that he missed everyone. Yensid tells him that almost becoming Master Xehanort's vessel took away a bunch of his powers, so he tells Sora to go to Olympus Coliseum to train with Hercules, as he also has once lost his power and regains his strength, and tells Donald and Goofy to go with him, and the three of them prepare for their next journey. The trio flies away in their gummy ship, and since the lanes between have been sealed, they're not sure how to get there. Goofy remembers one of Yensid's old sayings, "May your heart be your guiding key," and Sora, using his heart, opens the gate to Olympus Coliseum, and the trio flies away, beginning their next adventure.
Is this cinematic, or is
It's a
it
game.
like... That's the actual game graphics?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
dang.
Yeah.
It's like Kingdom Hearts 3.
That's rendered. It's just rendered in game.
Yep. And their
Is that
next
the
journey.
most recent one? Or?
Yep. The next journey. Kingdom Hearts 3!
Oh, shit. Is that really it?
Yeah. That's it.
Damn.
That's literally all of. That's the much abridged all of. Kingdom
Yeah.
Hearts.
That's the entire
This is the
story.
entire fucking series. Alright, are there any... My students.
I was.
Any more questions that we have?
Holy shit.
I'm just surprised you knew less than I did.
Okay, so
Well, there was a
Axel's
couple things I forgot,
alive,
especially
the
around Dream Drop Distance.
fucking,
What's up?
so the organization's alive? Because I thought these people were dead.
Yeah, but then because they were nobodies.
They died, got split, and then
Yeah.
the two of them died, and then they got put together.
Yeah.
And there's like a shit ton of Xehanors now.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so everything's pretty much set for Kingdom Hearts 3. Like, shit's gonna go
Yeah,
down.
Oh
everything-
yeah.
Yeah.
That's why we've been freaking out like we want this shit so bad.
Like everything's
3 more
fucked.
days.
Yeah. 3.
so wait, do we know? We don't know
3 more
necessarily.
months until release.
We only know that Sayax and
Zigbar.
Zigbar, they're the only two people who have confirmed
That
to
we
become
know.
Nord.
Because we haven't only the people that became nobodies at the castle were back at the castle, and that wasn't everyone. That was
Okay.
just like, I think it was Dylan. Hold on, let's see. I think it was Dylan, Evan. Let's go way.
Jesus Christ.
Flashback.
Why don't you just, like-
wait. Okay, yeah.
There you go.
So,
So-
there's Lee. Not Dylan. There's Evan.
Yeah.
Alias, Ienzo,
Oh, yeah, that's the real
and
names now.
Dylan. Oh yeah, so yeah, Dylan. Bragg is
It's
Zalden.
just plain name.
No, Bragg is Zigbar. Fuck.
Zigbar.
Yeah, yeah,
So we don't know. Presumably, none of them have turned, right? 'Cause,
no, these are good guys. They're good guys.
Yeah, these are all good guys
Yeah.
now.
They
Or at
came
least
back.
They're back to
Oh,
normal
okay.
guys.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
they're back to. They're not Norded.
Where's
Yeah.
where's female Loki?
We don't know.
Dead.
Oh.
Yeah.
She was not there. So only the people that became nobodies at that place woke up there, not including Bragg and Isa also did, but they were Norded, so they woke up beforehand.
She might be
What does
one
Norded mean again?
They get possessed by Xehanort.
Oh, yeah.
That's not an actual verb. It's just what the fandom has decided is a
Okay.
verb.
Just making sure I clarify that
Yeah.
definition. I need to write it down.
Yeah.
She very easily could be one of the extra
Xehan
seekers.
Norded. Oh, I see.
I can see her. She's just a bitch that
Mhm.
I see too.
Yeah.
Also, she could also very easily just be a normal human.
And it's just a bitch. She's just a bitch now.
Anyway, so we don't know where the bitch is.
Yeah.
We don't know where Marluxia is.
Mhm.
We don't know where
Marluxia went back together and started running his own gay bar.
what's it? It's called,
Here, you know what? Let's hold on. Let's go way back, and we can go through the organization members. Like so, when Days we
Oh yeah, we had a whole thing with them.
montage, remembering all the pain. Real quick.
This is what Sora saw.
It's like beautiful mind, just like
Jesus, Birth by
Yeah,
Sleep
this
was long as
is
shit.
this is like what, like 400 or something.
How many years is this?
Oh,
A
that? I mean,
lot
this
of
is
years.
like over like 3 years.
We're
How
still
about
on
in
Kingdom
game,
Hearts 2.
like game development?
Oh, right.
Kingdom Hearts 2 came out in 2002. Kingdom
my
Hearts 3 is
God.
coming out in 2019. Okay, so we got
17 years.
Vexen, Evan. He's not Norded.
Not Norded.
Lexius is Alias. He's not Norded. Zexion is Yenzo. He's not Norded. Axel's Lee. He's not Norded, and he has a Keyblade.
Yeah.
Marluxia, we do not know.
MIA.
That dude, right?
That's a dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Larxene.
She's the only girl.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
aside from
Aside
Xion,
from
who's kind of
Xion.
who's
Yeah.
kind of organization.
Well, she's
Larxene,
kinda
we don't
Sora,
know.
too.
Takes
Yeah.
a lot of dick.
And Zemnis, well, he literally is Xehanort. Zigbar is Bragg, and he's Norded.
Yeah.
And Zalden is Dylan. He's not Norded.
Not Norded.
Sayax is Isa. He is. And Demix, we don't know.
He's MIA.
And Luxord, we also don't know.
Guy Fieri.
So yeah, that's
Flavor
it.
Town.
So in those pictures though, they're already Norded.
Yeah.
Because they were Norded before.
Syx and Brave.
Anyone with yellow eyes.
Yeah. No one else does though. Just
So, but we don't
He has
know
orange
about
eyes.
Larxene, Marluxia,
Why does she always have those
Demix, and
Yeah.
They're like knives. They're throwing knives.
Okay, because she always has
I mean-
like everything she does. It's like,
because she's a bitch.
well, here's the thing: Larxene and Marluxia were traitors.
Yeah.
So you don't think they're gonna? They probably aren't gonna be coming back on #Team Zayn.
Probably not.
Honestly,
I don't know.
they probably won't be coming back on the Nort side, but they also, if they're coming back, aren't probably on our side.
No,
either.
I'm not saying they're gonna be all like, "Hey, what's cool, guys?" Like, we're actually cool people. Like, no, Larxene's still gonna be a bitch. If she's nice, I don't care.
They're with Maleficent.
Yeah.
Right. We still don't know what Maleficent wants.
She's looking for the box.
Yeah,
on the
but
book.
like, why?
Looking for the book in the box.
Also, I want you guys to appreciate that was 1,477 screenshots.
Jesus
Hell.
Christ.
So
1,400.
yes. That took. I wasn't lying. I'm genuinely. This probably took at least 30 hours to do like the whole thing when it comes down to writing
Get
and.
the screenshots from YouTube or
Yeah.
what? Okay.
Oh my god.
You know what I did was I kind of like skimmed through the all the cutscenes and then I wrote it all down, and then after I finished that I went back and took screenshots. I like went through my bullet points, took a screenshot for each bullet point.
Oh my god.
Oh my
This
God.
took a lot. Like I said, I could have fucking finished Shenron Kagura by now, but no, I had to finish this for you guys. So you're welcome.
Thank you, basically done.
That's Professor Brer Fox to you. But no, so I guess that's it. So, honestly, did you guys like enjoy that though? Like,
Yeah,
honestly-
that was really
Okay, cool.
That
'Cause
was really good.
Because I worked so fucking hard on that, I was like, I really hope they're not bored the whole time.
No. The pictures too really helped.
Yeah.
Pictures
I remember
helped.
you guys used to try to explain it to me. I was like,
Yeah.
I have no idea what you guys are
Because
talking about.
originally I was just gonna write it out and we were gonna like shoot an actual podcast, but then I was like, that wouldn't make sense though. Like I feel like, especially like because I know you guys have played Kingdom Hearts, but I wanted to write it as if like I was explaining to somebody that had not played Kingdom Hearts.
And I
like
understand.
you,
Yeah.
So
I understand now.
I was like, I gotta get the screenshots, and then
Pop quiz. Who's nominee?
Nominee is the fucking blonde hair.
Nominee.
Hi, I'm
Axel.
Kairu. I'm Kairu.
Yeah, Kyrie's nobody.
Kairu's nobody.
She sits in the chair.
Yeah, she only sits in the chair.
The
She sits in the chair for like 2 scenes. We never see her in the chair again.
What do you think you don't think she was standing there next to Sora sleeping all that time? No, she's sitting in a chair.
Every time we saw her fixing Sora's memory, she was standing there doing this. So
What are you doing using his memory?
She's holding an Aerith. She's just like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, there we go. That's
Okay.
that is everything.
That's
For the most
really
part,
good.
there's a couple like small things I kind of like skip, like more like character development kind of stuff. Like at one point, Vanitas breaks Ven's like training the sparring keyblade that he had from Terra. There's like some like little moments like that but I was like I was so done. I was like
The parallel between them sitting on the clock tower eating sea salt ice
Yep.
cream is because they sit on the beach.
probably
and
yeah.
watch by the ocean.
Yep.
The sea.
That was a really
There's a
fun
bunch
good
There's
of
a lot of
parallels.
parallels.
Well, my favorite parallel, hands down, is in Kingdom Hearts 2, Ansem the Wise asks when he's working with Riku, who looks like Ansem, Secret of Darkness. Ansem the Wise, who is Diz, Riku doesn't know he's Ansem the Wise, and Riku also doesn't know the whole. Riku assumes that Ansem, Secret of Darkness, Xehanort, is Ansem, and so Ansem the Wise asks Riku like, "Oh, what's your true name?" And he takes off his hood and looks like Ansem, Secret of Darkness. He goes, "It's Ansem." Then Diz just starts laughing because he's like, "Fuck, this sucks!" Like laughing to hide his shame. And then in Dream Drop Distance, Ansem the Wise asks Riku, like, when he's in Sora's heart, "Young man, I don't believe you told me your name." He looks and goes, "It's Riku." Like how far Riku's come from like being so far into the darkness to now like, fuck yeah, I'm Riku. I ain't no Ansem. Like,
Oh, okay, that's dope. That's dope as shit.
there's like you said, there are a lot of also like
I mean, the easiest to say is there's 3 groups of 3 people.
Yeah.
2 dudes, 1 chick, and one of them's always lost.
Yep.
Constants and variables.
Yeah. Then so we.
There's always a lighthouse.
Yeah, yep. There's always a lighthouse. Now, in 3 days, we get Kingdom Hearts 3 and I'm so excited.
God.
So
I watched a little bit of Kingdom Hearts 3.
don't tell me fucking jack
I ain't gonna
shit.
say
You
shit.
tell me anything, I will literally murder you.
I am not gonna say anything. I'm not even gonna tell you what I thought.
Don't tell me anything. I will literally.
I was like,
fucking,
I cannot say anything.
Fucking
It's been
Xehanort your ass. Like Master Ericus, you'll be standing there. No,
Don't
I won't even ignore you. I'll just for straight up Master Ericus you. Where you're just standing there. I'll stab you in the back, and you'll fucking fall over and
No,
die.
it will very much be like a Xehanort freezing Venus
and throwing you off a cliff. The Aqua won't be there to save you.
Send me to the darkness.
it's been. I didn't read any reviews. I just looked at review scores, and it's been getting like 8s.
Okay.
You know, I got
That's good.
It was like at an 89 on
8 on
Oh
Metacritic.
damn, that's good.
Yeah. So it's exactly which I kind of said. It's exactly what we thought it was. You know, it's not 10, which I don't think I didn't expect it to be, but it's an 8.
Yeah.
You know?
I wouldn't even look at the reviews because that builds up expectation.
Exactly. Yeah.
I was like, oh.
I just want to see
Also,
like.
how many times have fucking reviews been like, it's a 9 and it's a 3, or it's like it's a 7, which is like a 1 to them, and it's like it's great.
Makes you feel like.
I just want to see
It
if
makes
it was
you feel like Spider-Man.
if it was getting like 4s or 5s, I'd be like, okay, something's wrong here. And if it was getting
like
10s, I'll start
I missed that. What?
It makes you feel like Xehanort.
Yeah. Yep. Thank you all for watching. I don't think anybody actually sat through this whole thing.
No,
but
no.
if you did,
If you're a fucking insane person who sat through this whole fucking thing,
Oh my
A,
God.
thank you.
Yeah.
B, why?
Maybe like if you got a long drive, you know,
There's way more entertaining things.
I
to
don't know.
listen
Bill
to.
from Minnesota is driving from Minnesota to
Yep.
here. You know,
but anyway,
it's got a 3-day
We need
drive.
Cecil, Con.
so thank you all for watching. Yeah, enjoy Kingdom
This
Hearts
is
3.
our swan song. Currently.
We'll talk. We'll have another podcast talking about Kingdom Hearts 3, but that won't be for a while.
It's gonna
But
take me a long ass time to finish.
so yeah,
this
next time you see us, we will be talking about Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yep, the Padawan has now become the master.
game. You know, I'm an associate, Dante.
Yeah, there you go. You now have at least
I
something
used to
Kingdom
be
Hearts.
season 1 Ahsoka, but now.
All right, bye everybody.
All right.
Goodbye.
Bye.